Imagine waking up in a world where every beautiful petal hides a deadly, tragic secret. Who will come save me? A desperate voice cries out as life fades away. Meet Ocean Long, a young man currently having the absolute worst day of his life. He's broken, bloodied, and left to rot in a field of flowers while butterflies watch. I can't die. I still have to avenge everyone. He screams against the cold reality. Betrayed and poisoned with his meridians shattered, he was tossed off a cliff like trash. As dusk settles, he prepares for the end until he hears a sudden, strange cough. Out of the blue, a girl in modern clothes appears looking like a total fever dream. Are you Ocean Long or not? Our girl Shishi asks with zero chill. Ocean thinks he's finally lost his mind, but he nods to the beautiful stranger anyway. Your golden finger has been delivered. Please remember to give me a good rating. She beams. She drops a legendary manual on his chest and vanishes, leaving him the ultimate cheat code. The weird-looking fish in that pond is actually the antidote to your poison, she explains. She points out that the grass surrounding him will heal his broken meridians as well. Ocean Long can't believe his luck. Realizing he can finally seek retribution against those who betrayed him. Miss, it's not a dream. I've met my guardian angel. He gasps in total awe. Before she leaves, he desperately asks for her name so he can properly thank her. You can just think of me as express delivery, she says with a cute wink. She waves goodbye and disappears, leaving him to vow that he'll never forget his savior. Back in the woods, Shishi lets out a massive sneeze, feeling a sudden, ominous shiver. She checks her phone and cheers when she sees her task progress is finally a 10 out of 10. Our heroine is a firm believer in science, but this system has forced her to rely on magic for a month. All she wants is to go home and eat 10 omelette wraps to celebrate her freedom. Hey system, I finished everything so you can send me back now, right? She asks. The system congratulates her for understanding the meaning of helping others while she hits submit. She closes her eyes as the final transfer activates, dreaming of the delicious food waiting for her. However, when she opens them, she's standing in a beautiful valley instead of her modern kitchen. System, get your butt out here. What happened to uninstalling after I finished my deliveries? She screams. Our girl Shishi is having a total meltdown in the middle of a random forest. Why did you send me here? She screams as her pass app vanishes into thin air. To understand this mess, we have to look back at her life 1 month ago. It all started at the super mall while she was buying treats for her brother's annoying cat. Suddenly, a mysterious system hijacked her brain and installed a navigation app called Pass. This cosmic delivery service loaded her up with secret manuals, talismans, and magical strengthening pills. For an entire month, Shishi traveled world to world, delivering golden finger cheats to lucky protagonists. After finishing her final delivery, the only thing she has left is a single bag of cat treats. She was supposed to go home, but she's clearly landed in the wrong neighborhood. Maybe I'm back on Earth. Just a little off course, she tells herself with zero confidence. She tries to stay positive, pointing out that trees and waterfalls are totally normal Earth things. Even those giant, man-eating flowers are just mutations, according to her very scientific brain. Her delusion hits a wall when people in ancient robes sprint past her, screaming for help. Ancient costumes. Where did they come from? She wonders while the crowd flees a monster. Our poor heroine insists she's a firm believer in science, even as the ground starts shaking. That scientific theory is literally crushed when a massive, striped paw slams down right behind her. Look at the size of that thing. Shishi stares as a ginormous, winged cat blocks her path. Monster, she screams, watching her common sense shatter as she turns to bolt. Forget science. Why is there a carnivorous cat with wings trying to eat her? She's running faster than a track star because one slow step means becoming cat food. The strong men are all at the front, leaving the women and children to fend for themselves. Suddenly, a little girl named New trips, falling right into the shadow of the beast. It's dangerous. Don't go there. Shishi cries out, her heart sinking for the poor child. Little New can only whimper in terror as the monster looms over her. The beast lets out a deafening roar, and Shishi freezes, her mind racing for a solution. She's the closest one there. But how can a normal girl fight a flying tiger cat? The monster pounces, but our girl's legs move before she can even think. Nothing I can do, my ass. She yells, throwing herself into the line of fire. In a blur of motion, she scoops up the girl and delivers a brutal kick to the cat's nose. Her body moved on pure instinct, proving she's got way more backbone than she thought. Shishi makes a desperate leap to escape the giant winged beast's claws. Run! She screams, clutching little New while the monster stays locked onto her. Our girl hits a dead end at the edge of a massive cliff. Ow! You brat! Let go of my chest! She yells as the terrified child grips her tight. The winged cat corners them, letting out a roar that smells like a dumpster fire. Just as she considers pretending to be dead, a brilliant light bulb goes off in her head. She remembers the modern cat treats in her pocket and prays they work on monsters. Shishi rips open the bag and tosses the snacks with a desperate prayer. It would be crazy if this actually worked, she thinks as the monster pounces. To her absolute shock, the terrifying beast starts purring like a pampered house cat. Where is your dignity as a monster? She scoffs while snatching up the little girl. Our girl doesn't wait for a second helping and bolts into the forest. Her lungs are burning and her legs feel like leaden weights with every step. I can't stop, I have to keep running, she gasps through the exhaustion. Finally, her body gives out and they collapse into a field of white flowers. This has officially been the most stressful day of her 20-something years of living. Poor little Niu starts sobbing, clearly traumatized by the near-death experience. Shh, don't cry, just let me rest for a second, she whispers. Our heroine tries to comfort the kid while her own heart is still pounding. She asks the girl's name and if she knows the boy from earlier. Niu confirms the boy is her brother as she wipes away her tears. The little girl explains they were heading east to find a way to be strong. She is totally baffled by the kid's cryptic talk about not being hungry. Still, she realizes that east is the only direction that makes sense right now. We can't stay here, this world is way too dangerous, she mutters. She hopes they don't run into that winged cat again since she's out of snacks. She is absolutely done with trekking through this endless, itchy grass. Just as she's about to collapse, the sound of human voices catches her attention. She pushes through the brush and spots a massive crowd gathered in the clearing. Suddenly, little Niu screams out for her brother with pure joy. The young man rushes over, pulling his sister into a relieved, tearful embrace. She's the one who saved me, the little girl chirps, pointing right at our heroine. The brother, Lin Xuan, bows deeply to thank her for rescuing his precious sister. She tries to act humble, claiming she was just being a good person. Lin Xuan explains they traveled from the country of Liang to seek divine help. Our girl is totally lost, wondering what on earth divine help actually means. She sighs, remembering how that trash system totally abandoned her in this crazy world. Lin Xuan explains that the gates of Celestial Hill only open once every decade. He tells her that reaching the top is the only way to become an immortal. She realizes this isn't a party. These people are desperate for a miracle. Do these celestials actually exist? She asks, her scientific mind feeling skeptical. Lin Xuan points toward the sky, promising she'll see them with her own eyes. If they're all powerful, maybe they can finally send her back to her modern life. Lin Xuan realizes he hasn't even asked for our brave savior's name yet. I'm Xie, she replies, just as a blinding light erupts from the mountain. The wait is finally over because the legendary celestial gate is finally opening. Xie gazes at the breathtaking view, convinced she's finally reached the gates of heaven. Heaven! It's really heaven! She cries out, mesmerized by the floating islands and swirling energy. Suddenly, a massive boom echoes as the celestial stairway manifests, right in front of her eyes. People are getting tossed around like rag dolls, and our girl wonders if the staircase is actually alive. Huh? Why can't I go up? She mutters, watching the locals struggle against the magical force. It turns out they need a high-ranking celestial to lead the way, or they're going nowhere. The crowd starts getting restless, joking that maybe the gods are just taking the weekend off. Their prayers are answered when a tiny black dot appears in the sky, heading straight for them. A celestial is coming to get us. Hooray! The villagers scream in absolute delight. But Xie is suspicious, noting that this god is wearing black instead of holy white. The mysterious figure lands with a thud, sporting fiery red hair and a very menacing aura. He looks down at the group with total disdain, calling them nothing but a bunch of stupid mortals. The knave crowd doesn't notice the insult, begging him to lead them up to Celestial Hill. That's right, I'm on my way to becoming a celestial, he lies with a predatory smirk. He flashes his sharp fangs, looking more like a demon than a savior to our poor heroine. I'm here to get you, he says, opening a sinister red portal that screams bad news. The crowd cheers for their own doom, completely unaware of the trap being set for them. This dramatic red-haired guy thinks he's a big shot, telling everyone he'll send them to meet their ancestors. Our girl has a really bad feeling about this guy's over-the-top entrance. He unleashes a wave of pink poison, laughing like a total maniac as the other disciples drop. Xie looks around, wondering why everyone is taking a nap so suddenly. He can't believe his eyes when he sees our heroine still standing perfectly fine. I won't let any Imperial Heaven disciples live, he screams while striking a pose. Xie awkwardly asks she should just lie down to make him feel better. He loses it, screaming about how she dare toy with him. Our girl jokingly explains that she's just used to breathing in heavy city smog back home. Fed up with the sass, he swings his fan to deliver a lethal energy strike. Xie realizes this situation is escalating way too fast for her liking. She barely dodges a massive blast that tears through the ground behind her. One more time, he shouts, clearly enjoying the hunt a bit too much. Our girl is convinced her heart is about to jump straight out of her chest. She braces for impact, certain she's about to be sliced into pieces. But the pain never comes, and she opens one eye to see a familiar face. It's the giant winged cat from earlier, taking the hit like an absolute legend. Xie is stunned to see her former monster acting as a fluffy bodyguard. She wonders if those cat treats really bought her a lifelong friendship. The villain identifies the creature as the guardian beast of the mountain. He realizes the cat's presence is the only reason she survived his toxic fog. He scoffs, claiming a measly level 5 beast can't possibly stop his power. The giant cat lets out a thunderous roar as it prepares to throw paws. The red-haired cultivator isn't holding back, calling our winged feline friend an annoying beast. Kitty! Our girl screams as she rushes to the poor creature's side. She turns on the red-haired jerk, demanding how he dares to abuse a cat. "Don't you know I'm a member of PETA?" she yells, ready to take him down. The cultivator just laughs, telling her she'll die trying as he charges up a massive spell. Xiaxue braces herself, deciding to give it her all even if it means certain death. Just as the fireball explodes, a massive pillar of blue light descends from the sky. The flames are instantly snuffed out, leaving Xiaxue completely bewildered by the sudden turn of events. Our girl is safe, but the red-haired villain is absolutely losing his mind with fear. "Oh crap, run!" he screams, tripping over himself to escape the new presence. Above them, a giant glowing seal illuminates the sky like a divine intervention. The terrified man identifies the newcomer as a demon named Shahai. Ocean Long whips out a glowing rope to bind the red-haired villain. Xiaxue watches the bondage display with a very judgmental side-eye. "How pretentious," she mutters as he strikes a dramatic hero pose. "Hi, Mr. Good Guy," our girl says with a cheerful wave. Ocean is shocked she survived the poisonous fog without breaking a sweat. She jokes that her top-tier visuals are her secret shield. Suddenly, she remembers the poor, bleeding winged kitty on the ground. "Can you save this cat?" she pleads, assuming his fancy robes mean he's a doctor. Ocean just stares at her, completely confused by her modern lingo. He realizes this isn't just any stray, but a legendary guardian beast. The villain laughs through the blood, claiming their home has already been destroyed. Ocean snaps at the lunatic while Xiaxue pulls on his arm. "Save the cat first," she screams, but he says it's already too late. He admits he has zero training in veterinary medicine for magical beasts. Our heroine's heart breaks as she wonders where to find a vet in this world. Just as hope fades, a blinding light erupts from the sky. The high-tech magic heals every single wound in an instant. Not even a scar remains on the fluffy, energetic guardian beast. The kitty is back on its feet and ready for more cuddles. Xiaxue is having the time of her life cuddling the giant winged beast. "Wonderful!" she cheers, but the fluffy friendship ends the moment the treats run out. As the cat flies away, she turns to her rescuer, calling him nice guy number 2. Wu Yuan presents her with a glowing jade pendant, sensing her hidden potential. "If you want to find your path, this can help you," he says warmly. He explains the poisonous fog is gone and it's time for him to depart. Xiaxue offers a polite thank you as the handsome stranger prepares to leave. Suddenly, he's yanked away by a fiery companion who tells him to be gentle. "By the way, my name is Wu Yuan from the Jade Palace," he calls out. He asks for our girl's name and she gives him a playful wink. "I'm Xiaxue," she says, completely unaware of the chaos about to erupt. A massive energy blast rocks the area, sending white light everywhere. Xiaxue shields her eyes as a powerful whoosh of energy surrounds her. She struggles to see through the blinding flash, wondering what on earth is happening. When the light fades, a mysterious man with long silver hair is inches from her face. "You," he whispers, leaving our heroine completely breathless and blushing. She can't help but panic, realizing this legendary figure is standing way too close. Our girl finally meets the legendary Grandmaster and realizes he's a total hottie. She expected a wrinkly old man, but this guy's presence is impossible to ignore. "Your name is Xiaxue?" he asks, fixing her with a cold, piercing gaze. She confirms it, but the master tells her to never use that name again. Before she can ask why, he vanishes into thin air like a literal ghost. Ocean Long looks absolutely terrified as he scrambles to follow his master into the sky. "Wait for me!" he cries, leaving our heroine shouting for someone to explain the situation. The mysterious mountain disappears back into the fog, leaving everyone feeling totally baffled. Our girl realizes she missed her only chance to ask for a ride home. Suddenly, she remembers the jade amulet and wonders if it has a built-in GPS. "Ouch, I'm bleeding," she yells as a drop of blood falls onto the jade. The amulet reacts instantly, surrounding the group in a massive swirl of mystical energy. Xiaxue is literally falling through a crack in the sky. She hits the sand and realizes she's standing on a sunny beach. Is this some kind of magic door? She wondered, staring at a crab. A man at a desk started screaming for number 250 to come forward. Our girl noticed his robes looked suspiciously like a cultivation sect uniform. She wasn't the only arrival, as people began popping out of thin air. It turns out those amulets were actually one-way tickets for a mass transfer. "Here, it's your lucky day," the man said, handing her the last tag. He warned her to hurry because the sun was already starting to set. As the energy surged, the peaceful beach vanished in a flash of light. In its place stood a massive, bustling port teeming with life. Xiaxue stared in total awe at the gargantuan ship docked nearby. A green-haired worker was frantically shouting for number 250. "Hey, I'm talking to you," he barked, getting right in her face. Our girl wasn't having it and immediately snapped back at the rude stranger. He leaned in even closer, demanding to know if she held the final number. Xiaxue is handed a wooden tag with the number 250 carved on it. "Why did you say no?" the rude official shouts while shoving her toward the boat. He doesn't have time for her questions and demands she get on the ship immediately. Without a second thought, the man literally kicks our poor heroine right onto the deck. "Ow! That hurt," she cries out as she lands hard on the wooden floor. The jerk just calls her clumsy and mocks her for having such dirty clothes. He tells her to get up and starts chanting a mysterious, glowing spell. Suddenly, a whirlwind of magical flowers and light completely surrounds Shi's body. In the blink of an eye, her modern clothes vanish and are replaced by a stunning dress. "Wow! I'm like a brand new person now," she exclaims in total shock. The official just rolls his eyes and tells her to stop making a big deal out of nothing. Shi looks around the ship and realizes the other passengers look even weirder than her. Half of them are in ancient robes, while others look like they're wearing random alien costumes. Did I accidentally join a cosplay party? She wonders while staring at the bizarre crowd. She realizes her new outfit actually makes her blend in for the first time. A kind-looking guy with bright blue hair notices her standing and invites her to sit. "It's bumpy out here. You might lose your footing," he warns with a friendly smile. Shi thanks him, relieved to finally find someone who isn't being a total jerk. The boy introduces himself as Lurenlei and gestures to his younger brother Luce. Shi tries to keep it cool and tells them her name is Shi from Liang. She can't help but think their names sound like Lauren and Lozer in her head. Luren explains that the ship is headed straight for the legendary Jade Palace. "Aren't you here to study and become a celestial like us?" he asks her curiously. Shi's eyes light up at the mention of powerful celestials living at the palace. If these people have godlike powers, maybe they can actually send her back home. Shi learns that Jade Palace is basically a prestigious school for future mountain-moving celestials. Legend says a grandmaster defeated a demon a century ago to bring peace here. But our girl is currently busy dying from a month of seasickness and terrible food. "I can't eat this braised fish for one more second," she screams in total despair. Linley immediately puts a sword to her throat to shut her up for good. "Keep complaining and you'll be the next thing on the menu," he threatens coldly. Suddenly, the ship reaches a massive obstacle that leaves everyone on deck completely paralyzed. A terrifying wall of water looms ahead, looking like a certain death trap for the ship. The disciples start panicking, convinced they're about to be turned into literal meat pies. Linley tells them to stop being dramatic and pulls out a glowing jade artifact. With a wave of his hand, a massive blue bubble surrounds the entire vessel. Gigantic wings sprout from the shield, lifting the ship right over the crashing waves. Shi watches in disbelief as the laws of science are tossed out the window. She feels like she's accidentally logged into a high-budget adventure game as an advanced player. They finally touch down at the sect where Linley presents the new batch of disciples. Senior Brother Bai and Sister Mu aren't exactly rolling out the red carpet for them. The Jade Palace Masters are finally making their move as they call out a long list of numbers. "The ones I called are free to go home," the Master says coldly, dismissing the losers. The crowd immediately loses it, demanding to know why they weren't chosen after coming so far. Our girl watches the chaos, wondering if these desperate cultivators are about to start a riot. "Be quiet," a master commands, slamming down a massive glowing array that consumes the entire area. Suddenly, the failed recruits begin to vanish into thin air as the magic takes hold. Shi realizes this is a group transfer, proving the long ship journey was just a test. "Strength of mind is essential," the mistress explains, welcoming the survivors who didn't crack under pressure. The masters reveal the inner staircase, the final obstacle standing between the recruits and their goal. "Once you ascend these steps, you're one of us," the handsome master announces with a smirk. But this isn't just a walk in the park, as the stairs are apparently crawling with danger. He warns them to break their placards if they can't handle the pressure of the climb. Shi looks at the 100 steps and figures it's just a 10-story hike at most. She decides to treat this terrifying trial like a leisurely stroll through the park. Shi is breezing through the climb while the local geniuses are already gasping for air. "How are you guys already beat after a dozen steps?" She wonders, totally unimpressed by their cardio. She spots Luren looking like a total zombie and asks if he's been gaming for 3 days straight. "Don't mind me, just go," he pants, clinging to a tree while his pride takes a beating. Our girl rolls her eyes, thinking his pride is useless unless it actually sprouts wings and flies. Meanwhile, inside the Jade Palace, the big bosses are already starting to bicker among themselves. Zhao Yuan is ready to begin, but Jie Yuan is already complaining about the early wake-up call. Yi Yuan snaps back that they haven't recruited in a century, so they need to stay focused. "Are you unfamiliar with our rules?" he asks, throwing some serious shade at the lady boss. Jie Yuan warns that the inner staircase is a mental nightmare, designed to break the weak. She predicts the new recruits will be stuck in hallucinations for at least 5 days. Zhao Yuan tries to play peacemaker while acknowledging the staircase was built by the ancient masters. He admits it's so dangerous that even high-level cultivators would need hours to reach the top. While the leaders argue, the attendants just sip their tea and pray for the drama to end. The elders are busy bragging about their genius while the Grand Master stresses himself out. Back in their day, it took these top disciples 10 hours to climb the inner staircase. They've been waiting a century for new talent and hope someone finishes within a day. Suddenly, a soft voice echoes through the hall asking if anyone is actually home. She peeks her head in and accidentally slams the door right into the Grandmaster's face. The crowd is speechless, because our girl just broke every record by finishing in 20 minutes. Seeing their intense glares, she considers making a run for it before things get weird. The old man calls her a little girl, making our 28-year-old heroine feel incredibly youthful. She admits she isn't here to become a celestial. She just needs some directions. When asked how she reached the summit so fast, she simply says she walked the stairs. The elder asks our girl if she saw anything strange on her way up the mountain. Besides some pigeons and kissing ducks, I didn't see much, she chirps, leaving the masters speechless. The elder is shook because she didn't hallucinate a single thing, meaning her mind is incredibly strong. Is this important? Do I get bonus points for the interview? She asks, completely oblivious. Suddenly, the masters start fighting over her like she's the last slice of pizza at a party. Jia wants her for alchemy, but the sword master thinks that would be a total waste. Sword training is so brutish. Jia snaps, while our heroine wonders what a spiritual root even is. The bickering intensifies as they argue whether she's destined for the forge or the blade. The elder finally steps in, telling them to chill out and just test her potential first. He summons a magical floating orb and tells Yashai to let it reveal her fate. Wait, this thing is actually floating without any wires. She thinks, still a firm believer in science. She reaches out and whacks her hand onto the orb to see what kind of power she holds. The crowd watches in dead silence as the orb remains completely still. There's no change, no spiritual roots at all. The master mutters in disbelief. The old man's jaw hits the floor, refusing to accept this impossible reality. Switch hands right now, he barks, desperate to see even a single spark. But the orb stays totally clear, proving our girl is as magically gifted as a potato. Xiaoshai tilts her head, wondering if having no roots is actually a big deal. The master starts sobbing, explaining that without roots, chi can never enter her body. It's like building the world's fanciest toilet and then never needing to use it. He wails. Our heroine looks completely unbothered while the master's heart literally breaks for her. It's just not meant to be, he sighs, telling her she can never become a celestial. Xiaoshi just shrugs, honestly relieved it wasn't something actually terrifying. The old man is stunned that she isn't currently having a total mental breakdown. It's just like failing a school exam, and I didn't want to be a celestial anyway, she chirps. The master thinks she's some enlightened saint and starts crying even harder at her pure heart. But our girl has bigger fish to fry and asks if world hopping is actually possible. A vision of her modern home flashes by as she asks about traveling across the void. I can finally get back, she realizes, her eyes sparkling with newfound hope. She begs the master to introduce her to anyone who can control the laws of space. The elder offers her a spot at the palace, but she just wants to go home. He asks for her name, and she casually drops the Chiache bombshell. The elder's face goes from peaceful to pure nightmare fuel in a split second. What did you say your name was? He bellows as the air turns icy. Suddenly, every master in the room looks like they're ready to commit a crime. Our girl is shaking, wondering why the vibe went from zero to murder so fast. It's her. Capture Chiache. The old man screams while summoning his magical beads. Weapons are drawn, and Xiaoshi realizes she's officially public enemy number 1. What happened to this being a friendly visit? She cries out in total terror. The elder isn't listening, demanding his guards block every single exit immediately. A massive sword flies right for her neck, and she accepts she's dead meat. But a mysterious hand catches the blade, stopping the killing blow just in time. It's the gorgeous Grandmaster, asking if she's the girl who saved the kitty. Even in a life-or-death situation, our heroine can't help but notice his looks. The elder is foaming at the mouth, screaming that she cannot be allowed to live. Shy blushes under the master's gaze, wondering if she should run or stay. The mysterious white-haired master suddenly appears and sweeps our girl right off her feet. I'll take care of her, he declares before vanishing into thin air, leaving the crowd stunned. But instead of a romantic Princess Carrie, he hauls her around like a literal stray cat. Hey! Did you have to pick me up like this? I'm not a pet, she screams. He completely ignores her protests and ruthlessly tosses her onto a bed like a sack of flour. Ouch! Why am I being thrown around like this? She grumbles while rubbing her sore back. Suddenly, the atmosphere turns heavy as the big boss looms over her with a terrifying gaze. I've heard looks can kill, and I totally believe it now, she thinks, trembling in fear. Terrified of his silent fury, our poor heroine immediately folds and starts begging for her life. I was really wrong. Please forgive me, she cries, but he just coldly tells her to get up. She watches him walk away, wondering if he just brought her here to practice his death glare. As the sun rises the next morning, Xiaoshi realizes she's still stuck in this crazy world. Xiaoshi wakes up feeling refreshed but realizes she hasn't seen that creepy Grandmaster in days. Since she's got 0 combat skills, she's perfectly fine staying put, but her stomach has other plans. I'm gonna die of starvation if I wait any longer, she cries as her belly grumbles. She finally decides to demand her freedom, only to realize the door was never even locked. This is a blatant violation of my dignity as a prisoner, she fumed at the lack of security. Wandering outside, she finds herself in a stunning landscape filled with blooming trees and a vegetable field. Her eyes light up at the sight of a massive, juicy cabbage that looks absolutely delicious. She spots some carrots and gives a quick shout to see if anyone's around to complain. When no one answers, she goes full beast mode, devouring the veggies until she lets out a satisfied burp. Spotting a figure nearby, she walks over to ask for directions, but the guy's reaction is priceless. "It's you!" He screams in pure terror before bolting away like he's seen a ghost. Our girl is genuinely offended, wondering if she's really that scary to look at. Suddenly, an old man appears, explaining that the poor boy is just a rookie alchemist who's terrified of this summit. She wonders why this place feels so eerie, but the old man has a darker story to tell. "Have you heard of the demon?" he asks, while our girl just wants to know if he's edible. This legendary monster wrecked the celestial realm a century ago before being defeated by a Grand Master. She asks if the beast is still lurking nearby, but the old man just keeps speaking in riddles. Is talking in riddles an ancient custom? She wonders, clearly losing her patience with the vague history lesson. The old man explains that while the demon was wicked and cunning, he wasn't without a fatal flaw. He was a master of escape, but every monster has a weakness if you look close enough. Turns out, the big bad demon had a soft spot for his precious little sister. When some disciples called her ugly, he literally wiped out their entire clan in a single afternoon. Talk about having an overprotective brother from hell. To keep her safe, the demon hid her away, leaving the world with nothing but her name. The old man sighs, revealing that even after the demon vanished, his sister's reputation remained a legend. She gets a sinking feeling and asks if that sister's name happened to be she. That's right, he confirms, making our poor heroine realize she shares a name with a legendary demoness. No wonder everyone in the palace was looking at her like she was the Antichrist. Apparently, the demoness Shai broke into the Jade Palace and was promptly imprisoned here. Our girl tries to argue that it's a common name, but the old man isn't buying it. Who would name their child after a demoness? He scoffs, leaving her completely stuck in this mess. The old man insists his master, the Grand Master of Jade Palace, couldn't have captured the wrong person. She realizes the Grand Master is just that creepy weirdo who wouldn't stop staring at her. She demands to see him, but the old man says even he barely catches a glimpse of the guy. He tries to comfort our girl by saying the master is basically a good person, despite being violent and arrogant. Does he actually have any positive traits? She thinks, wondering if this disciple is even on his side. Our hungry heroine decides to munch on a carrot while she processes all this drama. The old man freezes, realizing that carrot looks exactly like the rare jade ginseng from his garden. "Where on earth did you get that?" he asks, his heart probably skipping a beat. She casually points toward his precious medicine field, making the poor man spit out his drink in horror. Meanwhile, at the Jade Palace, powerful seals hum with ancient energy and mysterious power. The Grand Master recalls that the person he despises most is none other than the demon. He admits their first encounter wasn't some epic battle for the ages. The demon simply asked for directions, and he was polite enough to point the way. The demon became obsessed with duels, but his real weapon was his annoying mouth. "You're the best, but you're single," he taunted the stoic celestial master. He mocked the poor guy for having no girlfriend and, even worse, no sister. He wouldn't stop bragging about his precious little sister, our girl She. She was the cutest little girl in the world. He cooed over her chubby cheeks. The master just stared, wondering why he had to listen to this family history. The demon claimed She was the most considerate and smartest girl alive. "Even if you had a sister, she couldn't compete with mine," he insisted. Our stoic master was reaching his absolute limit with this massive sister complex. No matter how many times he was defeated, the demon had one ultimate comeback. "But I have a sister," he chirped happily from behind the prison bars. He didn't care about being outnumbered as long as he could flex his sibling. Finally, the celestial master just couldn't take the mental torture any longer. He officially gave up, completely defeated by the power of the word sister. With the demon gone, he's now haunted by the thought of this legendary girl. Chi-Hao had spent 100 years wondering about Ocean Long's mysterious sister. When he finally met her, she was a mess with zero skills and filthy clothes. Both of them are total idiots. He thought watching her stumble through the celestial realm. But as he looked closer, he realized our girl was actually kind of pretty. He felt a sudden, strange urge to just reach out and pinch those cheeks. He tried to keep his cool, but 2 days later, he found her again. She was sitting in the grass, munching away like a literal human bunny. "Her chubby cheeks are just so fun to squeeze," he mused, losing his battle with restraint. He couldn't help himself and gave her soft face a playful poke. "Are you here to avenge your disciple?" she asked while still chewing. She claimed she was just starving and found some totally normal carrots to eat. But a frantic old man pointed a finger, screaming that she was the thief. "Those weren't carrots. That was my 200-year-old jade ginseng," the old man wailed. Our heroine just rolled her eyes, insisting the whole thing was a total setup. "And are you ever going to stop poking me?" she snapped at the master. Chi-Hao didn't care about the plants, he just wanted to squeeze her face again. Xie admits she ate 5 of the carrots, because she hadn't eaten in 2 days. The Grand Master warns her that jade ginseng actually cleanses the body's entire system. Suddenly, her stomach lets out a thunderous growl that echoes through the serene garden. Our girl realizes those weren't healthy snacks. They were the world's most powerful laxatives. Please tell me where the nearest restroom is. She begs as her guts start screaming. The old master scoffs, claiming true cultivators transcended the need for dirty restrooms years ago. She doesn't waste a second, snatching Xie up to fly her toward the disciples' quarters. Gossip spreads fast as the legendary Grandmaster stands guard outside the toilets for 5 hours. The clueless disciples think he's meditating on the mysteries of the universe in a special spot. They even try to gather nearby to absorb the energy, while our poor heroine is dying inside. Can you all please not watch me go? She wails from behind the closed door. Finally finished, Chi carries a completely depleted Xie back like she's a fragile doll. She decides Chi is a total saint compared to the old man who gave her those carrots. Her gratitude lasts exactly 2 seconds before the cold-hearted master tosses her straight into the lake. Help! I don't know how to swim, she screams while flailing in the freezing water. But just as she prepares to meet her end, she realizes the water is barely waist-deep. Xie is enjoying her bath, feeling refreshed after a long day. I take back my complaint, I feel so clean, she cheers happily. But as the moon rises, our girl realizes it's finally time to head back. Suddenly, her foot loses its grip and she slips right into the water. She braces for the pain of a twisted ankle, but strangely, nothing hurts. A creepy voice echoes, thanking her for breaking a mysterious seal. Out of the shadows emerges a handsome, blue-haired man with a terrible attitude. Since you let me out, give me your life force too, he demands. Instead of trembling, Xie grabs a rock and thwacks him in the face. The man is stunned that a mere stone could actually draw blood. He stares at his bloodied hand, unable to process what just happened. You dirty scoundrel! How dare you peep on me? Our heroine screams. She's not buying his Dark Lord act for even a single second. The man tries to use his powers, but his energy just swirls uselessly. Before he can react, Xie delivers a legendary, soul-shaking slap. And now you're trying to grope me? She yells, absolutely disgusted. The man is spiraling, wondering how a woman without energy is winning. He tries to cast another spell, but it fails against her common sense. Why don't my spells work on you? He cries out in total disbelief. Today, I'm your mother. I'll teach you how to be a person, she declares. Xie is absolutely losing it on the blue-haired stranger she found in the water. That woman is crazy. She's more violent than a beast, he whimpers through tears. To make matters worse, he's absolutely devastated because she apparently robbed him of his clothes. Xie stands there looking confused in her new stolen outfit. I was sealed here by you 500 years ago. He shouts in total disbelief. Our cold-faced celestial just stares blankly and admits he completely forgot the guy even existed. Peng Ni is fuming, calling all celestials despicable for their casual, godlike cruelty. He even mentions that this man killed his master, but he gets another I forgot in return. Before getting sealed again, Peng Ni has one final, very awkward request for our heroine. He points a finger and demands his feathers back before the seal is finalized. It turns out the dress Xie is wearing is actually made of his transformed feathers. Are you trying to keep me featherless? He cries out in total indignation. Our girl realizes that keeping those feathers means leaving the birdman totally naked. She asks the mysterious white-haired hottie if she can borrow the clothes he's holding. He's way ahead of her and reveals he brought these specifically for her. Xie worries that keeping the bird beast plucked like a chicken is just too cruel. The master doesn't care about the bird, telling her she can have anything her heart desires. With a flash of magic, she's instantly dressed in a stunning new outfit. Wow, it's fully automatic. She cheers, loving this high-tech cultivation magic. She tries to hand the feathers back, but the bird boy is acting totally sketchy. Just put it down, I'll get it, he mumbles, looking like a blushing mess. Xie is officially over his attitude, but the birdman is secretly plotting something. Suddenly, the ungrateful beast lunges forward, screaming for her to prepare to die. Everything turns into a blur of feathers as our girl feels like she's on a wild roller coaster. The birdman brags that he's absorbed her life force and can't be sealed anymore. The white-haired master just sighs, revealing he never intended to use a seal at all. He's absolutely livid that this stupid bird dared to lay a single claw on her. I've been thinking about her for 100 years. He roars, unleashing a terrifying power. He summons cobalt flames to incinerate the beast for its ultimate disrespect. The birdman realizes he's messed with the wrong cultivator and starts begging for his life. He promises to stop stealing life force, but the master's mercy ran out a long time ago. In a burst of energy, the bird is completely obliterated into sparkling dust. Xie is totally confused, wondering why a simple clothing return turned into a murder scene. The master ignores the carnage, asking if she's hurt and offering to kill the bird again. The man reveals that the monster was using those feathered clothes to drain Xi's life energy. So he gave me these on purpose just to eat me? Our girl realizes with a shudder. Touched by the rescue, she places a hand on his shoulder and thanks him for saving her. This cold master turned to a total blushing mess just because she touched his arm. She panics and tries to explain that she isn't actually the demon's sister. You have the wrong person. I just have the same name, she pleads desperately. But the man isn't buying her story, convinced she is obviously the girl from the legends. It doesn't matter what the truth is since she announced her name in the Jade Palace. Now, the entire world is convinced that she is a high-ranking villainous relative. The whole celestial realm wants your head now, he explains with a chilling look. If she steps 1 foot outside this palace, she is basically dead meat. He tells her that Glacial Ridge Summit is the only place she will stay alive. When she asks if he saved her on purpose, he claims it was purely out of curiosity. She realizes the doors were never locked, and she was never his prisoner at all. He even warned her about her name earlier, just to keep her from becoming public enemy number 1. Our heroine is practically melting from how sweet this supposedly scary guy is being. He promises to be a much better person to her than that demon ever was. What he did has nothing to do with you, he says while gently patting her head. Finally, our girl has found the only reasonable man in this entire crazy cultivation world. The Celestial tells our girl she can stay, but she has one very urgent request. Can I have some food? I've only had 5 carrots in 3 days, she begs. The immortal hasn't touched a stove in 1,000 years, so he needs a volunteer. He teleports straight to his disciple Hong Bai, who is currently catching some Z's. Grand Master, what are you doing here at such a late hour? The boy stammers. Hong Bai thinks he's finally getting a special lesson or a secret cultivation technique. He's practically glowing with excitement until the master asks, "Do you know how to cook?" The poor kid looks like he just saw a ghost from the sheer confusion. "I should be able to," he replies, terrified of failing this weirdly specific test. "Good, from now on, Xia's meals are your responsibility," the master declares coldly. Hong Bai's soul nearly leaves his body when he realizes he's the new personal chef. He tries to flex his status as a renowned master of the Jade Palace, but the Grand Master just walks away, telling him to keep the celestial energy low. To add insult to injury, he's ordered to build a bathroom by tomorrow morning. How is this fair? I'm responsible for what goes in and out of her. He screams. Master Hao orders a massive home renovation, including a heated pool and an office. The old servant breaks into tears, fearing he's finally being kicked out for good. Our girl has spent a full month at the summit gathering intel on this world. She discovers there are 5 cultivation levels, and her master is the strongest of all. She desperately begs the master to use his powers to send her home, but he reveals the cruel truth. Space travel in this world is strictly one way. That trashy system lured her into a trap with no hope of a return ticket. Our poor heroine collapses in tears as her dreams of modern life vanish forever. Every day in this magical prison feels like an eternal, soul-crushing year. It's even worse because she doesn't even have the spiritual roots to cultivate. The shape-shifting jerk even shows up just to tell her that her misery is hilarious. "You're the pettiest guy I've ever met," she screams, completely done with him. She decides she's done with the self-pity because traveling through space isn't that bad. "I'm just hungry, when can I eat?" she asks with a hopeful pout. Hong warns her not to get cocky, claiming the Grand Master will eventually see her true colors. "What true colors, you petty old man?" our girl thinks while rolling her eyes. She quickly tries to play nice, telling him she was only kidding about being hungry. She gets serious and asks if the master has skills that ordinary people can acquire. Hong is already worked up, but she keeps her cool to seek his guidance. She just wants to learn something to protect herself in this crazy cultivation world. Hong scoffs that she can't study anything without spiritual roots, but a voice suddenly interrupts. The Grand Master appears, cryptically stating that it's not necessarily impossible for her to learn. "Nice guy, Chang. Good morning," our heroine chirps, completely ignoring every rule of etiquette. Hong is absolutely livid that she's calling the Grand Master by his actual name. The master explains that different skills lead to different paths, confirming she can indeed learn. Hong is baffled, wondering how qi could flow through someone without any spiritual roots. The master explains that while they use celestial qi, there are many ways to start. He mentions Buddhism uses good deeds, while spirits gather yin energy to grow their power. Demons might kill to grow, but mortals can strengthen their physical forms through martial arts. Really? "Can you teach me something to help me escape danger?" she asks with sparkling eyes. Hong immediately gatekeeps, shouting that she isn't even a disciple of the Jade Palace. The master agrees, noting he can only give his information to those within the sect. "If you really want to learn, I can take you in," the Grand Master offers smoothly. Xi's eyes sparkle, thinking she's finally found a powerful protector to back her up. But Ocean Long is absolutely losing it, screaming that he was supposed to be the only one. He's literally in tears, begging his master to remember their exclusive master-disciple bond. The Grand Master just sighs, asking whoever said our girl was going to be a disciple. "She'll be my little sister," he declares, leaving everyone in the room completely speechless. He gently pats her head and tells her to start calling him Big Brother right now. She feels a bit guilty, wondering if her real brother back home is being replaced. She and Ocean Long decide the wind must be playing tricks on their ears today. There's no way this legendary master is actually trying to adopt a random delivery girl. Later that night, Xiaxi sighs about how boring this celestial life is actually getting. She's just about to hit the hay when a wild grandmaster appears in her window. "Why on earth did you come through the window?" she asks, looking totally judged. He claims he didn't want to wake her, even though the front door was wide open. Our girl is starting to think this powerful master might actually have a hole for a brain. Since she's still awake, he decides the only logical next step is to tuck her in. Before she can scream, he pulls her into the blankets, acting like this is totally normal. This silver-haired hunk is acting like a total weirdo while our girl is in bed. He asks if she wants a story, making her wonder if he skipped his meds. He starts droning on about his boring cultivation history like a human textbook. "You just dove straight into the story," she yells, demanding a real explanation first. He doesn't care about her protests and continues his monologue about Southern alchemy. "Stop," she screams, finally reaching her limit with this handsome, stubborn blockhead. She demands to know why he's so obsessed with telling her a bedtime story. He calmly explains that it's just to help her fall fast asleep. Our heroine is totally over it, wishing he'd go bother some old guy instead. But then he starts staring at her with those intense, dreamy, and terrifying eyes. "Stop staring at me like that," she blushes, feeling the sudden heat rise. He mentions his sister love stories, so as her big brother, he must help. She realizes this man is actually serious about adopting her as his sibling. She tries to reason with him, but he shuts her down instantly. "Call me brother," he commands, leaving absolutely no room for any debate. Our girl is struggling because brother is a title reserved for her real family. She thinks back to her sibling in the modern world and their deep bond. "I can't be your younger sister, do you understand?" she says firmly. To her, the word brother means something much more significant than this. He leans in dangerously close, insisting he will be her real true brother. She is baffled, wondering if he thinks being a brother is a political office. He claims she already agreed to this earlier, but she's totally confused. She thought she was becoming his disciple, not joining his literal family tree. He starts chanting "Call me brother" like a total psycho over and over again. Suddenly, a loud cracking sound echoes as the man's icy patience finally snaps. The temperature in the room plummets as snow starts literally flying off his face. "Hey, hey," she screams as the entire room explodes with his terrifying power. She suddenly points and screams that he is her long-lost brother. Our girl is really laying it on thick just to survive this encounter. The white-haired master looks pleased and gently pats her head while saying it's good. He asks if she wants to hear a story, and she's ready to listen to anything. Her pride and integrity might as well be dog food at this point. He remembers a demon bragging about his adorable little sister with the chubby cheeks. The image of she grew in his mind until he finally saw her. He couldn't stand that a stupid demon had such a great sister while he had none. He's convinced he's 100 times better and can protect her more effectively. He claims he's doing this for her, definitely not because he's jealous of that demon. If he becomes her brother, all those annoying taunts from the past will finally stop. But he realizes he actually has no idea how to be a proper older sibling. His ancient cultivation books have absolutely zero information on how to be a big brother. Since she likes stories, he decides to start his training by telling her bedtime tales. Master rules out every easy path to godhood, leaving our girl with the hardest one possible. Studying martial arts requires perseverance, he warns, but she just wants to get this over with. "Could you not pinch my face while you talk?" she snaps, tired of being treated like putty. This guy has been squeezing her cheeks all morning, and her patience is officially running thin. Nearby, the other disciple watches in pure envy, feeling like a total third wheel in his own sect. He can't help but think she's adorable even when she's fuming with rage at their master. Master explains that martial arts has countless sectors, but she can just pick one to focus on. "I'm not picky, as long as it works," she declares, ready to start her training journey. The senior disciple is losing his mind, wondering why he never got this kind of special treatment. "You should be pleased," he grumbles, as the master finally prepares to share his legendary skills. Since our heroine lacks spiritual roots, the master has transcribed everything into physical books for her. He warns her that there isn't a lot to choose from, sounding almost apologetic about it. Suddenly, a literal mountain of books falls from the sky, burying our poor girl in an avalanche. "That's not a lot," she screams, while the senior disciple stares in utter disbelief at the favoritism. Without even looking, she grabs the first book that hits her head and calls it a day. The master is stunned. She doesn't want to browse, but she's clearly done with his small collection. The master explains this manual focuses on inner strength, making it as valuable as high-level alchemy. She is stunned, wondering if martial arts can really provide such a legendary skill. She used to think martial arts were just for basic mortal brawls, not celestial practitioners. "Can I start right now?" she asks, eager to finally gain some real power. The master gives her a gentle head pat, clearly enjoying her adorable enthusiasm. Xiaxi opens the book, determined to learn how to outrun anyone trying to kill her. But as she stares at the pages, the letters start dancing like literal squirming worms. "I have a college degree, but do you have this in standard English?" she pleads. Ocean Long can't stop laughing, mocking our poor heroine for being a total illiterate grown-up. The master snaps at him to shut up before kindly offering to read the manual aloud. He gently suggests that if she can't read, maybe she should switch to something else. Xiaxi is absolutely offended, wondering why everyone is giving up on her so fast. The Grand Master suggests everything from Buddhism to demonhood to find her a path. But there's a tiny problem. Our girl can't even read the basic scriptures. Seeing her so depressed makes the Grand Master's blood boil with frustration. He immediately blames his poor disciple and considers kicking him out for being honest. The disciple quickly suggests she join the beginner's course to finally learn her ABCs. Xiaxi worries about her reputation, but these new recruits have never seen her face. "I'll start school tomorrow," she declares, her ego reaching for the stars. As a former straight-A student, she's convinced that a new language will be a breeze. However, her confidence shatters the second she actually steps into the classroom. "Nobody told me this was an elementary school class," she cries, surrounded by toddlers. Just as she's dying of embarrassment, a familiar, chunky figure plops down beside her. It's the disciple, looking absolutely miserable about his new assigned seating. He grumbles that he's only here to protect her, but Xiaxi isn't buying it. "Come on, disciple, let's just make the most of it," she teases with a smirk. "I'm not your disciple," he screams, but the local kids have found their target. They start roasting him for his round belly, calling him tubby to his face. The round elder huffs that he isn't fat, just a little round and highly respected. "Don't be fooled, he's actually quite powerful," Xiaxi whispers to the curious children. She claims he is a genius who can fly and grow the most delicious carrots. The kids stare in awe as she describes him as a very eligible and well-rounded guy. "Why do I feel like there's a catch to that word?" The elder wonders, feeling suspicious. Across the peaks, Grandmaster Qi stares toward the school, feeling completely unsettled without his sister. He blames his disciple for suggesting she needs school when she could just stay home. "She's so weak she almost died from a carrot," he frets, his overprotectiveness reaching max level. He worries that without spiritual roots, she'll be bullied or snatched away for being too cute. Determined not to lose his new sister, he decides he must go and watch over her. Back at the school, a teacher heads to class, only to spot a figure on the roof. She freezes in shock, realizing the legendary Grand Master Qi is currently lurking on the tiles. The poor teacher is losing his mind because the Grand Master is stalking his class from the roof. He's terrified this is a surprise inspection and wonders who these two random students even are. By the time class ends, the poor guy is a total nervous wreck. He's just relieved to see that the creepy guy on the roof has finally vanished. Our girl decides to ignore the chaos and heads out with her new chubby classmate. Why walk home when you can just use a magical teleportation circle like a boss? They arrive at the Glacial Ridge summit just as the sun begins to set. Xiaxi is shocked but touched to see her brother, Qi, waiting for her. She sees his hand out and wonders if he's looking for a high five. Little does she know, he's just grumpy because a demon lied to him about hugs. The chubby disciple tries to get some attention too, but gets the nothing there treatment. Qi is clearly salty that this stole Xiaxi away for the entire day. The poor disciple realizes he's been completely abandoned for the favorite student. 6 months fly by in a blink as our heroine transforms into a total study nerd. She's finally mastered the language and can read the secret manual Qi gave her. Xiaxi hits the books to learn about meridians, pressure points, and the basics of cultivation medicine. She finally understands why Hong pushed her to take these classes instead of teaching her personally. Even though her new tutor knows everything, he has a weird habit of pinching her cheeks. "Are you done yet?" She grumbles while he treats her like a literal stuffed animal. Things get even weirder when he starts sneaking through her window to tell her violent bedtime stories. He casually describes murdering a 10-foot-tall water monster like he's reading a simple nursery rhyme. "I killed him too," he whispers, moving from monsters to soul-consuming demons in Jade City. Our girl realizes these aren't bedtime stories. They're absolute horror shows designed to keep her awake. The next morning, Xiaxi's stomach is screaming for something other than a liquid diet. "I'm starving!" "When is breakfast going to be ready, Hong?" She whines to her caretaker. Hong snaps back, asking if she starved to death in a past life before serving more carrots. Suddenly, a loud boom echoes through the courtyard as a visitor demands to see the Grand Master. It's Ocean Long, looking much healthier and actually standing his ground for once. "Not running away this time, you're getting better," Xiaxi teases while casually snacking. He ignores the sass, reporting that he's captured a dangerous foe under a powerful demon lock seal. He drags in a bloodied, red-haired prisoner, proving that her golden finger manual is working wonders. Chaos erupts when a messenger reveals that Xia has vanished and the seal is broken. Xiaxi watches the drama unfold, while desperately trying to save her breakfast from the earthquake. Suddenly, a massive magical explosion rocks the sky as the situation turns critical. The Grand Master realizes the second seal is failing and prepares to intervene immediately. "Stay here," he commands before flying off to face the impending disaster. Xiaxi is left behind, told she must navigate the way to class all by herself. Cultivators blast off on flying swords, leaving our girl alone with a very nervous disciple. She casually asks if the seal is important while he looks like he's about to faint. He explains that the demon lock seal traps ancient monsters that could kill them all. "Are you that afraid of me?" she asks, noticing he is literally shaking in his boots. She insists she isn't running away and just needs to get to her lessons on time. "I'll go with you," he shouts, clearly not trusting our heroine for a single second. He points toward the path to Daybreak Summit, challenging her to prove her honesty. But our girl just gives him a flat no, leaving the poor guy completely short-circuited. Wu claims he has a safe route, but she isn't buying his suspicious behavior. She wonders if he's plotting a classic TV drama revenge plot against her. Wu's eyes go dark as he realizes his secret plan has been completely exposed. He lunges forward, shouting that he can't let her live now that she knows. He pins her down, demanding to know why the demon didn't spare his family. "I didn't kill them," she cries, but he refuses to listen to her logic. Wu sneers that everyone from the demonic realm is a liar and a cheat. Our girl realizes this lunatic is the one who actually broke the seal. They stand on the edge of the demon cliff, a place where spirits are broken. He declares that today is the day she pays for every single death. Xiaoshai snaps back, calling him a coward for hiding behind his petty excuses. "Reasonable, my ass," she yells, refusing to be his scapegoat for his own weakness. She challenges his honor, asking if he's ashamed of being such a despicable person. Infuriated, he tosses her over the edge, sending our heroine plummeting into the abyss. Xiaoshai plummets through the sky, wondering if this is how her journey finally ends. "Why do I have such bad luck?" Our girl screams while falling past the clouds. She just learned the local language, and now she might not even to use it. But after falling for what feels like hours, she actually gets bored and drifts off. She eventually snaps awake, realizing the ground is still nowhere in sight. The sky above looks beautiful, reminding her of a familiar song from her old world. It's the same catchy tune she uses for her phone's ringtone. Suddenly, a real ringing sound echoes from the bag she gave her. Her heart races as she sees an unknown caller ID flashing on the screen. "Hello?" she asks tentatively, hoping for a lifeline in this crazy world. A frantic voice crackles through, warning her to stay away before the line goes dead. She stares at the screen, desperately wondering who was trying to warn her. She tries to call them back immediately, but the phone claims it's a wrong number. Even 911 is a total bust since there's absolutely no service in this cultivation realm. Our girl is still plummeting through the air when she notices something else falling alongside her. Suddenly, an old man with a massive hole in his chest slams into the ground beside her. "Hey, are you alright?" she asks, frantically looking for a way to save the dying stranger. The old man, Shilin, gasps that it's fate and thrusts a glowing jade treasure into her hands. "Avenge my celestial sky clan," he wheezes, begging her to master their most powerful skills. She blinks and kills the mood by admitting she doesn't even have spiritual roots. The poor guy literally coughs up blood in shock before passing away on the spot. She panics and tries to wake him, wondering who is throwing seniors off cliffs. But the drama doesn't stop there because another loud thump echoes through the dark abyss. A second old man named Tang Lin falls from the sky and tries to hand her a scroll. "I really don't need this," she sighs, repeating that she lacks any magical talent. By the third day, yet another elder from the Jade Wall clan drops in with ancient secrets. She just accepts the treasures now, telling the fourth old man to just rest in peace. By day 7, she tells the next master to just drop his manual on the pile. Our heroine's bag is now overflowing with legendary relics she's honestly considering selling online. She was minding her own business until something massive slammed into the ground. It was a 40-foot beast covered in golden scales with sharp talons and majestic antlers. Our girl couldn't believe her eyes because dragons were supposed to be extinct. Instead of being terrified, she just really wanted to pull on those long, shimmering whiskers. The beast opened its eyes and called her a mere mortal while claiming he was dying. She didn't hesitate, immediately holding out her hand to see what loot he had. A glowing orb known as a Dragon Ball emerged, containing the ultimate draconic inheritance. He told her to deliver the treasure to the young dragons of his clan. "I see, all right. You can rest in peace now," she said with zero hesitation. The dragon was stunned, asking why she wasn't even going to try and save him. She bluntly reminded him that she isn't a vet and her medical track record is terrible. The celestial being was deeply insulted as he coughed up blood from her pure audacity. Our girl was starting to lose it, worrying about running out of carrots in the dark. Suddenly, a voice called out, asking which big guy had fallen down the hole this time. A young man appeared, looking absolutely shocked to see another living person standing there. He was so lonely he actually congratulated her on falling into this miserable valley. He introduced himself as Yang Kong and admitted he'd been stuck down here for years. Our heroine used a fake name to stay safe before they looked for an exit. She blinks her eyes open to find herself in a paradise of soft grass and flowers. "This is," she mutters, looking up to see 2 massive black and white whirlwinds. The man explains those are actually murky energy from a dangerous spirit extinguisher. "Murky energy?" our girl asks, wondering how she even survived such a massive fall. He explains this ancient energy has the power to swallow any living being whole. Cultivators need spiritual energy to ascend, but this valley acts like a giant vacuum. The more power you have, the more this energy tries to tear you apart. Anyone above the foundational level won't survive here. He warns while pouring tea. He was a level 5 master when he fell, and it took years to recover. When he asks about her power, our heroine admits she has 0 spiritual roots. No wonder you aren't hurt at all, he says, finally understanding her unique situation. He casually mentions that he's the one who makes all the falling corpses disappear. Since space is limited, he can't exactly bury every person who takes a plunge. He simply casts a spell to turn the bodies into dust instantly. You make it sound like you're just sweeping the floor. She cries in disbelief. Then he spots the glowing orb and asks if that's a dragon ball. He acts like dragons falling from the sky is a perfectly normal occurrence. Does this happen often? She asks, her eyes practically popping out of her head. He calmly states it's only happened 20 times, which is 20 too many. The man explains that the murky energy here is completely disconnected from time. She realizes with a shock that the time inside this valley is chaotic. That dragon might have actually fallen tens of thousands of years ago. Yang admits he has never seen a white dragon ball before, offers to let her keep it. You're just giving it to me like that? Our girl asks, totally bewildered by his generosity. He leads her to a hidden stalactite cave and uses a magic seal to open a secret door. This guy reveals a massive, underground palace he dug out all by himself. Are you a gopher? She asks, staring at the impossible stone walls he carved out. Then he shows her a literal mountain of gold and treasures left behind by fallen travelers. She is absolutely floored, screaming, "Whoa!" At the sight of the glittering hoard. She wonders if this valley is actually the Bermuda Triangle given how many people died here. Yang just shrugs, claiming people practically force him to take their priceless belongings. He leads her into a back room packed with rare books and even more storage boxes. You make these treasures sound as plain as cabbage, she remarks, exhausted by his casual flex. Finally, they reach a wall covered in glowing dragon balls of every color imaginable. Yang insists she pick one out as a gift, but our girl is way too overwhelmed. The dragons are turning in their graves, she cries, refusing to take part in his looter lifestyle. The mysterious man sighs, claiming the cliff is a total dead end for everyone. Why not just dig a path up? Our girl asks with perfect logic. He starts laughing, explaining the stone wall is protected by murky energy. But then, kaboom, a massive path suddenly clears right in front of them. He stares in disbelief, having spent hundreds of years failing to find this exit. Shi is thrilled and invites him to explore the world together. I refuse, he snaps, leaving our poor heroine completely baffled. He explains that his skills are literally outside the laws of this world. Can you speak English? She asks, because this cultivation talk is getting way too deep. He reveals that every level up usually requires being struck by 81 lightning bolts. Since he stayed in this valley, he's been dodging his heavenly taxes for years. If he leaves now, 243 bolts will hit him all at once. That's a one-way ticket to becoming a crispy celestial pancake, so he's staying put. He tells her to stop dilly-dallying and start the long climb out alone. She offers to deliver a letter, but he has no one left to remember. Maybe you should get a pet? She suggests, worried he'll be lonely. He just laughs and tells her to get out before he changes his mind. Ocean Long suddenly grabs our girl's face and shoves a glowing pill straight down her throat. It's a goodbye gift, he mutters before the cave entrance slams shut, leaving her stunned. Finally free, she shrieks in the fresh air and feels like she's been completely reborn. But the peace is ruined when she spots a massive winged cat about to eat a child. Wait, is every forest in this world equipped with a giant orange cat? She wonders. The beast roars at first, but it quickly switches to a cute meow once it recognizes her. Luckily, she's in the habit of carrying dried fish treats from the Jade Palace in her bag. She scolds the monster, asking why a high-level magical beast is out here bullying little kids again. It turns out the kitty wasn't actually hungry. It was just bored and looking for a playmate. The cat even tries to gift her the terrified child like a polite little gentleman. She gently wipes the girl's tears and realizes it's Niu, the child she saved months ago. I'm Shia, do you remember me? She asks, her heart breaking for the poor little thing. Niu clings to her and sobs loudly while our heroine gives the cat a piece of her mind. Look what you did, you unreasonable furball. She screams at the confused magical beast. She asks why Niu is alone, only to learn her brother abandoned her for immortality. Since the Yuhua sect wants her dead, our girl decides to help find Dragon City instead. Do you know the way? She asks, but the little girl just shakes her head helplessly. Luckily, the giant winged cat meows, signaling that he knows exactly where to go. The beast refuses to carry the child, so our heroine pulls out her secret weapon, dried fish. Is this really happening? She sighs, watching the monster's eyes lock onto the snack. One fish isn't enough, so she ups the bribe to 3 until the cat finally caves. You've really destroyed the moral integrity of cats, she mutters as they strike a deal. They climb aboard their fluffy transport and take to the skies, but the cat flies suspiciously low. Are we too heavy, or are you just out of shape? She wonders during the flight. The forest below is crawling with monsters, but they all keep their distance from the winged feline. Without this big guy, they never would have made it through the woods alive. She realized the cat wasn't bullying Niu. He was actually keeping her safe, "You're just a big sunder, aren't you?" She laughs, rewarding him with one last treat. It takes nearly 2 hours, but our girl finally makes it out of the dense forest. She thanks the massive winged cat by offering up a handful of fresh fish. The beast purrs happily before she sets her sights on the legendary Dragon City. Walking through the massive gates, our heroine realizes just how huge this place really is. Poor little Niu is acting way more quiet and withdrawn than she was before. Xiaxi wonders how she's supposed to find Ocean Long in such a crowded place. Suddenly, Niu points into the crowd and spots her brother in record time. "What? You found him that soon?" Xiaxi gasps as she spots the young man. Ocean Long looks stunned to see them standing right there in the middle of the street. He immediately bows, apologizing for his mistakes and thanking her for saving his sister again. "You've lost her twice now," our girl scolds, not letting him off the hook easily. Even though her brother is back, Niu keeps her head down, looking totally terrified. Xiaxi explains that the giant cat was actually a spirit animal trying to protect her. She tells him he needs to actually talk to his sister instead of just apologizing. As he walks away, a heavy feeling of unease settles deep in our heroine's gut. Something is seriously wrong because he apologized to her before even checking on the kid. He looks thinner than before, his clothes are tattered, and he's practically sprinting away. Why does it feel like he's trying to flee the city? She wonders suspiciously. She decides she can't just let this go and start secretly tailing them. The boy is acting like a fugitive, dodging every person he sees and heading out. She watches from the shadows as he ducks behind buildings to avoid being spotted. Xuanlin heartlessly drops the sobbing Niu and prepares to vanish into the dense woods. "Where exactly do you think you're going?" Xiaxi demands with a look that could kill. The coward stammers that he was just looking for food while clutching a bag of buns. He snaps that the girl is a heavy burden, ruining his dreams of becoming immortal. Our heroine can't believe this is the same man who once claimed to love his sister. She warns him that leaving a child in this monster-infested forest is a death sentence. A sickening smirk spreads across his face as he admits he actually wants her to die. Xiaxi snaps, sending him crashing into the dirt with a powerful, righteous kick. He keeps making excuses, claiming that anyone would choose their own survival over family. Our girl isn't buying his lies and calls him out for being an incompetent coward. "You don't deserve to be her brother," she yells, her heart breaking for the child. The monster tells Xiaxi to take the girl because he simply doesn't care anymore. Zhuan sprints away into the distance, leaving his own flesh and blood trembling in fear. Poor Niu reveals this isn't the first time her brother has abandoned her alone. Niu sobs into Xiaxi's arms, asking if she's been a bad girl. "No, you're very good," our girl whispers, holding the heartbroken child close. The poor thing wonders why her brother never came back for her. Xiaxi carries the sleeping girl to a nearby house as the sun sets. A kind woman takes them in. The pain of abandonment still lingers. Xiaxi watches her sleep, knowing this betrayal has left a deep scar. The next morning, Niu is already up and working in total silence. She doesn't cry or mention her bastard brother, once acting far too mature. When they head outside, the streets of Dragon City are packed with people. Apparently, an immortal sect is holding a massive audition to find new disciples. Master cultivators are searching for anyone with the talent to join their ranks. Xiaxi wants to run far away before she gets recognized as a public enemy, but suddenly Niu pulls her sleeve and makes a shocking declaration. "I want to be an immortal," she says with a look of pure determination. She wants to see exactly what her brother was so desperate to chase after. Xiaxi warns her that this path means they would have to say goodbye. Our girl promises to take Niu along to the big sect audition. She knows the poor kid is heartbroken after Xuanlin's cold betrayal. They arrive at the Sengman sect, and the place is absolutely packed. Everyone is here to test their immortal roots for a shot at greatness. But wait, isn't that Xuanlin lurking in the line to test his own power? He's got gold, wood, and fire elements, making him a total show-off. Xiaxi realizes that in this world, you just can't avoid your enemies. Little Niu steps up and shocks everyone with a rare wind root. The recruiters are drooling over her talent, but Xuanlin is fuming with jealousy. To save his skin, he points a finger and screams Xiaxi is a devil. "She must be that devil Shira," he yells, turning the mob against her. The crowd starts whispering about tying our girl up like a common criminal. Xiaxi can't believe she ever wasted her time helping this ungrateful rat. She crosses her arms, demanding he prove his wild accusations right now. Xuanlin is sweating, but he's determined to see her get badly hurt. "Who else would call themselves Shira?" he barks, reaching for any excuse. He tells the immortals it's better to kill her now to avoid trouble. Xiaxi is stunned that this little snake really wants her dead. Just as things look hopeless, a booming voice interrupts the entire crowd. The crowd parts as the legendary Mayor Long finally makes his grand entrance. Everyone is buzzing because the big boss himself has actually shown up. Ocean Long bows deeply, calling our girl the savior he's sought for 30 years. Xiaxi is beyond confused since she hasn't even been alive that long. He reminds her of the manual she gave him to heal his broken meridians. Our heroine can't help but notice his chest is now bigger than hers. The suspicious immortals demand to know if the mayor truly recognizes this strange girl. Ocean tells the crowd to back off, swearing she is his honored benefactor. Her name is FedEx. He shouts, making Xiaxi want to crawl into a hole. She begs him not to turn her life into a corporate advertisement. The villagers immediately flip their script, praising FedEx as a local hero. Our girl is stunned they actually fell for such a stupid fake name. The white-robed girls apologize for the mistake while the hidden villain fumes. She's glad she isn't a public enemy, but the name FedEx is a tragedy. Suddenly, a memory of a bloodied young man from her delivery days flashes back. She finally realizes this massive mayor is the same client she helped long ago. Ocean invites her to his place, insisting she bring the little girl with her. Ocean Long explains that the immortals need another day to choose their disciples. Our girl is mostly just excited about the prospect of a free meal. Inside the residence, he reveals the item that allowed him to survive and get revenge. It's the very same martial arts manual Xiaxi delivered to him years ago. But as she touches the book, the ancient text suddenly begins to shift. Did you see that? The letters just changed, she exclaims in total shock. Ocean Long looks through his magnifying glass but sees absolutely nothing out of the ordinary. To him, the text is the same ancient language it has always been. Xiaxi realizes the book is specifically translating itself into simplified Chinese just for her. She pulls out a different book to compare, but the magic only works on the manual. Ocean Long insists she keep it, since she's the one who gave it to him. He recounts how he used the manual to become a powerful wushu stylite. Apparently, he's been searching for his mysterious benefactor for the last 25 years. Our girl's jaw drops when he mentions he's already 53 years old. He's even more baffled that she looks exactly the same as she did 30 years ago. Xiaxi realizes the system must have reset her age when it finally uninstalled. Ocean Long admits his talent for cultivation is actually quite mediocre. Xiaxi's internal scan confirms his immortal root is definitely nothing to brag about. Ocean Long admits that reaching the Juji stage is his absolute limit. He wants to help others who have been cast aside, just like him. Our girl tells him the cultivation method belongs to him now. Then she bursts into tears because she lacks an immortal root. I have all the manuals, but no talent to use them, she cries. Ocean longs to test her by pulling out a glowing orb. The orb turns a mysterious white, leaving the master totally stunned. He explains that roots usually only come in specific colors and forms. Does this white light mean I'm at risk for baldness? She panics. He asks if she's checked her meridians, but she's completely clueless. He hands her a scroll to help her finally see her roots. The group enjoys a hearty meal of braised fish and taro. While little Niu sleeps, Xiaxi's mind is in an uproar. She realizes something is different and pulls out her modern phone. She takes out a martial arts book, and the phone swallows it. The screen confirms the book is now part of her digital inventory. Suddenly, a massive glowing achievement bursts out of the phone. Leave my Hawaii alone, she screams as the device vibrates. The light vanishes back into the screen, leaving her totally baffled. Our girl decides to browse the cultivation scrolls to see what else she can learn. Drawing Reiki into my body. Let's give it a shot, she says while opening the manual. She sits down and follows the instructions to control her heartbeat and clear her mind. Suddenly, a massive, glowing orb appears in her vision, making her eyes pop out. What was that huge pearl? She gasps, snapping back to reality in her room. She wonders if this is the legendary introspection state and decides to dive back in. Walking back into her mental space, she finds herself standing before the giant orb. Wait a minute. This white pearl looks way too familiar, she mutters while squinting. Upon closer inspection, she sees gold veins and realizes it's the Lung pearl she found. She's absolutely floored that the legendary item is just chilling inside her soul. She recalls that sneaky guy Kong Yang tossing something into her mouth before he vanished. Was that actually the pearl? And did it somehow become my immortal root? She wonders. She remembers the lessons about meridians and realizes the testing pearl was reacting to this. Our girl is skeptical that a stolen treasure could just replace her natural cultivation base. She leans in closer and notices a tiny crack forming on the surface of the pearl. It looks like something is actually hatching from inside of it. She exclaims in shock. A small, pure white bud emerges, and she realizes this is her true immortal root. With hearts in her eyes, she celebrates finally having the power she needs to survive. Let's see who dares to call me a waste now, she shouts with newfound confidence. She realizes she's the only one who ever called herself that, but she doesn't care. It's finally time to draw in Reiki and put her teacher's lessons to the test. Our heroine is ready to show this cultivation world exactly what she's made of. Why do you look so wrong? She asks, immediately pushing the black Reiki out. After a long night of effort, her tiny bud has already grown 3 leaves. She stretches her arms, feeling more awake than ever despite not sleeping. The sun is setting, and the Sengmen sect is finally getting ready to move out. Xiaxi tries to get Niu cleaned up while Ocean Long notices the room feels unusually clear. Poor Niu is clinging to her side, clearly not ready to say goodbye. Our girl promises her that she'll make plenty of friends and have great teachers at the sect. As a parting gift, she presses a mysterious jade disc into the little girl's hand. This treasure came from the Yinsha sect and is perfect for someone with a musical soul. Don't show this to anyone, especially not Zuanlin, she whispers urgently. Even if Xiaxi isn't sure about cultivation methods, she knows this item is incredibly rare. Niu bravely nods, ready to face her new future with the white-robed cultivators. One of the women calls out, "Thank you, FedEx," which immediately triggers our heroine. "FedEx, my derriere." She fumes, wondering why they're suddenly being so polite today. The ladies realize she's from the Yuhua sect because of her fancy new ceremonial robes. They even point out she's already reached the 3rd level of cultivation without her even noticing. Then comes the ultimate awkward moment. They ask why she's sending her child away. "She's not my child," she screams, her eyes popping out of her head in frustration. She snaps back, asking if she looks like a common human trafficker to them. The hour is late, and the sect members prepare to fly off into the sky. Niu looks back one last time, asking if she can call her sister. "Yeah, I'll be your sister," she replies, watching them vanish into the clouds. With the girl gone, Ocean Long laughs and asks what their next move is. Ocean Long offers to show our girl around Dragon City, acting like he's the big boss in charge. She isn't impressed by his rich brat energy and immediately turns down the guided tour. She knows she needs to keep a low profile before her identity as a wanted woman leaks out. "If you really want to thank me, just give me some cash for the road," she chirps. He happily hands over the gold, but she's already distracted by the GPS map on her phone. She finds a mysterious location called the Muxuan Celestial Mansion and asks if he's heard of it. Ocean Long looks like he's seen a ghost, screaming that she absolutely cannot go to that place. It's a legendary cave where powerful masters vanish, though it supposedly holds treasures beyond count. He warns her that the surrounding forest is a death trap filled with monsters and deadly wards. "I understand, thank you," she says, before casually announcing she's heading out first thing tomorrow morning. Poor Ocean Long is left pleading for her to think it over as the sun begins to set. She spends the entire night cramming spells into her brain like she's prepping for a final exam. Cultivation makes learning easier, but she only manages to master a couple of tricks before daybreak hits. Suddenly, she realizes a massive problem. She has no idea how to summon a flying sword. It's like owning a garage full of luxury cars without having a single driver's license. Resigning herself to a long hike, she heads toward the gate and spots a familiar figure waiting. Ocean Long is laying it on thick, swearing to follow our girl until he dies. "Take me with you," he begs, making a total scene in front of the crowd. She tries to talk sense into him, but the guy has nothing left. Even his childhood cat didn't survive the brutal massacre of his entire family. Thinking it's time for some honesty, she reveals her real name is Xie, but this meathead thinks express delivery was a much more profound title. He even suggests quick delivery instead, and our heroine has officially reached her limit. 3 months of walking later, they aren't even halfway to the dark Twilight Mansion. Staring at the campfire, she realizes Ocean is just a big, muscular gossip. Suddenly, a piercing scream echoes through the forest, and they spot a glowing light. They look down to find a massive, 8-tailed fox monster cornering a terrified girl. The beast is literally radiating fire and looks ready to eat her alive. Before she can process the danger, Ocean leaps from the trees like a madman. "Be careful," she shouts as he prepares to tackle the legendary fire beast. She summons glowing vines with a wood spell, screaming for Ocean to dodge the beast's massive claws. Our girl realizes this level 4 fire fox is a terrifying beast that her weak skills can't handle alone. After 30 minutes of brutal combat, the fox finally whimpers as Ocean's martial arts wear the monster down. Just as Xiaxi's spiritual energy hits zero, a mysterious woman in green appears to trap the beast. This stranger is a total pro, finishing the job and flying off before Ocean can even process it. Ocean is busy blushing like a schoolboy while Xiaxi realizes they were just bait for that woman. "She used us to lure the monster," she snaps, frustrated that her partner is such a brainless musclehead. Suddenly, a bone-chilling roar echoes through the trees, forcing the pair to run for their lives once again. Xiaxi activates a wind spell to shoot her body forward at the speed of light. Gaining more speed should be comparable to sword control, she thinks while gritting her teeth. But even her best magic isn't enough because the beast behind them is even faster. This isn't just any monster. It's a legendary 9-tailed fox with power that rivals high-level alchemy. Our girl realizes that compared to this level 6 beast, they are nothing more than an extravagant meal. It turns out that Hag from before captured the fox's pup and left them to face the father's wrath. Since Ocean is covered in the son's blood, this old fox is never going to let them go. The fox lets out a roar that carries the terrifying weight of its massive cultivation level. Ocean goes up blood and desperately asks if our heroine knows how to defeat this monster. "You've got to be kidding me. I can't even win against a level 4, she screams in terror. Ocean is stunned, wondering why she's hiding her skills after reaching level 5 in just months. He spent 30 years reaching the foundational level, making her progress look absolutely insane. "Who told you I was omnipotent?" She snaps as they try to outrun certain death. Ocean tells her to run while he fights to the death, but she knows he's lost his mind. Their bickering gives the beast just enough time to close the gap and corner them. Xiaxi wonders if she can appease this giant fire beast like she did the winged cat. She reaches into her inventory and pulls out the biggest piece of dried fish she has. Time to give it a try. she yells, hoping this fox has a craving for seafood. The beast gulps down the treat, but Xiaxi realizes this thing is no house cat. It didn't work at all! She cries in total despair as massive claws close in. Suddenly, the monster starts gagging as the dried fish bones get stuck in its throat. Ocean Long screams for her to run, but he swatted away like a literal fly. Our girl watches in horror as Ocean's bones are crushed under the weight of the beast. Even with a throat full of bones, this monster is out for blood and won't stop. "I'll stop it here, just go!" Ocean yells before being swallowed by the creature's intense flames. Xiaxi's conscience won't let her run away while he's sacrificing himself to save her. She decides to gamble everything on a high-level spell she has never even tested before. This foundational-level technique is her only hope to survive this fiery nightmare. "Since I can't beat it, I'll capture it," she screams, summoning a massive beast entrapment array. Magical chains bind the fox, but the effort is draining every last drop of her energy. As darkness takes her, she sees a mysterious figure emerge from the light of the spell. Did I really do it? She wonders before finally losing consciousness among the flowers. Xiaxi opens her eyes to find a total heartthrob leaning over her, but the mood is immediately ruined when he tries to smear green sludge on her face. "What are you trying to do?" she screams, dodging the mystery mud. The guy just smiles and tells her she's hurt and needs medicine. Our girl is stunned when this stranger actually says her name out loud. "How do you know who I am?" she demands, looking him up and down. He looks like a cold, detached villain from a drama, yet the pink hair weirdly suits him. Suddenly, it clicks and she asks if he's actually that massive nine-tailed fox. She can't believe she survived and managed to capture a level 6 beast with just basic chi. To test if she's dreaming, she reaches out and grabs his hair. With a sudden puff, a pair of fluffy fox ears pop right out of his head. "It really is you," she shouts, realizing her new pet is a total babe. The more she looks at him, the more magical this whole situation feels. She's so excited about her first capture that she immediately wants to give him a name. But the fox boy isn't having it and coolly introduces himself as Kaoji. Xiaxi pouts, insisting that owners always get to name their pets in online games. Kaoji ignores her nonsense and tells her to focus on the medicine first. He explains that her spiritual energy is depleted and her meridians are seriously damaged. This green goo is actually spirit grass, meant to heal her from the inside out. As the goo sinks in, she can feel the warm rush of spiritual energy repairing her body. Her internal sprout begins to glow as the damaged leaves start to grow back. The bad news is her cultivation level has tanked all the way back to level 3 chai. It feels like the last 3 months of hard work just vanished into thin air. Kaoji splats mud on our girl's face while pointing toward a massive, mysterious sphere. 2 days later, Ocean Long bursts out of the mud shell only to be dragged away from his rescuer. "This is Kaoji, my new beast," Xiaxi explains as the former fox spirit glares at the confused cultivator. Our heroine offers a juicy chicken drumstick to the starving man, but he's too busy wallowing in dramatic guilt. "Is it all my fault?" he wails while his stomach lets out a roar that completely ruins the mood. Just as he finally reaches for the snack, Kaoji snatches the meat away with lightning-fast reflexes. Xiaxi treats the jealous fox like a child, eventually convincing him to share his prize with the pathetic cultivator. Ku is still holding a petty grudge, tossing the grossest parts of the chicken to poor Ocean. "You beat up his kid and let him get kidnapped. Why would he like you?" Our girl points out. Since she started practicing chi, Xiaxi rarely needs to eat, but Ocean is absolutely starving. Kao is suddenly throwing a tantrum, playing with the food instead of sharing it with the group. It's finally time to move out, but Kao wonders why she isn't just using sword control. Xiaxi panics, refusing to admit she has no idea how to pull off that high-level move. She makes up every excuse in the book, from the wind to being an easy target, but Kao just keeps pulling out better gear, leaving her wondering how a beast has everything. "That's right, your master is weak sauce. Bite me," she snaps before finally admitting her secret. Ku doesn't judge her, simply pulling her close and promising to teach her the technique himself. He tells her not to be scared, guiding her to focus her spiritual chi into the blade. As their hearts race, she tries to focus on the mindfulness needed to stay airborne. Our girl is a natural, but she notices a strange look of guilt hidden in Ku's eyes. She brushes it off as a hallucination, focusing on the thrill of finally mastering the sword. They soar into the clouds, but she can't help feeling like she's forgotten something important. Back at the camp, Ocean is left crying as they fly off with the last drumstick. Flying on a sword is way faster than walking, turning a months-long journey into just 3 days. Xiaxi checks her phone, but the GPS is acting up because the map shows a different location than the city wall. Ocean Long explains this is either city, the only place for practitioners near the forest. Just as they debate whether to enter, a massive crack echoes through the air. The ground is splitting up. She shouts as the earth beneath them begins to shatter. Ocean Long moves like lightning, pulling She into his arms to keep her safe. A violent earthquake rocks the entire region, sending the city's towers crumbling into dust. Our girl is convinced the city is self-destructing just to keep them out. Without a second thought, Ocean Long rushes into the chaos to play the hero. He returns seconds later with a survivor, dumping her right into Xiaxi's confused arms. Every few minutes, he brings back a new woman wearing a different color of the rainbow. Is he trying to find a pot of gold or something? She wonders while staring at the growing crowd. She finally grabs his arm, warning him that the ground is about to collapse. I'm not a celestial, but I can save one more. He insists with total protagonist energy. Our heroine can only roll her eyes as he dives back into the dust for another rescue. Where did they go? He gasps, staring at the empty space where the crowd once stood. Our girl just sighs, reminding him that these are powerful practitioners, not helpless damsels. You wouldn't survive 3 episodes of a drama with that attitude, she snarks. Suddenly, they spot a familiar face moving against the panicked flow of the crowd. It's that same woman who set them up in the forest, and she's heading straight inside. She knows something is fishy when everyone else is running for their lives while she's entering. The woman Yin LV finally reaches her destination and meets up with a mysterious blue-haired man. Please forgive me, she whispers, explaining that the array was further than she expected. The man, Han, isn't interested in excuses and demands to know if she was followed. They've been working hard to clear the city of practitioners to keep their entrance a secret. She realizes with a chill that these villains were the ones who caused the earthquake. Han decides to play it safe and launches a high-level alchemy skill called a detection probe. Oh no, we're about to be exposed, our girl thinks as the golden light sweeps toward them. Just in time, her companion slaps invisibility amulets onto the group to hide their presence. The probe passes right over their heads without picking up a single soul. Don't worry, there's no one in the city besides us, Han declares, completely fooled. Our heroes can finally breathe again, shocked that the sketchy amulets actually worked. The shady group prepares their ritual, revealing a glowing red essence they stole from a poor fox. Our girl realizes they actually killed the little creature, and her heart just sinks. I'm so sorry, she whispers, feeling like this whole mess is her fault. Cow gives her a gentle head pat, trying to soothe her mounting guilt. Suddenly, a massive magic array ignites, tearing open a dark, swirling black hole in reality. The red energy spreads wide, stabilizing the portal to the unknown. The leader claims this path leads straight to the legendary Dark Twilight Mansion. She freezes, because that's the exact place her system mission is pointing to. They only have 30 minutes before the entrance slams shut forever. One man is obsessed with finding the Wheel of Return hidden inside. Our team knows they stand zero chance in a direct fight against these powerhouses. Of course, her phone chooses this exact moment to chime with a new notification. The app demands she enter the mansion to complete the next stage of her task. Level up your face, she screams, absolutely done with these vague, annoying instructions. She throws a tiny tantrum, wishing the system would just tell her everything at once. Cow explains this is a random transfer array, meaning they won't land near the others. This means they can sneak in without getting instantly murdered by the rival cultivators. Cow, you're really my lucky charm, she cries, giving him a big, grateful squeeze. She dives headfirst into the unknown as the dusty ruins of the city vanish behind her. They stumble into a dark, stony passageway where a group of mysterious figures guards a flickering flame. I want to void our contract right now, our girl screams, losing all faith in her beastly guide. Luckily, an advanced invisibility amulet keeps them hidden from the powerful practitioners standing just inches away. The cultivators are convinced they're alone, completely unaware that 2 intruders are breathing down their necks. They follow the group for 30 minutes through a winding tunnel filled with deadly, ancient traps. These guys are from the Serpentine Spirit sect, using a secret manual left behind by the demon. Apparently, the legendary Wheel of Return is still hidden inside, and she is definitely smelling a rat. The group arrives at a crossroad featuring 2 ominous entrances, the Gate of Life and Death. Which one should we choose? The cultivators ahead wonder, paralyzed by the fear of a hidden trap. One guy starts spouting some deep philosophy about how life is death and death is life. Our girl Shai can't help but roll her eyes at how incredibly pretentious this guy is being. The leader of the group isn't just talking. He's looking for a sacrificial lamb to test the waters. Crap, we've been discovered. She realizes as a glowing blue light erupts beneath their feet. The man sneers, deciding that since they followed him, they might as well be useful as bait. A powerful magic circle locks them in place, cutting off any chance of a quick escape. The girl in the enemy group recognizes them, but she's not here to offer any thanks. That hag used us first. She fumes, realizing their kindness was met with cold-blooded betrayal. Magical chains wrap around our poor heroine and her friends, dragging them toward the gates. She feels like 1,000 pounds of pressure is crushing her chest as she struggles. She realizes too late that Han is a high-level practitioner way out of their league. Why was I so stupid to think a simple amulet could hide us? She laments. The ground literally shatters as Cow activates a counter-array to break their fall. He sweeps our girl off her feet and dives straight into the Gate of Death. The other cultivators can only watch in horror as they disappear into the darkness. She realizes Ku isn't just a pretty face, he is a high-level master. We are basically useless in a real brawl, so running is definitely the move, she thinks. They descend deeper into the shadows where the light barely reaches the stone walls. Cow holds her tight, ensuring she stays safe while the enemy stays far behind. They find themselves in an endless corridor with no exit in sight. You can put me down now, she whispers, patting his arm. Kao finally lets go, though he looks a little too flustered for a powerful master. Our girl immediately starts poking his face to see if he is actually okay. "Are you checking for freshness?" he asks, clearly embarrassed by the sudden attention. Meanwhile, their poor companion is gasping for air after being carried by his collar. Ko shoots him a death glare that could freeze the entire cave. Xiaxi wonders why on earth they chose the door labeled Death. Kao explains that in this world, names are just labels for different energy waves. Both paths are dangerous, but this one just has a different flavor of trap. "I suspect the arrays ahead are related to the dead," Kao notes calmly. Our girl's soul nearly leaves her body at the mere mention of ghosts. She is a woman of science, but spooky spirits are where she draws the line. Ocean Long tells our girl there's nothing to fear if her conscience is clear. He explains that ghosts are yin energy, and they absolutely hate being near powerful practitioners. She realizes she's basically a walking ghost repellent and decides it's time to move. The trio follows the tunnel as it widens from a single lane to a highway. Just as she's wondering if it'll get bigger, they smack right into a giant wall. The surface is perfectly smooth and blocks the entire path forward for our group. Well, it's smooth except for one very suspicious stone sticking out of the center. "Do you guys really think I should press this?" she asks, feeling the drama. Ocean Long shrugs, because it's not like they have a better plan right now. Our heroine takes a deep breath and gives the mysterious stone a firm push. The wall begins to fold and crumble away like a set of magical toy bricks. Xiaxi watches in awe as the massive barrier vanishes to reveal the hidden path. It looks like a literal scene from a terrifying end-of-the-world horror movie. A crowd of terrifying shadows and ghostly figures drifts through the chilling darkness. Poor Ocean is actually losing his lunch from the sheer horror of the sight. Strangely enough, these terrifying spirits don't even give our group a second glance. Realizing they are safe for now, the group makes a break for the exit. The wall that had vanished suddenly slams back into place, trapping our group in the dark. The pink-haired practitioner tells Xiaxi not to worry, because basic ghosts are terrified of spiritual energy. But the sudden sound of clicking sends a shiver down their spines as a bad feeling takes over. "I thought you said nothing would happen," our girl screams as a creepy gray creature crawls into view. This special ghost lets out a bone-chilling growl and immediately triggers every other spirit into attack mode. Now, instead of one basic ghost, they're facing an entire horde of hungry monsters. The practitioner admits this group is special, but insists that pure elemental energy will destroy them. Xiaxi is skeptical, demanding to know if any old spell will actually work against these creeps. He claims ghosts are made of yin energy, so any of the 5 elements should do the trick. Probably, he mutters, which isn't exactly the confident answer our heroine was hoping for. He tosses out a wood spell to bind the creature while preparing a massive blast of fire. He slams a fireball directly into Ghost's face, expecting it to turn into ash. Instead of dodging, the monster opens its mouth wide and swallows the entire fireball whole. It even lets out a satisfied burp, as if it just finished a delicious snack. Our heroine can't believe her eyes as the ghost digests pure spiritual energy like it's nothing. "Even those who study yin energy can't do that," she cries, realizing these aren't typical ghosts. These spirits have evolved beyond basic instincts and have a taste for magical attacks. No matter what element they throw at them, the results stay exactly the same. A summoned water dragon gets bitten, an earth wall is chewed, and even a spirit sword is devoured. Only a blade of wind manages to cut one, but the rules are clearly broken. "Isn't this against the rules?" they scream as the nightmare ignores all logic. Ocean thinks he can just punch his way through a literal ghost problem. Our girl reminds him that ghosts don't exactly have solid bodies to hit. But Ocean sends one flying anyway, proving that sometimes brute force just works. Unfortunately, these spirits are already dead, so they just keep crawling back for more. Xiaxi realizes they'll eventually run out of steam if this keeps up. While Ocean is a powerhouse, some of these ghouls are surprisingly quick on their feet. She notices the nastiest ones are the same creeps that swallowed their magic earlier. It turns out spiritual energy might actually be making these monsters even stronger. More ghosts swarm the area as the team's defensive circle begins to crack. Xiaxi is at her limit, struggling to keep the enchantment from shattering completely. One particularly hungry ghost lunges forward after eating a literal fireball. With a deafening clang, their only line of defense finally breaks into pieces. "Go away!" Xiaxi screams as the monsters close in for the kill. Suddenly, a massive wave of pure energy explodes from our heroine's body. Ocean and Ku can only stare in absolute shock at the blinding display. They didn't realize their delivery girl was packing this much hidden power. In an instant, every single ghost surrounding them simply evaporates into thin air. There isn't even a shadow left behind of the horde that nearly ate them. Even the ghosts further back are frozen in place, completely stunned by the power. The boys are left wondering what on earth just happened to their enemies. The ghosts that were so brave a second ago are now running for their lives. It's pretty ironic to see actual spirits acting like they've just seen a ghost. Xiaxi is officially done with the noise and screams for everyone to shut up. The ghosts are so terrified they start trembling and desperately covering their own mouths. These arrogant spirits are suddenly falling apart and fleeing in a total panic. Our girl is completely baffled because she hasn't even made a move yet. Her companion is starstruck, praising her for being a legendary master ghost tamer. "Tame your head," she snaps, admitting she just released her energy in a panic. The pink-haired master is skeptical, knowing energy usually just vanishes without a spell. He decides it's time to see the true depth of her mysterious knowledge. He asks to inspect her spiritual roots, promising he won't pull any funny business. Shishi reluctantly lets him place his hand right on her forehead. A warm energy surges through her as he begins the deep spiritual scan. He's stunned to find her roots are pure white, which is totally unheard of. Usually, these roots are set at birth, and growing new ones is impossible. He theorizes her roots were always there, just waiting for a spark to grow. Jiaxi demands to know her element, but the answer is even more shocking. Her roots don't belong to any of the 5 standard elements at all. Ocean Long is absolutely losing his mind trying to figure out our girl's weird energy. "Touch my Jia again and I'll kill you." The protective little fox boy snaps. Jiaxi wonders if she has the rare changing spiritual roots her teachers always talked about. But the fox boy quickly shuts that theory down, saying her power is actually the total opposite. He explains that while yin begets darkness, yang begets all life in the 5 elements. Most human souls are too fragile to handle pure yang, but our heroine is built different. Her roots can transform everything in this world into her own personal spiritual energy. "Can you simplify what you just said?" she asks, looking completely and utterly lost. Basically, she is the natural enemy of all evil and the true embodiment of pure yang energy. There's just one tiny problem: yang is masculine and she is very much a girl. "I am female," she screams, but the fox boy's hesitation is honestly the ultimate insult. She insists she's full of feminine charm, but Ocean just points out her chest is totally flat. Even the fox boy chimes in saying he's never felt anything there, making her blood boil. Jokes aside, this explains why she's the only one immune to that nasty evil spell. Her spiritual roots contain everything, making her the most overpowered delivery girl in this entire world. Jiaxi is geeking out over her new cheat code, total immunity to demon magic. "This is great. I'm basically invincible against those demon disciples." She cheers. But the realization hits her like a truck: everyone thinks she's the Demon King's sister. "Great. Now I have to worry about the actual immortals hunting me down." She groans. Her companion spots a door and urges them to make a run for it. Jiaxi calls out to her pink-haired buddy, Chiu, to keep moving. Seeing a crowd of skeletons literally shaking with fear is a total mood booster. "Honestly, seeing these ghosts this terrified just cured my entire phobia," she thinks. Suddenly, a giant eyeball comes rolling toward her like a lost marble. She nearly jumps out of her skin before picking up the gross little thing. A literal ghost girl appears, looking totally pathetic and missing a socket. "Is this yours?" Jiaxi asks, trying to be a good Samaritan. The ghost girl refuses to take it back and insists our girl keeps it, getting bribed by a female ghost. "This is definitely a new low for me," she sighs. She tries to say no, but the ghost is persistent and hands over a second one. "I really don't want your eyeballs, please just take them back," she pleads. Chiho realizes these creepy spheres are actually the keys to the massive stone gate. There are perfect circular grooves just waiting for a pair of, well, eyes. They thank the helpful spirit and prepare to unlock the next level. As soon as she pops the eye in, the seal begins to crack and glow. The gate swings open, revealing a magical projection of their rivals. It looks like the other group took a much darker, more dangerous path. Chiyu explains that those poor souls are currently trapped in a mental illusion. "If your mind isn't strong enough, you'll be stuck in there for eternity," he warns. Xiaoshai stares into the pitch-black abyss behind the gate, wondering if it's a trap. Suddenly, a pale, ghoulish hand reaches out and yanks her forward. A tiny, gray spirit demands a handover, so our girl tosses some bones as a bribe. The bones clatter on the floor, and suddenly, the entire stone room erupts in blue flames. It looks like they've found a safe spot, but the mystery is only just beginning. As they step inside, the heavy stone gate begins to creak shut behind them. The little spirits wave goodbye, looking surprisingly sad to see their new friends leave. "You are ghosts, don't be so cute," our heroine thinks, feeling a bit bad for them. Now they are stuck in a massive chamber filled with identical-looking doors. Chiyu points out that the colors of the gates represent the 5 elemental powers. But Ocean Long is skeptical, noticing there are actually 6 gates in total. Our girl scans the room, noting the gold, green, blue, and yellow entrances. Wait, why are there 2 red gates standing right next to each other? Upon closer inspection, each door has a glowing symbol etched into the surface. Ocean Long assumes the red gate is the only way out and asks for her decision. Without a second thought, Xiaoshi points her finger directly at the bright green door. The guys are baffled, but our girl is way ahead of this cultivation world's logic. She is too familiar with this symbol because it is everywhere in the mortal world. It is not a secret cultivation seal. It is just a standard emergency exit sign. Shi is basically teaching Modern World 101 by explaining what an exit sign is. She thinks this dungeon is way too easy since the path is literally labeled. "Let's go," she shouts, stepping toward the glowing portal with total confidence. But just as she enters, a massive blade crashes down, right where she was standing. "You're still alive," Chihao notes, having yanked our girl back just in time. Across from them, Jihan and his companion look like they've been through a meat grinder. "It's really bad luck," the girl grumbles, clearly salty about their current situation. Xiaxi realizes their group of 4 has been cut in half by this deadly place. Jihan tries to play nice, suggesting they team up to survive the traps and find treasure. "Don't trust them," Ocean Long warns, remembering how these snakes almost killed them before. Chiho reassures Xiaxi that he knows exactly how to handle these shady characters. Jihan puts on his best fake smile, begging for a second chance to make things right. This mysterious guy tries to play nice by offering our group some rare golden elixirs. But Xiaxi isn't buying this sudden act of generosity for one single second. Ocean Long flexes, claiming he's had enough bitter medicine to last a lifetime. "We don't need your elixirs," our girl states, seeing right through his suspicious bribe. She warns him that as long as he stays away, they won't have a conflict. The guy desperately offers other treasures, but the tension in the air is incredibly thick. Ocean Long points an accusing finger, reminding everyone that this guy's sister tried to kill them. "I apologize for the past," the man pleads, looking ready to beg for their forgiveness. He gives his sister a terrifying glare, making it clear she's the one who messed up. Ocean Long crosses arms, still not trusting this sketchy cooperation for even a moment. But our girl has a sharp mind and realizes there's a hidden motive for his desperation. "You actually can't open the gate yourself, can you?" she asks with a knowing smirk. The shocked look on his face proves she hit the nail right on the head. His sister admits their ancient books didn't explain how to bypass the very last trap. It turns out they're completely stuck at the Twilight House without our heroine's help. Xiaxi and her companion stare in awe at the massive, glowing blue gate. "That gate is different from anything we've seen before," she whispers, mesmerized by the antique patterns. But the pink-haired Qiao drops a bombshell, claiming the glowing barrier isn't actually a seal. Jihan is completely baffled, demanding to know how something blocking their path isn't a trap. Chihu admits he only teamed up with Jihan because of his high-level elixir cultivation skills. Even though Jihan is powerful, he's still stumped by the mysterious floating characters before them. Our girl Xiaxi gets curious and reaches out, but Chihao quickly warns her to stop. "It's a fake seal," he explains, revealing the glowing symbols are just a clever camouflage. Xiaxi's jaw drops when she realizes these powerful ancient characters are actually totally useless. Jihan looks like he's about to have a mental breakdown after being attacked by a fake. Chiu calmly explains that the barrier is a rebound seal designed to reflect every attack. Poor Jaehan realizes he was essentially punching himself in the face this entire time. The pink-haired man asks if his companion can handle the situation. She promises to do it, and he tells her to lay down before blowing a mysterious mist. Suddenly, the magical gate before them begins to shift and fracture like breaking bubbles. 2 strange entrances appear where there was once only one. Ocean Long looks on in shock as the ancient gate finally swings wide open. Xiaxi stares at the cryptic words, "give and get," wondering what kind of twisted price this world demands. Just then, a powerful bondage seal locks our girl's body in place. The teal-haired man smirks, revealing this trap was his sister's doing all along. He tells her to move, but his sister summons a glowing blade instead. "I'm sorry, brother," she screams while plunging the sword straight through his chest. Blood sizzles everywhere as the betrayal leaves the rest of the group completely speechless. The sister coldly wipes her blade and flies into the samsara wheel, leaving her brother to rot. Xiaxi can hardly look at the carnage as the dying man begs for help. Our poor heroine realizes that in this world, even family will kill you for a chance at power. Ocean Long looks at the defeated man and asks what they should do next. Xiaxi tells him to just let it go because it isn't their problem. Our girl admits to herself that she simply can't bring herself to kill someone. Ocean Long watches the man die, realizing the poor guy is completely helpless now. Xiaxi realizes the others were too desperate and rushed straight into a trap. Chihao remains perfectly calm because he already knew exactly what would happen. Chihao reaches out to pat her head as if she's a cute little puppy. "When did you get the habit of touching my head?" she asks while blushing. Chihu explains that this golden system seal won't actually attack them. He suspects this is only a small part of a much larger magical barrier. Ocean Long is stunned that Chihu can't actually open the path forward. Xiaxi stares at the gate, determined to reach her destination at the Twilight House. Chihu grabs her hand and promises a way through if they follow the rules. Our heroine has just relieved the seal acts like a giant magical autofilter. Suddenly, blue flames erupt and turn the nearby corpse into a pile of ash. Ocean Long watches in horror as every single bloodstain on the ground vanishes. Ocean Long watches as the characters on the gate begin to glow with a mysterious golden light. He wonders if they need to sacrifice something precious just to pass through the entrance. Our girl notices a red seal moving along what looks exactly like a modern conveyor belt. Xiaxi stares in disbelief as the ancient ruins reveal themselves to be a high-tech security checkpoint. "What the hell? This isn't ancient, it's an X-ray machine," she screams internally. Seeing the exit signs and baggage instructions, she's certain the house owner is another time traveler. Ocean Long is practically sparkling with awe because his benefactor can read these mysterious symbols. He calls her his idol, while our heroine just tries to keep her composure amid the absurdity. Chihu tries to stop her, but Xiaxi reaches out to test the glowing blue portal. She confirms it's a metal detector and demands the boys hand over all their metallic gear. Ocean Long places his dagger into the basket, watching it vanish into a bright red light. He finally understands that give and get rule. They have to pay a toll with their treasures. Xiaxi ignores the logic of this magical airport security and tells them to keep emptying their pockets. Xiaxi realizes Ocean Long is absolutely loaded compared to their other companion. Gold necklaces, rings, and even gold bars. What a total rich man, she exclaims. To get through the barrier, our girl starts a security check by patting the guys down. I didn't know you had this kind of hobby, benefactor, Ocean Long mutters, looking flustered. With the gold stashed away, the group finally steps through the shimmering magical seal. Stay close to me, the pink-haired warrior warns as they realize the coast is clear. After walking for several hundred meters, they stumble upon a massive, empty hall. A delicate jade box sits on a wooden table, pulsing with a mysterious golden light. Now that they're safe, Xiaxi dumps the entire basket of treasure back to Ocean. Move it and take these back already, she shouts, leaving the poor guy totally stunned. She explains that her high-tech security check was just a temporary measure for their safety. But as she stares at the glowing box, she realizes her delivery app isn't reacting. Xiaxi clears her throat and begins spinning a wild legend about 3 omnipotent craftsmen. She claims T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon forged a treasure so powerful it defies logic. Internally, our girl is screaming at the system to stop making trouble, or she'll uninstall it for good. Ocean Long is totally confused, asking why his benefactor is spinning around in circles. I'm just trying to find the signal, she shouts back, desperately waving her arms. She doubles down on the lie, insisting these 3 legendary masters work together to create a miracle. Xiaxi explains this invisible treasure radiates 3 mysterious auras known as 2G, 3G, and 4G. Ocean Long's eyes sparkle as he realizes they must find this awesome power immediately. The higher we climb, the easier it will be to find, she encourages him with a straight face. She hands her phone to the poor guy, telling him it's the key to tracking the signal. Ocean Long is honored to help his benefactor and starts scaling the pillars like a pro. A man with a good heart is a man with luck, she thinks, watching him do all the work. Suddenly, a pink-haired skeptic chimes in, asking why he's never heard of these legendary craftsmen. Xiaxi breaks into a cold sweat and claims they belong to a very ancient, faraway government. He's not buying it, wondering how 3 different people could ever share the secrets of such an instrument. It's just a legend, you wouldn't be able to see them anyway, she deflects with a nervous smile. The man is completely baffled, having only ever studied the 5 elements of the natural world. He's never heard of a 2G or 3G aura, and honestly, we can't really blame him. Ocean Long searches everywhere for a reaction from the phone, but there's absolutely nothing. He concludes there's no treasure on the pillar and suggests opening the mysterious box instead. Our girl cautiously approaches the container, wondering if she's about to walk into a deadly trap. The box literally begs to be opened, emitting a light so bright it nearly blinds her. They finally pop the lid, only to find the treasure chest is completely and utterly empty. Ocean spirals into a total panic, screaming about the missing samsara wheel and his lost hope. Suddenly, they spot a note at the bottom written in a language that looks suspiciously like English. Xiaxi freezes in pure shock as she recognizes the familiar handwriting on the paper. Losing her cool, she grabs Ocean and demands to know the Demon King's actual name. He stammers that the family name is Shi, but he doesn't know the rest of it. Just as she's about to lose it, the pink-haired spirit chimes in with the full name, Shaidong. Xiaxi stares in disbelief, realizing the person she's looking for might be closer than she thought. Xiaxi's mind is absolutely blown as her entire reality comes crashing down. What's wrong, benefactor? Ocean Long asks while our girl has a total mental breakdown. The truth is finally out. The legendary, terrifying Demon King is actually her big brother. Flashback 28 years and we see the real Shidong in the flesh. He was a total menace who lived to pull her pigtails and play tricks. But he was also her protector, scaring off any boys who dared send her letters. Now he's a notorious figure in the celestial world with a reputation for pure chaos. I'm really the Demon King's sister? Goddamn, she groans in absolute despair. Ocean Long doesn't buy it, pointing out the Demon King lived centuries ago. But Xiaxi has the receipts, recognizing his distinct, flatulent handwriting anywhere. She even recognizes a bitchy and cheap emoji he used to spam on social media. It's clear her stupid brother time traveled to this world 100 years before her. Such a knave and stupid name, she sighs, wondering if he's in a rebellious phase. Suddenly, her pink-haired companion snaps, shouting that the Demon King isn't her brother. He grabs her firmly, his eyes burning with a strange and intense anger. Why are you so angry? She asks as the vibe gets incredibly awkward. Xiaxi realizes the mission is a total bust because the treasure box is empty. Just as they prepare to leave, a sudden gust of wind nearly knocks our girl over. Out of nowhere, the crazed Jihan lunges forward and snatches the box from her hands. The samsara wheel is finally mine, he screams with a maniacal, wide-eyed grin. Our heroine notices that the massive wound on Jaehan's chest has miraculously vanished. Her companion warns that the villain has consumed a dangerous irritant elixir to boost his power. It's basically a magical steroid that grants temporary strength at the cost of the user's life. Jaehan doesn't care about dying as long as he gets his hands on the treasure. He really is just a common junkie at this point. Xiaxi thinks in total disbelief. Jaehan eagerly prays the lid open, expecting to find the ultimate power-up waiting inside. But our girl already knows the hilarious punchline to this tragic joke. The box is completely empty, and the villain's face turns pale with pure rage. "We didn't take anything, it was empty when we found it," she shouts. Refusing to believe the truth, Jaehan crushes the artifact into tiny wooden crumbs with his bare hands. "Give me the Samsara wheel," he bellows while summoning a massive array of glowing swords. The overwhelming pressure from his aura makes it nearly impossible for our poor heroine to breathe. Jaehan's power has reached a terrifying level that threatens to crush them all into the dirt. The hall is drowning in a suffocating pressure as Jaehan pulls a desperate move. He chugged an irritant elixir to force himself into the overpowered nascent soul stage. Just as our girl is about to collapse, a warm current flows through her. A mysterious pink-haired hottie catches her, shielding her with a soft, calming aura. With a single glance, he turns the deadly swords in the sky into mere dust. "It's so cold," someone screams as the entire hill is suddenly covered in ice. Xiaxi is baffled because this firefox is supposed to use fire, not frost. Up in the sky, the shards of a broken box begin to fuse back together. It forms a massive jade plate that splits the world into light and darkness. "What's that?" Xiaxi asks as the newly formed plate begins to shatter. A deafening cracking sound echoes through the hall, making everyone's nerves stand on end. It's a void crack, a portal only a legendary pre-immortal should be able to summon. "Get out of here, Jia, quickly!" The pink-haired man shouts as space begins to distort. A hexagonal gap tears open, spilling dangerous chaos gas that his seals can't even touch. Chiyu is being all heroic, telling our girl to run before the void swallows her whole. He claims he can handle the crack alone, but his inner thoughts are just happy she cares. Xiaxi realizes their way out of their league and their sacrifice might be totally pointless. She shoves Ocean Long toward the exit, telling him to save his golden system items and run. "Go to the exit and wait for me," she screams while basically babysitting the world's survival. Even though she's powerless, our girl refuses to leave her companion behind in the chaos. She dives back into the blinding light, making Chiyu lose his mind with worry. "Xia, why are you back?" he shouts as the world literally tears itself apart. Chiyu insists that only a celestial seal can fix this mess and begs her to leave. But Shishai isn't budging, calling him out as a pre-immortal master in disguise. He's absolutely stunned that she managed to see right through his divine secret. "Do you think I'm stupid?" she asks, listing every single clue he accidentally dropped. She tells him that using ice magic as a firefox was a dead giveaway of his identity. "Next time you lie, at least pick a name that isn't just your old one backwards." The pink-haired fox boy is over the moon that our girl recognized him instantly. "I only attached half soul to this firefox. Yet you still knew it was me." He beams. He pulls her into a tight embrace, declaring her his one and only good girl. But the mood is totally killed when Ocean Long comes crawling back in a total panic. "The exit collapsed after I threw my treasures," the poor guy cries out in despair. Now they're all trapped, and our fox boy is absolutely fuming at this total idiot. Xiaxi looks the glowing rift, worried the chaos gas is about to break everything. "What should we do, Huchi?" she asks, trying to find a way out of this mess. Ocean is confused by the name change, but he quickly learns to keep his mouth shut. "It's none of your business," the fox boy snaps, clearly protecting his territory. He explains that with only one soul left, he can only use his seal one time, but the chaos gas is everywhere, making it impossible to close the crack for good. Our heroine isn't about to give up, even as the situation turns dire. He gently grasps her hand, his eyes filled with a deep, lingering sadness. "Your aura is the purest," he whispers. "It's the only thing that can fight this gas. All she has to do is release her energy to clear a path for them." She can't believe it's actually that simple to save the day. She realizes his real body isn't even here, making this a high-stakes spiritual gamble. Our girl is worried about using the seal, but this pink-haired hottie just wants to protect her. He even lets her pinch his cheeks, making her realize just how soft this easy brother really is. When a random guy tries to interfere, she tells him to mind his own business and hands him a giant carrot. The poor guy actually thinks holding a vegetable is a crucial part of the sealing ritual. Suddenly, the golden seal in the sky shatters, allowing dangerous chaos gas to flood the entire area. Huchi prepares a spell as the dark energy begins to spread without anything to hold it back. Our heroine seizes the moment, releasing her powerful aura to blast through the darkness. A beam of pure white light clears a path, dispersing the crazy chaos gas instantly. "Huchi!" she cries out, but he still insists on being called brother, even during a crisis. Giant, glowing swords slam into the ground like pillars, finally stopping the earthquake and stabilizing the hall. Exhausted from the effort, Huchi slips and falls right into our girl's arms. He shamelessly asks for a hug to feel better, while she notices his hair has turned bright red. She's stunned to see he sprouted fox ears, but he just acts like it's totally normal. She can't believe her eyes when she sees Chi's fluffy new tail. "Trust me, sister," he says, even though his entire body is literally glowing with fading energy. Our girl is worried he's about to poof back into his original form any second. Hoochie is frustrated that this body can only handle one use of the seal. She begs him to turn back into a fox so he can heal faster. But he refuses, determined to be the ultimate overprotective brother. "I won't my sister see my disgrace," he declares while holding her close. He insists on staying, wondering how she could possibly survive without his protection. He even tries to force his remaining aura onto her, which is totally reckless. She can only stare in disbelief at his dramatic hero complex. She reminds him that he's technically a pet and needs to listen to his master. Still, she notices he's a lot less grumpy than he used to be. Suddenly, Ocean Long worries that the massive floating swords are about to collapse. She laughs it off, but a massive crack immediately proves her wrong. The entire area goes up in smoke as the pillars explode around them. "Don't jinx it, Ocean Long," she screams as the world falls apart. Poor Hoochie coughs up a mouthful of blood as the seal's backlash hits him hard. A terrifying dark void begins to tear through the sky, shattering the celestial seal. This isn't just a regular crack. It's something much more dangerous. With blood running down his face, Hoochie yells for her to run for her life. It feels like a massive earthquake is ripping the very fabric of reality apart. Everything is being sucked into a swirling black hole of chaos and debris. Our girl can only watch in horror as Hoochie suffers through the intense, swirling airflow. Chaos erupts as a massive black hole begins devouring everything in its path. "Run away!" Ocean Long screams as our girl She starts falling into the void. Just as she's about to be lost forever, a hand reaches out and grabs her. Ocean Long is sliding toward the abyss, but he refuses to let her go. "Hold me tight, benefactor," he yells, straining against the terrifying pull. Our poor heroine is horrified to see his body covered in deep, bleeding gashes. "Don't be afraid," he whispers with a pained smile. "I'm coming for you." She realizes those aren't normal wounds. He's being shredded by lethal chaos gas. This deadly energy devours anyone with aura, and the stronger the cultivator, the worse it hurts. Even though he's dying, Ocean Long uses his final bit of aura to pull her back. Why are they all so stubborn? She wonders, her heart breaking for her selfless ally. Ocean Long warns her that nothing can block this hole, not even massive boulders. Suddenly, a light bulb goes off in her head about fixing a vulnerability in the system. She checks her phone and realizes the mission fix refers to this literal hexagram-shaped hole. "Wait, the hexagram!" She cries out, finally seeing the solution to their deadly predicament. Our girl realized the secret manuscript was absorbed by her high-tech phone. She spots the hexagram metal in her inventory, matching the black hole's shape exactly. Ocean Long screams for her to stay back before she gets dragged into the abyss. "There's no time to explain, just let me go," she shouts, shaking him off. With perfect timing, she hurls the metal straight into the center of the vortex. The item expands with a click, sealing the hole and killing the destructive power. Strange computer code flickers across her vision as the metal and hole vanish. She hits the ground with a thud, but her phone confirms the mission is complete. She rushes over to find Ocean Long collapsed and bleeding out. Her heart breaks seeing Hoochie has reverted to a fox, losing 2 of his tails. Even with the hole closed, the deadly chaos gas continues to spread through the air. She realizes those with the highest cultivation are being poisoned the fastest. Our girl looks up at the massive gap and realizes the earthquake nearly leveled the underground world. There's an exit way up there, but it's choked with lethal, swirling chaos gas. The man beside her claims the gas only hurts those with a high cultivation aura. He points out that she seems perfectly fine, leaving our poor heroine completely baffled. "Why doesn't it work on me?" she wonders, staring at the toxic blue mist. She realizes her body has a pure yang, spiritual nature that shares an origin with the gas. This unique connection is the only reason she hasn't been dissolved into a puddle yet. Gritting her teeth, she tells Ocean Long to stay back and take care of Hoochie. "Leave the gas to me," she declares, stepping forward to risk it all. Ocean Long can only nod and beg his benefactor to be extremely careful. Our heroine closes her eyes and tries to pull all that chaotic energy into her body. She is drowning in energy, having only processed 5% of the massive aura. What should I do with the rest? She panics while trying to stay conscious. She uses every mental trick in the book to numb the agonizing pain. The spiritual energy swirls inside her body like a violent, glowing storm. Her internal dragon ball begins to spin faster than a high-speed top. Am I going to explode? She wonders as the light becomes blinding. Suddenly, her spiritual plant sprouts a 6th leaf, accelerating the infusion speed. Her cultivation level begins to skyrocket through the stages in mere seconds. Stage 7 and 9 pass by until her key gathering is complete. Her body feels dangerously swollen, making it nearly impossible to breathe. "I can't pass out here," she screams, forcing her eyes to stay open. She recites every motivational slogan she knows just to keep her sanity. A sharp cracking sound echoes through her soul as her limits finally shatter. That tiny spiritual bud transforms into a magnificent, glowing tree before her eyes. The unbearable aches vanish instantly as the aura finds its new home. Our girl realizes she didn't just survive, she completely finished the base-laying stage. She wonders if she's about to break into the elixir cultivation stage next. My teachers definitely didn't cover this in the school syllabus, she cries out. Just as she prepares for more, the flooding energy suddenly grinds to a halt. Our heroine feels completely reborn, though she's confused by her sudden outfit change. The terrifying haunting gas has vanished, leaving only a peaceful darkness behind. I won the bet, but I am never doing that again, she huffs. Ocean Long is being a total hero while the cavern literally crumbles into pieces around them. Benefactor, hold on tight, we're getting out of here, he shouts through the falling debris. Our girl is actually impressed that he didn't just ditch her to save his own skin. Finally reaching the surface, she just wants to take a nap and forget this nightmare. But the universe has zero chill and sends a mysterious pink-haired lady to ruin her rest. Damn it, can I just have 5 minutes of peace? Our poor heroine groans internally. The new arrival is gloating about an ancient map and immediately recognizes our favorite delivery girl. She knows she was the one who gave Jaehan that overpowered ancient book. It looks like her past deliveries are coming back to haunt her in the worst way. Give me the samsara wheel right now, the woman demands with a wicked, greedy smirk. She is pinned by a purple aura, unable to explain that the box was empty. The villainess decides that if she won't talk, she'll just take it from her corpse. She summons a massive fire dragon to turn our girl into a literal human kebab. She panics because she's stuck to the ground and can't even move a muscle. But just as the flames close in, a massive wall of ice erupts to save her. The fire dragon is frozen solid as a circle of glowing defense swords slams down. The pink-haired intruder realizes she's outmatched and flees before she gets turned into a popsicle. She recognizes that legendary snow-white costume and that signature ice-cold poker face. She feels a strange warmth as a mysterious man uses an ice-based healing technique. I was just in time, he whispers while cradling our unconscious heroine. Our girl finally opens her eyes only to see a literal pig-faced monster staring back. Is this a bomb? She screams, immediately throwing hands at the poor guy's swollen face. It turns out this pig is actually the guy who used to pretend to be an old man. He complains that her year-long disappearance got him a massive beatdown from the Grandmaster. She pinches his bruised cheek, just to make sure she isn't stuck in a weird dream. He explains that she only survived her injuries thanks to a legendary millennial lotus. She notices her energy channels feel different, but at least she can finally use auras again. When she asks about Ocean Long, the guy scoffs and says they kicked that paper tiger out. The news gets worse when she hears the Grandmaster is stuck in meditation to repair a demon seal. He broke the rules just to save you, the fat man explains as the gravity sets in. The seal was made by the Grandmaster, and he's the only key to keeping it shut. If he leaves his post, the ancient beasts will break free, and he'll be severely injured. Our girl realizes he risked everything to enter the Vertigo Forest just for her sake. I have to see him right now, she cries, rushing out of bed despite her injuries. Meanwhile, Huchi is having a total mental breakdown while scratching the wall in absolute despair. I failed the one job a brother has, protecting my precious sister. He laments. He blames himself for letting her wander into the traps of the dangerous Twilight House. He wanted her to have a good time, but everything went south so fast. Why did that moron leave a curse box that opens void cracks anyway? He growls. He's haunted by the fact that the crack could actually control his powerful mind. My sister has definitely lost all faith in me after this disaster. He sighs gloomily. He's convinced she hates him and thinks the Demon King is way cooler. She probably doesn't even want me to her brother anymore. He cries while spiraling. In his depression, he accidentally claws a massive hole straight through the solid brick wall. Our heroine stares in shock through the gap while he claims the room just has poor ventilation. She watches Hochi walk with a heavy step, wondering if he's still hiding his pain. Are you okay? She asks, but he simply reassures her with a calm, stoic smile. Our girl thanks him for saving her life, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. Huchi gently places a hand on her head, looking at her with absolute focus. I'm your brother always, he declares, cementing his role as her eternal protector. She giggles, leaning against his shoulder as she thanks him for his unreserved kindness. He questions why she risked her mind by attaching it to that dangerous fox spirit. Huchi explains that her soul seal wasn't nearly strong enough to defeat such a powerful beast. It turns out he's been secretly following and protecting her since she first climbed the cliff. You were so weak back then, I couldn't help but worry, he admits softly. Our heroine feels a bit called out by his blunt honesty regarding her lack of strength. She tries to ask a serious question, but Huchi suddenly cuts her off with a shout. I don't agree. You are my sister forever, he yells, terrified she'll break their bond. She is totally baffled by his sudden mood swing and dramatic outburst. He insists that his sister belongs only to him, looking surprisingly happy about the arrangement. She pinches his cheeks, wondering if there's a secret little princess living in his mind. Xiaoshai stares at her phone, but the screen remains cold and lifeless. No new missions or maps appear, leaving her with just a digital brick. She shows Huchi a photo of her brother, and he confirms the identity immediately. Our girl realizes the pass app wasn't just random. It was a carefully planned guide. Why did my brother leave that box for me? She wonders, clutching her phone tightly. She suspects the infamous Demon King is the only one who holds the truth. If she finds him, she might finally find a way back to her own world. I have to figure this out, no matter where he's hiding, she vows. Even the jerk who threw her off a cliff has completely vanished without a trace. People call her brother a public enemy, but she remembers him crying over a chicken. There's no way he's a cold-blooded killer, she thinks, recalling his goofy, cowardly face. Hoochie mentions a secret zone called the Tranquil Place, where he last saw him. It only opens every 50 years for those who haven't reached the nascent soul stage. Wait, if the Demon King is basically a god, how did he get in? She asks. The next opening is in 5 years, and our heroine is determined to be ready. She plans to reach elixir cultivation just in time to storm that secret zone. But Hoochie shuts her down instantly, telling her that it's simply not going to happen. Hoochie asks our girl if she's ever actually seen her own internal energy channels. She shakes her head in confusion, so he tells her to close her eyes and focus. The moment she looks inside, she realizes her body's foundation is as thin as paper. Even her spiritual buds are covered in cracks, looking like they'll shatter at any second. Hoochie warns her that her cultivation is dangerously unstable and needs immediate fixing. Our poor heroine panics, thinking her journey is over before it even really started. Is there really no hope? She asks, looking absolutely devastated by the news. Hoochie gently takes her hand and promises they have 5 years to turn things around. She realizes that in this crazy world, cultivation is the only thing that actually matters. Without his help, she would have been killed the moment Dragon City fell. Hoochie offers her a special cave to begin her intense meditation and training. Just then, Oceanlong shows up, looking much healthier and ready for action. He's heading back to Dragon City and came to say a final goodbye to his benefactor. She hands him a secret manual for elixir cultivation to help him on his way. He's so moved by her kindness that he bursts into tears and tries to hug her. How about we become sworn siblings? He cries out while clinging to her. Hoochie isn't having any of that, immediately flicks the emotional guy away. Forget it. She's my sister, he declares while Oceanlong flies into the distance. With the goodbye out of the way, Hoochie tells her it's time to truly begin. Our girl is finally ready to master her powers and survive this cultivation madness. 3 long years of intense training finally come to an end for our girl. She opens her eyes only to realize she's basically turned into a dusty clay statue. I ate a mouthful of dust, she coughs while stumbling out of her seclusion. Waiting outside is the cold-faced Hoochie, looking just as icy as the day she left. She reads his silent gaze and decides he's definitely desperate for a warm welcome. Well, little girl, as you wish, she chirps, lunging forward to pull him into a hug. Poor Hoochie looks like he's regretting every life choice as dust clouds explode everywhere. He quickly casts a cleansing spell to save his robes from her 3-year grime. In a flash, the dirt and smell vanish, leaving our heroine looking fresh and fabulous. This spell is really convenient, she thinks, loving the magical life hacks. She's ready to level up to elixir cultivation, knowing her time is running out. But the master shut her down, insisting it isn't going to be that easy. A chubby guy named Baihong steps in to give her a lecture on spiritual methods. Our modern girl tries to process his ancient wisdom using the only logic she knows. It's like a computer, she realizes, comparing cultivation stages to a bootloader and software. If the method is the operating system, she just needs the right version to run her magic. Our girl is having a total meltdown because her spiritual nature doesn't have a compatible operating system. A computer is useless without a system. She cries, feeling like a total tech failure. But the gorgeous Grandmaster just smiles and tells her she can practice powerful magics without a method. Are you serious? She gasps, her eyes sparkling as he mentions the legendary falling stars. With a gentle tap to her forehead, he literally downloads the entire martial arts manual into her brain. She watches in awe as the movements are engraved directly into her mind like a digital file. If my teachers back home had this magic, I'd be at Harvard by now, she realizes. Meanwhile, the other disciple is fuming because the master never shared these top-tier secrets with him. The master doesn't have time for losers and tells the jealous guy to get lost. He turns back to Xie, encouraging her to analyze the movements and find the core point. He mentions the method only has 3 movements, but our girl is confused because she saw 36. Bullshit. The bystander screams, insisting the entire world knows there are only 3 moves. Ignoring the hater, Xie picks up a branch and begins a breathtaking display of swordplay. She flows through every hidden movement, proving her modern brain is the ultimate cultivation cheat code. The masters are stunned as they watch our girl move like a total blur of steel. How did you do that? They gasp, unable to believe she mastered 36 movements instantly. Xie just shrugs, explaining that swordplay is basically just basic high school algebra. Hoochie is absolutely smitten by her genius, patting her head and calling her his smart sister. For the next 2 years, Xie dedicates every waking moment to mastering the blade. Hoochie proves to be a patient teacher, acting out every single movement with perfect grace. It takes a full year of grueling practice just to master the very first move. When she asks Hoochie his time, he casually says he learned everything in 1 month. Our poor heroine is officially dead inside after that soul-crushing reality check. Despite the ego bruise, she keeps grinding until she finally unlocks the second movement. With Hoochie guiding her every strike, her power begins to reach terrifying new heights. But suddenly, her perfect teacher vanishes into thin air, leaving her totally stranded. Desperate for answers, she tracks down the lazy idler Baihong to find her missing mentor. Xiaxi's mentor points out that her sword moves only work if she uses her aura. Our girl decides to give it a shot, channeling her energy into a freezing ice system. This time, she shouts, unleashing a massive flash of power that obliterates the nearby garden. The woman screams in horror as her precious cropland is reduced to total rubble. Xiaxi realizes something is still missing, even though her strike was incredibly destructive. The mentor grumbles about her lost ginseng, reminding she's still just a beginner. She explains that a true grandmaster possesses something much more terrifying, the sword mind. Even a simple movement from a master carries a weight to crush any opponent. Sword mind? What's that? Our heroine asks, looking completely lost in this magical world. The mentor explains it's a unique talent that takes years of high-level cultivation to unlock. She manifests a glowing golden blade, explaining that every person's sword mind is unique. To find it, a cultivator must feel a special airflow swirling deep inside their body. Xiaxi blinks, casually mentioning she felt a red airflow on her very first day. The mentor's jaw hits the floor as she realizes our girl is a total prodigy. The woman falls into a deep depression, crying that she's the world's biggest loser. I practiced for 15 years just to feel what you felt in seconds, she wails. Despite her tears, she tells Xiaxi to guide that airflow and imagine its form. Xiaxi realizes that having a wild imagination might actually make her power even stronger. She puts on her serious face, determined to pick the most overpowered form possible. Our girl isn't just training anymore. She's about to break the logic of this world. Our girl closes her eyes and focuses all her energy on manifesting her sword mind. A mysterious red light begins to gather as the local brat watches with judgmental eyes. He starts cackling, convinced that our heroine just spent all that time creating a tiny carrot. Is this your ultimate weapon? He mocks, pointing at the small red object in her palm. Xiaxi stares at the tiny projectile, wondering why her modern imagination produced something so small. The kid keeps laughing, asking if she plans to kill enemies with a common vegetable. It's not a carrot, she deadpans, revealing she was actually picturing a literal atomic bomb. Before he can even process the word, a massive mushroom cloud erupts in the distance. The explosion leaves the poor brat smelling like over-toasted pork and covered in thick soot. He is totally traumatized, crying out that she never warned him her carrot was a bomb. I told you it's not a carrot, she sighs, while he screams about hating vegetables. Finally, the day of the tranquil place arrives, even though our girl only mastered 2 moves. Her master, Hoochie, was dead set against her going, but eventually he just caved in. He realized he can't stop her, so he decides to make her the most overgeared cultivator. He starts handing out high-level runes like candy, capable of blocking attacks from master friars. Then come the defensive fans and 10 whole bottles of life-saving elixirs for her journey. He insists 1 bottle isn't enough, treating our heroine like she's heading into a war zone. He even packs 10 spare dresses because he's worried she won't find a washing machine. Our girl is moved to tears, officially declaring him the best big brother in the world. By the time he's finished, she is standing in front of a literal mountain of gear. Our girl is gearing up for a solo mission, packing every elixir and rune she can find. I don't want to be special, she insists while Hoochie watches her leave with those sad eyes. She arrives at the massive gathering of Yuhua school disciples, hoping to blend into the crowd. Baihong gave her a name card for safety, but staying low profile is easier said than done. Just as she's about to head out, Baihong catches her and pulls her back. You really want to go, girl? He asks, clearly worried about her reckless plan. He gets serious, asking if she's really going to look for that demon king. He's been gone for years, why bother yourself? He warns, but our girl won't hear it. Baihong grumbles that she's troublesome, but deep down he knows she's just a good-hearted girl. She looks him in the eye and asks if he actually knew her brother back then. He turns away, refusing to acknowledge the man her brother has supposedly become. I trust him no matter what people say he's done, she declares with total conviction. Baihong warns that time and cultivation change everyone, but she refuses to believe her brother changed. She steps up to the check-in line and hands over her card, revealing a mysterious 1. Xiaxi finds herself assigned to Group 1, but she's more focused on the leader's hilarious name, Seek Death. What a strange name, she mutters while trying to keep a straight face. The group leader, Yi Yagua, is absolutely fuming that a weakling joined his elite squad. He demands an explanation, but the other disciples claim the truth stone made the final decision. There must be a problem with the stone. Ye screams, refusing to accept our girl. He points a finger at her, ordering her to stay behind while the real warriors leave. Xiaxi isn't taking that disrespect and calls him a spoiled boy with a nasty attitude. You're gonna get killed with such weak cultivation, he hisses, trying to look intimidating. She realizes the tranquil place might be a death trap, but she refuses to back down. Suddenly, a powerful master appears, and Yi immediately starts acting like a flustered child. It turns out this arrogant brat is the son of Master Yuzhao, the school's head. She panics, realizing that if the big boss recognizes her, her entire cover is blown. She quickly pulls her hood up, praying she can disappear into background. Yi doesn't notice her fear and continues whining to his dad about the stone's mistake. Yuzhao is throwing a massive tantrum. Because our girl is stuck at the pathetic base-laying stage, she'll only hinder us. He screams, but Master Yuan is too busy having a total meltdown seeing her face. Our heroine thinks her cover is blown, but the old man just smacks his son for being a total brat. How could you bully your junior? The master yells while Yuzhao nurses a literal mountain on his head. He orders the grumpy elite to escort our girl to the dangerous, tranquil place right now. Xiaxi is stunned that he didn't expose her secret and actually seems to be shielding her. The rest of the elite squad isn't exactly rolling out the red carpet for our poor heroine. These geniuses start gossiping about her low-level and comely, looks like they're in a toxic cafeteria. Xiaxi just rolls her eyes at how arrogant these early maturing teenagers are being. Why is an outside disciple in Group 1? The crowd whispers in absolute shock. Even Yuzhao looks like he's reached his limit, snapping that he has no idea what's going on. Ocean Long is annoyed because the truth stone failed to expose our girl. He decides to move on, ordering the group of 10 into the glowing seal. In a flash of light, the group is transported to a vast, grassy plain. Xiaxi gazes up at the sky, wondering what kind of magic is happening now. This tranquil place is a secret realm that only opens once every 50 years. It's a dangerous training ground filled with powerful spirit beasts and rare resources. Ocean Long snaps at her to wake up and stop daydreaming. If you hinder me, I'll leave you behind, he warns with a cold glare. Everyone takes off on flying swords, leaving our poor heroine to struggle on foot. The scenery is breathtaking, with flowers blooming and the air thick with spiritual energy. Most of the other disciples land at the edge of the forest to play it safe. But Ocean Long doesn't stop, leading their groups straight into the heart of the woods. Please, where exactly are we going? Xiaxi asks, trying to keep up. Cut the crap and just follow me. The moody protagonist barks back. Our girl decides this rebellious kid is definitely not cute when he's being a jerk. A kind disciple explains they only have half a month to catch high-level spirit beasts. Let's split up and meet back here at 6, the leader commands. Xiaxi is totally lost when the girls mention their mount tasks. She puts on a brave face and pretends she's just collecting spirit herbs. In reality, she's been waiting 5 years to find her troublesome elder brother. Should I ask a spirit beast for directions? She wonders, realizing she doesn't speak animal. She desperately checks her phone for hints, but the screen is completely blank. Maybe that shady system guy has nothing to do with her brother after all. Frustrated by the lack of clues, our girl kicks a stray stone into the bushes. Ouch! Look at what you did, you stupid girl! A voice screams. A white-haired boy rushes out, claiming his father forced him to be her bodyguard. You're the weakest one here, you'd be torn to shreds without me, he brags. I don't need help from a little boy like you. She snaps back. He points an accusing finger, calling her a blind girl for ignoring the ground. Say that again and I'll kick your ass, kid. She threatens. He holds up a glowing dark steel rock, proving she missed a rare material. Does that rock heal your poor intelligence? She asks with a deadpan stare. He offers her a red fruit to boost her aura, acting way too suspicious. What's wrong with you? She asks, checking his forehead for a literal brain fever. He just smiles and asks if he needs a reason to be kind to her. Our girl isn't buying it, searching his eyes for any sign of his usual arrogance. She's convinced he's been bewitched or has some serious mental issues going on. I don't want it, she yells, terrified the fruit might actually be poisonous. The guy doesn't give up, pulling out an entire rainbow of fruits he picked. He's so desperate to please her that he offers to build a warm fire. When she tentatively calls him brother, he lights up with pure, unadulterated joy. Suddenly, the realization hits her like a freight train this isn't the usual jerk. I know it's you, she shouts, grabbing his sleeve to stop him from leaving. The man is stunned, asking if her soul has wandered out of her body again. He confesses he's currently inhabiting Yi's body just so he can protect her. He claims the original soul is just taking a nap, which sounds totally legit. Xiaxi wonders if the girl's father knows his daughter has been body snatched. Apparently, the dad is in on it, which explains why he wasn't shocked. Our girl realizes that Huchi is the one behind this bizarre supernatural babysitting gig. He can only take over when the host is fast asleep, thanks to a special magic. Our girl immediately lets her inner Fujoshi run wild, imagining some very intimate, yin and yang blending. She asks the burning question, which one of these men is taking the lead role? The master insists this magic is purely for training the immortal mind, but she's not buying it. He's still just a teenager, she thinks, while her brain fills with spicy scenarios. Morning arrives and Yi is absolutely fuming, calling our heroine a total shameless hussy. He demands to know why she crawled into his arms while he was busy meditating. Our girl remembers snoozing on his shoulder but decides that gaslighting is the best survival strategy. I was under this tree the whole time. She lies, leaving him completely baffled. She doubles down, claiming he was the one who rudely tossed her onto the hard ground. Yai can only huff in frustration as the other disciples show up to start their day. He storms off with a pout, clearly unable to handle her chaotic energy. For the rest of the day, Yi refuses to speak a single word to our poor heroine. The group continues their journey, soaring through the clouds on their spirit swords every morning. They spend their afternoons on mount tasks before finally settling down as the moon rises. Yai warns the group to stay close as they navigate through the territory of low-level spirit beasts. Even when a grade 4 monster attacks, the team handles it with ease. However, the Demon King is nowhere to be found, leaving Xiaxi completely frustrated. So there really isn't a single clue, she asks in total disbelief. Yi immediately shuts down her plan to go solo, insisting it's far too dangerous. Looking back, his attitude toward her has done a complete 180 since they first met. He even gave her the choice between bedtime stories or sleeping on his shoulder. I chose the shoulder without a second thought, she admits. She plays it cool while Yi warns her about the terrifying grade 5 beasts lurking nearby. He gives her a gentle head pat, telling her to stay safe. But the very next day, their luck runs out as a massive threat emerges. A fire Kylan roars into view, boasting a rare and deadly mutant thunder nature. Their ice magic should work, but this beast is way stronger than they anticipated. Watch out! Someone screams as the creature shatters their capture seals in a blinding explosion. The battle ends in a literal blast as Sky Thunder strikes down the fire Kylan. The fallout is devastating, leaving the friars broken and bleeding across the dirt. Our heroine watches as the survivors scramble in a total, desperate panic. Who has water spiritual nature? The blonde girl wails over her dying friend Wang Ji. Only a water healer can save him now, but the group has suffered huge losses. Suddenly, all eyes turn to Xiaxi, the lowly outside disciple standing in the back. You must have water nature, come help him. The girl screams at our girl. Xiaxi admits she has the nature, but she can't use a single lick of cure magic. The blonde is floored, claiming healing is the most basic skill for any cultivator. Do you want to abandon him? She cries, looking at Xiaxi with pure disgust. The elitism is real as they remind everyone she's just a bottom-tier disciple. They even accuse her of being a useless bystander during the entire monster fight. Our girl is internally rolling her eyes because she actually tried to help before being stopped. Despite their nasty attitudes, she decides to be the bigger person and reaches into her bag. She pulls out a high-grade elixir and tells them it'll save the dying man's life. But the blonde brat actually asks if the medicine is poison just because of Xiaxi's rank. Xiaxi finally snaps, asking if her pride is more important than his literal life. He's not even your husband, so why are you making such a scene? She snarks. Our girl watches as her teammates freak out over a single pill. What's wrong with it, Ye? The orange-haired girl asks, completely clueless. You can't believe her eyes because this isn't just any regular medicine. Wang swallows the pill, and a soothing magical aura instantly wraps around him. Yi suggests they rest for the night since the area seems clear of beasts. But as Xiaxi tries to walk away, Yi isn't letting her off that easily. She demands to know how our heroine got her hands on a celestial elixir. This is an 8-level elixir that can save the dying. Yi exclaims in shock. Xiaxi keeps it cool and says it was a gift from Huqi. Bullshit. The Grandmaster never leaves that mountain. Yi shouts, calling her out. Xiaxi just shrugs and drops the bomb. That's because he's my brother. Yi is stunned but warns her keep such treasures hidden from greedy eyes. Little does she know our girl has plenty more where that came from. Meanwhile, the blonde guy finds a basic level 2 spirit herb and acts like it's gold. He explains that these herbs mean a rare, white jade flower is nearby. This legendary flower can boost a cultivator's level in an instant. Our heroine just watches the drama, unimpressed by their precious discovery. The group is on a frantic hunt for the legendary white jade flower. We have to find it before it fades at night, Brother Yi urged. Poor Wang Shi was still recovering, so Brother Yi left him in safe hands. Our girl sensed something was fishy about a cold, loving flower appearing here. After trekking for half an hour, they stumbled upon a mystical, freezing pool. Wait, rare treasures like this always come with deadly danger. Xiaxi warned. That blonde brat just rolled her eyes and called our girl a total coward. Are you nuts? I'm just trying to keep us alive. Xiaxi snapped back. Brother Yai actually agreed, noting the eerie silence was a massive red flag. He shielded himself and flew toward the tiny island in the pool's center. Our girl suddenly finds herself sinking while the others explore the island. The purple-haired leader grumbles that there's absolutely nothing left to find. Xiaxi realizes these holes are the exact size of harvested spirit herbs. Someone has clearly been here first, leaving behind a strange wooden board. While the cultivators stare in confusion, our girl recognizes the modern script immediately. It's a ridiculous sign from her brother, calling himself the handsome demon king. She's absolutely dying of secondhand embarrassment from her brother's cringy behavior. She wonders if her troublesome brother is still lurking around this place. One of the arrogant cultivators gets impatient and decides to yank the board out. Stop screaming, it's just a board, he yells, tossing it aside. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the area as the water surges upward. A terrifying giant serpent wreathed in lightning rises to destroy them all. The chaos begins as a massive serpent erupts from the depths to claim its prey. We lost 3 teammates already. The leader screams while ordering everyone back to the forest. They scramble for safety, but the terror of the unknown keeps their hearts racing. Catching his breath, the man identifies the monster as Hydro, a deadly level 7 beast. This monster is basically a god, and even 10 masters couldn't take it down. Our girl senses something is wrong when a pungent, fishy smell fills the air. Suddenly, the ground explodes as the massive jaws of the serpent snap shut behind them. "Get out of the way!" she yells as the beast catches up in record time. She doesn't hesitate, clenching her sword and manifesting a powerful fire aura to strike back. "Don't just stand there, help me," she commands while preparing her final move. She knows water attacks are useless here, so she calls down the heavens instead. With a fierce glare, she unleashes a massive sky thunder strike to fry the overgrown goldfish. "Get out of here!" The man screams as the massive level 7 beast erupts from the water. "I don't want to contain it, just buy time." She grunts while summoning a wall. She realizes with a shock that Wang Shi and Lin Ling have deliberately betrayed her. They pushed her down to attract the monster's attention so they could fly away safely. "Goddamn," our girl curses, realizing she's been left behind as a snack for the beast. She clenches her sword, shouting, "Arouse the fire aura and let it out." The flames sizzle against the monster, but the attack shears right off its iron-like scales. "Put up a defense seal," she commands, desperately trying another method to stay alive. It's useless because the beast is inherently strong and her aura sword is totally ineffective. Suddenly, the cowardly Wang Shi turns on his own partner and gives her a hard shove. "Wang Shi!" Lin Ling shrieks in terror as she's pushed directly toward the monster. She falls toward the gaping maw, crying out in absolute betrayal as he flies away. "You," she gasps, her eyes wide with the realization that she's been sacrificed. Shi watches coldly, noting that Lin Ling originally pushed her down to save Wang Shi. She deserved this. Our girl thinks, feeling zero pity for the traitor who got betrayed. However, this beast is incredibly fast and is already closing in on the remaining survivors. Yai claims only his thunder works while the rest of the team gets smacked by a giant tail. Our girl watches a firewall struggle to even leave a tiny scratch on the beast. She realizes they need to aim for a specific weak point to end this nightmare. She focuses her gaze and notices a missing scale right under the monster's massive, scaly head. "Attack 3 inches below the head," she screams, pointing out an old, unhealed wound. Yi doesn't hesitate and calls down a massive sky thunder strike to rattle the creature. The beast lets out a deafening roar before vanishing into thin air, leaving everyone completely stunned. It's not gone, it's just invisible. Yi warns as he scans the dark, rustling trees. She catches a nasty, fishy scent and readies her blade for a sudden sneak attack. She swaps her fire for a thunder aura and lands a direct hit on the hidden monster. Realizing they are being hunted by a ghost, Ye shouts for everyone to huddle up immediately. He summons a glowing defense seal to keep the invisible predator at bay for now. The magical barrier is flickering, and Brother Yai drops the bombshell that'll only last 15 minutes. Panic sets in instantly because if that seal breaks, they are all dead meat. This level 7 beast is a total nightmare, because the damn thing is completely invisible. Instead of fighting, Wang Shi starts pointing fingers, claiming this is all Li Yu's fault. Our girl has had enough of the toxic drama and tells the group to shut it. "Stop. Don't blame others. Think about how to deal with the Hydro," she commands. Wang Shi sneers at her, calling her a lowly outside disciple who thinks she's a god. But she knows he's a snake who was planning to abandon his teammates. She realizes that to kill a water beast, she needs to use thunder. But since the monster is hidden, she needs a way to make it appear. She channels her aura into a freezing storm, screaming starfall, as ice shards fill the air. The group watches in absolute shock as the weak disciple pulls off a massive ice summon. The battle is reaching a breaking point as Ocean Long panics over their failing ice magic. Our girl has zero patience for his whining and tells him to just shut up. "You talk too much," she snaps while charging up a brand new technique. She summons a massive tidal wave that completely soaks the entire forest floor. "Quickly! Attack it now!" she screams at her silver-haired ally, Yi. Yi launches a massive bolt of lightning directly into the flooded battlefield. The electricity doesn't vanish, but spreads through the water like a deadly spider web. The giant beast shrieks in agony as thousands of volts course through its body. Ocean Long is stunned by the logic, but our heroine just gives him a look. "Water conducts electricity, you total fool," she says with some serious modern sass. She knows the water is fading fast and calls for a 5-element spirit seal. Our girl immediately takes command, ordering the others to distract the thrashing monster. She places Yi at the center of the formation to act as the seal's eye. Massive glowing aura walls slam down to cage the beast in a shimmering prison. Yi summons the full power of the aura and thunder to finish the trap. The beast is finally locked away behind several walls of crackling spiritual energy. Our girl notices the barrier walls are starting to buckle under the intense pressure. She realizes the aura within the seal is endless, giving them a massive tactical advantage. As long as Yai maintains the thunder aura, the energy wall will never vanish. The Hydro Beast is terrified of the lightning and remains trapped like a caged animal. It's working! The girls cheer as the monster finally starts to slow down. Jiashi isn't celebrating yet, warning her team that a level 7 beast doesn't die easily. The strain is becoming too much, and our heroine winces in visible pain. Her companion begs her to stop, but she knows giving up now means certain death. We've come too far to let this seal break, she shouts through gritted teeth. The air fills with the smell of burnt meat as the beast's cries grow weaker. Suddenly, a sharp, ear-piercing shriek echoes through the forest, stunning everyone into silence. The monster's body begins to swell and mutate, sprouting massive, leathery dark wings. It's evolving into a flood dragon. The silver-haired boy screams in absolute terror. This level 9 beast is basically a god, and it's extremely rare in this world. The ground trembles and the seal begins to shatter as the beast's power explodes. Calm down and focus your energy, our girl commands as the situation turns into a nightmare. They have to stop the transformation now, or there won't be anything left to save. The Hydrus finally stops fighting, but the nightmare is only just beginning. A chilling scream pierces the night, and the sound refuses to stop. The wailing is getting louder, penetrating their ears like a physical blade. Ay-ya! The forest echoes as the atmosphere turns suffocatingly heavy. That's 9 screams in total, and the local monsters are actually answering back. Oh, no, he gasps, realizing the beast is calling for its entire squad. The forest begins to crawl with the sounds of thousands of approaching footsteps. One coward decides he's had enough and bolts into the sky. Our girl yells at them to stay focused, but the panic is spreading. Even Meeting tells her to run while she still has the chance. But Yi is the only one holding the seal, and he's fading fast. Our heroine knows if she leaves now, this man is absolutely toast. She grits her teeth and floods the area with her own thunder aura. Yi collapses from the strain, but our girl is right there to catch him. You didn't leave? He asks, completely stunned by her sudden display of loyalty. What's the plan? She demands, because those beasts aren't waiting for a thank you. Xiaxi tells the silver-haired guy to quit playing hero and run for his life. He tries to argue, but she's already stepping forward to charge her ultimate power. Turn into a sword dragon, she commands as her blade begins to glow with an intense blue aura. A massive energy dragon roars to life, rushing toward the swarm of beasts with terrifying speed. Her companion can't believe his eyes as wind blades shred everything in their path. He's shook because even a nascent soul master shouldn't be able to pull off this move. Are you kidding me? He gasps, saying she's only in the base-laying stage. He wonders if she's already mastered the legendary sword mind at such a low level, but the cost is high and Xia shakes up blood as her weak body begins to fail. Just leave me here, she wheezes, but the stubborn guy refuses to abandon his teammate. He tells her to shut up and let him save her for once. The beasts aren't stopping, and the swarm is closing in from only 30 meters away. There's no other way out. So our heroine closes her eyes to focus her internal energy. She needs to feel the sword mind and trigger the second starfall movement. The blade pulses with a fierce light that literally starts cracking the earth beneath her feet. Her companion watches in absolute awe, mesmerized by the sheer intensity of her spirit. Baihong looks up and sees a sky full of bright-colored carrots. He wonders if it's an illusion or if she's just trying to feed the monsters. Shishi swings her blade and sends the vegetable projectiles flying with a massive boom. It's like thousands of bomb seals going off at once, turning the beasts into dust. Baihong is stunned that her sword mind takes the form of explosive snacks. Our girl knows better than to stick around and tells him it's time to move. As they flee, Jiaxi admits she's almost completely out of aura after that flashy move. Baihong realizes he's being carried by a mere base-laying disciple who shouldn't be this strong. She explains that her attack was meant to cause chaos, not to kill everything. But the plan backfires when the beasts decide to ignore everyone else and hunt her. Why are they only chasing me? She screams, while cursing her terrible luck. Seeing no way out, Baihong begs her to put him down to buy her time. He's ready to die just so one of them can make it out alive. Xiaxi looks at him with total disbelief and sighs at his dramatic hero complex. She knows he's just worried about being a burden, but she isn't stopping now. Don't worry, I'll do what I said, Xiaxi declares with total confidence. Ocean Long can't understand why she's helping him after his constant bad attitude. He turns bright red and asks, "Are you in love with me? We can't be together. Even though I'm pretty," he says while lost in his own world. Xiaxi snaps and screams, "I want to leave you here," while kicking him away. They reach the end of the secret place, blocked by a wall that covers the sky. With monsters roaring behind them and nowhere to run, the situation looks completely hopeless. "Do you have any ideas?" he asks, but our girl just gives a mysterious smirk. Our girl thanks her silver-haired companion for the backup after that intense grade 7 beast encounter. He explains the Hydrus was guarding the white jade flower and was close to becoming a dragon. "You mean my brother sealed the Hydrus here?" she asks, noticing the beast's distinct neck wound. She can't wrap her head around why he'd spare such a dangerous monster on purpose. Her brother apparently knew the beast could summon others, turning the whole place into a death trap. Can I just abandon this brother already? She groans, feeling totally fed up with his schemes. Things get even weirder because this tranquil place shouldn't have such high-level threats lurking around. Suddenly, he tells her to turn around as a massive dark vortex appears over the horizon. Is that demon aura coming from my brother? She asks, staring at the swirling black void. The only way to find the truth is to head straight under the sea. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go, she shouts, ready to plunge into the deep. She creates a magical bubble for the descent, determined to track down that troublesome sibling. But there's a major catch. This secret realm is about to shut down for 50 years. They've spent 20 days getting here, meaning they have almost no time left to escape. I'll go, whatever it takes, she declares, refusing to let all this hard work go to waste. Hoochie is getting a bit jealous of his own brother, asking if our girl likes him better. You too, she replies with a smile, proving she has enough room in her heart for everyone. She promises she'd do the same for him, leaving the silver-haired hottie absolutely stunned. Hoochie can't hide his joy as they float through the deep blue in their magical bubbles. Suddenly, a massive transparent shield blocks their path, but there's a suspicious hole near the coral. She notes the aura inside is way more dense than the water outside. Maybe that grade 7 Hydrus came from right there, she muses, piecing the puzzle together. Hoochie tells her to hold tight, promising to protect her as they step into the unknown. The second they cross over, a burst of freezing cold air hits our girl's face. She starts feeling an irrational anger bubbling up, but Hoochie warns her it's just the demon aura. Stay focused, he commands as she wonders why anyone would choose to be a demon disciple. The further they go, the colder it gets, even though the demonic energy seems to be fading. They're walking through a graveyard of shadows when Hoochie suddenly comes to a dead halt. She looks up in confusion, asking her protector exactly what he's sensed in the darkness. Ocean Long performs a quick incantation and spots a massive structure hidden beneath the waves. Our girl stares in awe at the grand, ancient mansion that's been submerged for decades. Is there any treasure? Is it dangerous? She asks, her eyes practically turning into gold coins. Ocean inspects the area and confirms there aren't any deadly traps or seals guarding the place. Just as they prepare to enter, the poor guy finally starts to regain his full consciousness. Gia. What happened? He mutters, looking totally dazed as he wakes up in her arms. Our heroine immediately shoves him off, acting like she wasn't just worried sick about him. He looks around the seafloor in total confusion, wondering how they even got down here. She smugly explains that she dragged his unconscious self through a hole in the sea's shield. He realizes the truth and shouts, "No! You're the one who knocked me out in the first place. What did you do to me just now?" He cries out, looking like a total drama queen. Our girl just rolls her eyes because she literally just saved his life from certain death. This guy actually has the nerve to suggest she's only following him because she's head over heels. Relax, I'm not blind, she retorts, completely shutting down his delusional flirting session. She ignores his demands for an explanation and tells him to just get moving already. She realizes the seawater has vanished into a completely different dimension. It's empty, but she can see everything clearly in this strange new space. Hey you! Give me some light, she commands the silver-haired cultivator. He's stunned to find his wounds are healed and his aura is fully restored. The guy hesitates, clearly having something on his mind as they descend the stairs. Out with it already. Our girl snaps, tired of the dramatic silence. He asks for her name one more time and finally thanks her saving him. But then he gets a massive ego and tells her she'll find a good man elsewhere. I really can't be together with you, he says, acting like he's doing her a favor. He begs her not to fall in love with him, but she is totally disgusted. First, I don't like you, she clarifies, shutting down his main character syndrome instantly. She explains she only saved him for his father's sake and for his physical body. His man's dignity literally cracks as he realizes she's not his secret admirer. What makes you think I don't deserve you? He demands, clutching his bruised ego. She just sighs and notes that his father Yuanzhao was way smarter than him. The idiot actually asks if she's in love with his dad instead. What the heck are you thinking about? She screams, her face turning a bright, angry red. He even suggests she might love his mom, so she sarcastically claims she loves the whole family. Our heroine is already starting to regret saving this guy's life. They step into the ruins, only to find every trap has been completely destroyed. Ocean Long spots strange markings on a broken door that he can't decipher. She shoves him aside, realizing the mysterious text is just a modern sign. Go this way to the treasure, the sign reads, pointing them right along. Ocean Long is baffled by the characters, but she knows a traveler was here. She wonders if this trail of breadcrumbs will lead her to her brother. The duo follows a series of arrows that act like a manual GPS. The signs count down the distance, making the dungeon crawl a total breeze. They finally reach a massive stone door with two very obvious buttons. One is red for danger, and the other is green for opening the door. Shai is speechless at how much of a cheat this guide is. Is that the key to the door? Ocean Long asks, looking totally clueless. She presses the green button, complaining that someone spoiled the whole mystery. The massive door rumbles open, finally revealing the secret hidden within. The old spirit senses a powerful spiritual nature and starts acting like a noble, lonely master. He pretends he won't force Ao Shenlong to be his apprentice, but it's all a big lie. What a pity! He cries, lamenting that he has no one to inherit his great powers. He offers the boy a pair of golden bells, claiming they contain his secret cultivation methods. As the light surges forward, Xiaxi realizes this gift is actually a dangerous trap. She kicks the bells away just in time, making the old spirit absolutely lose his mind. I think you didn't want to give, but take, she screams, exposing his true intentions. Xiaxi points out that he's trying to steal the boy's aura using those cursed bells. The spirit tries to claim it's a school treasure, but our girl sees right through him. You only picked him because you can't harvest a girl's energy, right? She snarks. Ao Shenlong is still being a knave fool, trying to defend the good old man. Xiaxi tells him to calm down while the spirit's face turns into a literal nightmare. You're right, I'm gonna take his aura. The ghost cackles, revealing his dark form. He traps them in a deadly cold aura, laughing that they'll never escape his icy prison. Ao Shenlong panics, but Xiaxi just sighs at the old man's pathetic attempt. She shatters the entire freezing field with a single, glowing touch of her finger. So sorry, but I'm actually an expert at dispelling cold energy, she mocks. The ghost old man is trembling before our girl, begging for his literal afterlife. Spare me, please. I was wronged. He wails while bowing at her feet. Xiaxi is totally over the drama and tells him to stop acting so humble. Where did all that arrogance from earlier go? She asks with a heavy sigh. The ghost starts sobbing, claiming he was actually forced in this mess by a monster. He explains he's the master of the Bailing school and has waited 3,000 years for a successor. But then, a demon disciple showed up and absolutely trashed his entire cave and seal. The ghost cries that this intruder even dared to insult his school's most precious treasures. Xiaxi realizes the demon he's talking about is definitely her brother, Ao Shenlong. Ocean looks way too cool to be a demon, but he certainly doesn't play nice. The old man admits he only tried to take the boy's aura to test his eligibility. Our heroine asks where her little troublemaker ran off to now. The ghost points out that other spirits in the nearby caves might have the answer. Is this place a haunted mansion or something? She wonders, hearing there are 4 more caves. She's ready to hunt them down, but the ghost offers to just call them all here. Xiaxi was absolutely done with these cryptic old men and their late explanations. Why didn't you just say that from the start? She grumbled, feeling totally played. Her silver-haired companion warned her not to trust the spirit, but the ghost insisted he had principles. He even tried to recruit our girl into his school, promising she'd become an immortal. Xiaxi wasn't buying it, asking the blunt question of why a master died so easily. Turns out he was framed, so she demanded he call in backup to prove his worth. With a ring of a bell, 3 more grumpy ghost grandpas manifested out of thin air. They were thrilled to see a living person, immediately bickering over who got an apprentice. But Xiaxi wasn't looking for a teacher. She was looking for the infamous demon disciple. The moment she showed his picture, the atmosphere turned colder than a tombstone. The ghosts nearly had a heart attack when they realized our heroine possessed a pure yang body. Terrified of her power, they started singing like canaries to save their own ectoplasm. They revealed the man she was hunting headed to Aura Land 70 years ago. It's a dangerous zone containing a brutal test arena for high-level cultivators. Xiaxi didn't hesitate for a second, demanding to be led to the location immediately. The ghosts warned her the place was crawling with deadly traps and ancient seals. Don't worry, just point the way and I'll handle the rest, she declared with confidence. Her companion looked at her like she'd lost her mind, asking if she wanted to die. Our girl tries to claim the Demon King is just her long-lost brother. Her companion isn't buying it, asking if she's just collecting brothers at this point. After trekking for hours, she asks the ghostly masters why they're even seeking successors. They reveal they were forcibly sucked into this place and trapped by a demon. They finally reach the test arena, but the ancient seals are already completely shattered. Xiaxi gets hyped for a battle, but the arena is hauntingly still. The stage is totally empty, leaving her with nothing but a few glowing seals. My passion vanished in an instant, she mutters, feeling totally robbed of a climax. She asks if the prisoner escaped, but the spirits just look around nervously. They're shaky, maybe doesn't exactly inspire much confidence in their survival. Her companion wants to run before the beasts return, but our girl stops him. We can't go back now, she says, dropping a massive reality check. The exit is a 10-day flight away, and they've already been wandering for weeks. Her companion looks like he's seen a ghost as he realizes they're trapped. She casually drops the bombshell that she's been stuck here for 50 whole years. The ancient spirits are absolutely losing their minds with excitement at the news. They start bickering like children over who gets to teach our girl their ultimate secret techniques. One old man literally kicks the competition away just to offer her his precious golden bell. Our girl isn't impressed and wonders why these legends are so desperate for a successor. She stares at the bell, realizing it looks way too familiar to be a simple treasure. Wait, didn't that old man under the cliff give me the real version of this? She mutters. She pulls out the complete Ling Long magic manual, causing the poor spirit to die of shock. The poor guy turns to stone, realizing he waited 3,000 years for a manual she already has. Another spirit tries to flex his Tianchen magic, but Xiaxi just pulls out another jade slip. It's a total double kill as the second spirit freezes up in pure disbelief. When a third one tries to sell her on pure heart magic, she just sighs and shows him the goods. One master brags that only God Thunder magic can beat him, but he's sure our girl doesn't have it. Actually, I do, she retorts, delivering a metaphorical triple kill to his ego. The old spirits are having a total meltdown because our heroine is basically a walking cheat code. Feeling a bit guilty, she decides to hand over top-tier cultivation methods to Ocean Long. She presents him to the masters, declaring that he's the perfect choice for their legacy. The masters are suddenly hyped, but Ocean Long is just standing there wondering how he got dragged into this. You should cherish them, they're very powerful, she says while pushing him toward the eccentric ghosts. Poor Ocean Long is blushing hard as he gets swarmed by his new, overly enthusiastic teachers. The masters finally notice him and start critiquing his spiritual nature and cultivation level. Ocean Long is fuming because a base-laying girl is currently the one calling all the shots. One master claims he's reluctantly accepting the boy, despite looking like he just won the lottery. I seem to have been sold. Ocean Long sighs as Xiaxi tells him to study hard. Since they're stuck here, Xiaxi realizes she needs a cultivation method that actually fits her unique body. The masters suggest she try the test seal, which apparently holds the literal law of heaven. She notices the 8 colored seals and wonders if they're based on the 5 elements. The master explains they contain rare auras, but our girl is worried her pure yang body won't adapt. The ghostly master tries to reassure Xiaxi about the test arena, but not dangerous, maybe isn't comforting. Ocean Long asks if she's really going in alone, clearly worried about our girl. He claims he doesn't have a crush, but his blushing face says he's definitely lying. He hands her a golden bell for protection, acting like a total sunder while explaining its powers. Xiaxi gives him a cheeky head pat, asking why he's suddenly being so nice to her. I just don't want you to die. He screams, claiming it's only because they're teammates. Our heroine realizes he's actually a sweet guy when he isn't acting like an arrogant brat. She waves goodbye to the ghostly masters, telling them to keep an eye on the boy. Don't do anything fishy while I'm gone, she warns the spirits with a playful wink. The masters promise to treat him well, though they've been waiting for a student for ages. As she steps into the glowing yellow seal, she mentions that Ocean is special when he sleeps. The masters are left scratching their heads while Ocean wonders what she meant by special at night. With a final flash of light, our girl vanishes, leaving the confused boy behind. Ocean settles into focus, letting his blue chi flow as his intense training officially begins. Where is my sister? He demands, as a deadly cold aura begins to fill the room. The temperature drops so fast that even these poor ghost grandpas are shaking in fear. His frost attack is literally destroying the land while the spirits flee for their lives. The ghosts quickly wave a white flag of surrender just as our girl's phone starts ringing. A feeding mission notification appears, leaving Xiaxi completely baffled by her phone's new photo. She wonders if this mission involves her brother while staring at the golden light above her. I've never seen such a sky, she whispers, before smack-talking an invisible wall with her forehead. She finds a cryptic message about poking moles right as deadly thorns erupt from the dirt. Xiaxi is stuck in a thorny situation and has to stay airborne on her sword. As long as I touch down, these thorns hurt me, she cries while hovering. She tries hacking away with her sword aura, but her arms are already starting to ache. This isn't a long-term solution, she sighs, realizing her energy won't last against these weeds. Our girl is losing her mind trying to decode her brother's cryptic advice about poking moles. Suddenly, a light bulb goes off as she realizes the stars might be the key to everything. Looking up, she realizes the sky above her isn't actually a real sky at all. It's a phantom barrier, and her hand passes right through the golden light. Come on, Cob Wall, she yells, summoning a barrier to keep the aggressive thorns at bay. She needs just a moment of peace to figure out the mystery of the glowing ceiling. Upon closer inspection, she sees the light spots are actually a map of body channels. This is the Earth System method, she realizes, finally seeing the path to use her aura. She tries to channel the energy to reinforce her wall, but her body suddenly resists. The aura won't leave my body, she panics as her power vanishes into thin air. Xiaxi is struggling to get her cultivation technique to finally stick. Why didn't it work? She mutters, realizing she needs to switch to Earth aura. Once she makes the swap, the energy flows through her like a fluent river. But instead of hitting her heart, the power surges straight into her forehead. Suddenly, her vision explodes, giving her a full 360-degree view of her surroundings. Is this the legendary immortal mind? She wonders as her perception stretches even further. The aura begins to move automatically, feeding directly into this new mental space. With a single thought, she realizes she can actually control the physical walls around her. The deadly thorns blocking her path simply vanish into thin air at her command. She pushes her limits, releasing every drop of energy she has left to concentrate. As her reserves run dry, the Dragon Ball within her migrates to her mind. She takes a deep breath and finally snaps back to reality. The dangerous trial room has transformed back into a simple, quiet stone chamber. Her phone pings, showing her mission progress has officially ticked up to 0.3. Do I seriously have to master every single one of these? She sighs. She decides it's time to get some real answers from her brother Hoochie. As she steps out of the light, her brother looks absolutely stunned to see her. Sitting before the ancient tree, our girl can feel the wood aura vibrating through the air. After getting the okay from Hoochie, she begins to operate her own glowing green energy. The absorption goes perfectly, and she starts wondering if she can just steal all the aura here. Suddenly, she realizes her mistake and opens her eyes to find Yai looking completely lost. "Why am I here?" he demands, forcing our girl to lie through her teeth about him fainting. She swears it's the truth, despite him suspecting she was the one who knocked him out. At the fire test, she tells the flaming boy that he simply has a sleepwalking habit. "You're just practicing too hard," she chirps while swords nearly turn him into a human kebab. Yai breezes through the elemental trials like they're absolutely nothing, leaving Xie in the dust. Our girl tries to distract him with a fake alien, but he just tells her to shut it. She tries to absorb all the aura she can, but her cultivation remains stuck at the bottom. "You can't win me now," Ye says, sounding way too proud of his new power. They finally step through the final seal and find the 4 masters waiting for their arrival. Xie is genuinely confused, wondering why these old geezers haven't gone home yet. The masters are losing their minds because Yai has already reached the nascent soul level. They're showering him with praise while our poor heroine just stands there feeling totally salty. Then they hand him a legendary ring to make his cultivation even more overpowered. Ocean Long is acting like a total hothead, questioning why he should even listen to them. The Ghost Master just laughs and calls him a silly guy for wanting a thunder test. Our girl isn't having it and reminds him he has zero preparation for the real world. She snidely remarks that he has high cultivation, but clearly lacks the brain cells. The ghost hands over a mysterious ring, which Ocean accepts with a bit of hesitation. Xie is ready to bolt, but the spirits tell her to wait and turn around. The 4 old masters share a look, seemingly lost for words as they face our heroine. Suddenly, the head ghost drops to his knees with a heavy thud, shocking Xie completely. "What on earth are you doing?" She cries out, completely blindsided by the sudden gesture. The ghosts reveal they've been trapped here for thousands of years with no way out. They can't even reincarnate, begging our girl to be the one to finally set them free. Ocean Long promises his teachers that he won't leave them behind in this lonely place. These grumpy spirits are screaming at our girl to get out of the way. "Don't stand in our way," they bark, clearly not realizing who they're talking to. But Xie realizes her Jadeling Long bell is the key to their freedom. The ghosts explain that the bell can lock side since they're stuck here. "Help us, please," they beg, their tough act vanishing as they start to cry. Our heroine looks at the bell, realizing just how overpowered this little trinket is. Her companion encourages her, knowing she's the only one who can actually save them. "Of course I'll help," she says, approaching the spirits with a surprisingly gentle smile. She tells the old man she's sorry he's been forced to stay trapped. But then she adds a twist, mentioning she needs to do something else first. The 4 old men look completely confused as she starts channeling her aura. Suddenly, the bell begins to glow and expand right before their ghostly eyes. The bell flies into the air, spinning rapidly as a massive white light explodes. "What are you doing?" her companion asks, his eyes wide with absolute shock. Xie just shrugs, claiming that only taking 4 ghosts would be totally overdone. She senses there are hundreds more trapped souls and decides to invite everyone. The original 4 spirits are so moved they immediately drop to their knees. "You're very welcome," she chirps, looking like a literal angel of the afterlife. The bell rings out with a thunderous boom, sucking in every shadow in sight. It's a literal ghost party as hundreds of spirits rush into the bell. Her companion can only stare, wondering if she's really taking all these ghosts out. Xie tucks the bell away, but her companion warns that some ghosts are pure evil. "I'm just helping them reincarnate," she argues, determined to follow her own conscience. The guy just scoffs, telling her that her kindness is exactly why she's still so weak. "Don't go falling in love with me," he smirks, before our girl literally kicks him out. The flirting stops instantly when a massive wave of seawater suddenly roars toward them. She tries to cast a spell, but the aura is gone just as a mysterious golden seal appears. She drags the boy to safety, realizing the seal is actually devouring the entire sea. Xie stares at the strange seal, noting it acts like a sponge for the water. Suddenly, the seal leaks and the water begins flooding right over her ankles. She tries to tap into her aura to stop it, but her powers are totally unresponsive. Yi panics, asking what they should do as the sea levels begin to shift. In a flash, the water level plummets, leaving the once vast ocean looking like a wetland. Yi is stunned, wondering how an entire sea could vanish in under 30 minutes. Xie insists they leave the water immediately before things get even weirder. But disaster strikes when her smartphone slips from her hand and splashes into the waves. "Gosh, the phone!" she screams, knowing the system didn't give it a waterproof rating. Yai holds her back as the water transforms into a violent, churning whirlpool. The phone starts acting like a black hole, dragging trees and boulders into the vortex. "Defensive globe!" Yi shouts, shielding them from the flying debris of this disaster movie. Once the chaos settles, the phone flies back into her hand with a bizarre notification. It claims to have obtained nutrition, leaving our girl wondering if her phone is alive. Yi points out a mysterious glowing orb that looks strangely familiar. Before our girl can react, a crack opens up right under their feet. Suddenly, gravity decides to take a vacation and she starts plummeting through space. Our poor heroine face plants into the grass and definitely feels that landing tomorrow. "I'm not all right. You were too slow," she snaps while nursing her bruised ego. They realize they've landed at the entrance of a place called Tranquil Place. Yi immediately grabs a passing friar and demands news about the Manhua school. The guy reveals the school is being overrun by demon disciples and can't resist. Yi's heart sinks when he hears the two powerful grandmasters have vanished. "That's impossible!" he cries out as his face turns a ghostly shade of pale. Xiaoxi insists they have to return immediately to help their friends. Yi desperately tries to activate a portal, but the pattern remains completely dead. "We have to fly back," Xiaoxi shouts while summoning her glowing blade. Yi grinds his teeth in frustration as they race through the clouds toward the academy. The silence is deafening, and our girl fears the Manhua school is already under attack. Something is wrong, Yi gasps as Xiaoxi transfers her aura to steady his shaking nerves. A thick, demonic fog swallows the horizon, revealing a forbidden blood seal over the gates. Yi tries to rush the enemy, but Xiaoxi stops him before he commits total suicide. A massive thunder disaster rocks the battlefield as two mysterious figures emerge from the smoke. Our girl Xiaoxi lands with a cheeky thumbs up and a casual "Yo, long time no see." The disciples are losing their minds because the supposed Demon King's sister just saved their lives. Elder Yuanzhao demands to know if she brought the lightning, but she just points behind her. "Absolutely not! It's your son," she shouts as a familiar voice calls out for his father. The old man bursts into tears of joy, thinking his long-lost son has finally returned. A man steps through the lightning, his robes tattered and burned from the intense battle. But as the smoke clears, everyone freezes at the sight of the young master's new look. "What on earth is that on your head?" the elder screams, staring at the pink flower buns. Yuanzhao starts trembling in pure soul-crushing second-hand embarrassment as he begs for it to be a lie. Xiaoxi just laughs, confirming that this Chunlai cosplayer is definitely his real flesh and blood. She tells him to relax since the hair accessories are actually just powerful magic weapons. The son asks if his dad is okay, but the poor man just wants to die. The old man is stunned, asking if his son finally reached the nascent soul stage. Yi shouts that there's no time to explain before flying off to draw the thunder away. Our girl Xiaoxi is left behind, desperately wondering where Huchi has disappeared to. The sect leader watches the horizon with a heavy heart and knitted brows. Suddenly, a massive roar echoes through the air, stunning everyone with its raw power. The impulse is so violent that our poor heroine actually begins to cough up blood. The seal is broken. The old man screams as he realizes his grandmaster is in danger. Xiaoxi's eyes go wide with fear as she calls out for Huchi. She immediately turns and sprints toward the mountain, her mind racing with dark thoughts. She remembers the warnings about a world-devouring monster imprisoned deep within the sect. If that seal completely collapses, Huchi will be the one to lose everything. She arrives at the peak to find a depressive aura and hundreds of glowing swords. A mountain-sized monster covered in purple fire and scales roars against its restraints. Floating in the sky, a blood-stained Huchi desperately tries to keep the beast suppressed. Xiaoxi screams for Huchi as the monster finally regains its footing. The beast lets out a deafening roar that threatens to shatter our girl's internal elixir field. Just as she's about to collapse, a mysterious aura washes over her and stabilizes her body. Baihong demands to know why she's here, right in the middle of a life-or-death battle. "The seal was broken," she cries out, trying to explain the sudden chaos. Baihong tells her to stay put while he helps his grandmaster finish the job. He summons a massive wave of spiritual swords to rain down on the beast. The golden blades strike true, but the monster's strength is far from depleted. Huchi remains motionless, his stoic face masking the heavy toll this fight is taking. Xiaoxi realizes the thick aura of rage surrounding the beast is identical to yin energy. She wonders if her unique powers can actually dispel that overwhelming darkness. The monster slams its horns into the barrier, causing Baihong to cough up fresh blood. A crack forms in the seal, letting out deadly blades of pure grievance. Seeing the dark projectiles flying toward them, Xiaoxi knows she can't just watch anymore. She gathers every bit of her pure yang aura to stage a desperate counterattack. Her white light blades collide with the darkness, neutralizing the threat in a loud sizzle. "I did it! It works!" She cheered as her pure yang aura finally countered the monster's darkness. Baihong was completely lost, demanding to know what she had just pulled off. "No time to explain, just cover me," our girl yelled while the beast slammed against the seal. She took a massive breath, pulling every last drop of her energy together for one final move. Baihong tried to stop her, warning that her cultivation level was way too low for this stunt. "Trust me," she snapped, her eyes filled with a determination that couldn't be shaken. "No problem," she shouted back, focusing all her power into a single, glowing point. Our heroine compressed her aura into a white ball and hovered it directly over the ancient seal. With a flick of her wrist, she blended her very own sword spirit into the energy mass. "Open the sword seal, Huchi," she commanded, and the white-haired master didn't hesitate for a second. He finished the ritual instantly, letting the seal burst open with a blinding, divine light. Shishi poured her spirit-infused aura straight into the opening to trigger the final blow. She unleashed a barrage of what she called carrots, which were actually high-explosive energy bombs. A massive explosion rocked the area as the beast screeched in pure, unadulterated agony. The corrupt black aura vanished, revealing the monster's green scales as it collapsed to the ground. Bai Hong couldn't believe his eyes, wondering where she even grew such powerful carrots. Our girl finally let out a sigh of relief, glad her crazy plan actually worked. But the beast wasn't done yet, letting out one last terrifying roar that shook the earth. "Give me a break! Why are you so huge?" she whined, wishing it was just a kitty. As if answering her wish, a strange green light enveloped the massive mountain of a monster. Suddenly, the beast began to shrink right before their very eyes. It didn't stop until it was the size of a fluffy little sheep, looking totally harmless. Xiaoxi and Bai Hong stared in pure shock, their brains completely short-circuiting at the sight. Huqi calmly explained that this tiny, cute form was actually the monster's original appearance. The tiny green monster lets out a deafening roar as the seal finally shatters. Huqi is clearly pushed to his limit, coughing up blood as the beast charges forward. Our girl panics and points a finger, shouting for the beast to come at her instead. The monster doesn't hesitate for a second, pivoting its body to pounce directly on her. "Wait, I was just kidding," she screams, realizing she just signed her own death warrant. Huqi tries to reach out, but he's far too slow to save her from the impact. Bai Hong rushes in to help, only to get swatted away like a literal fly. Xiaoxi closes her eyes, waiting for those giant, bloody fangs to tear her apart. Suddenly, a high-pitched voice screams, "Dad!" and she realizes she's somehow still alive. She looks down to find a tiny, adorable version of the monster hugging her leg. "I am a woman, and definitely not your father," she yells in total confusion. The creature just rolls around happily, completely ignoring her hilarious identity crisis. She can only facepalm as this fierce beast demands a hug like a needy puppy. Our heroine is literally petrified, wondering how her life turned into a total comedy routine. "Stay back," she shrieks, but the little monster launches itself into the air for a snuggle. Huqi suddenly appears and kicks the little beast away with zero hesitation. "She is my sister, don't you dare bully her," he declares while protecting our girl. The creature looks absolutely offended, giving Huqi a death glare before turning toward Xiaoxi. It can't handle the rejection and literally starts bawling its eyes out. Our group is left speechless, wondering if this crybaby is actually a fierce ancient monster. Then, the unthinkable happens. The beast looks at Xiaoxi and starts screaming for Dad. "I am not your dad," Xiaoxi screams, her face turning a bright shade of red. But the little guy won't let go, claiming she has the exact scent of its father. Our heroine is having a total existential crisis over her supposed dad smell. Ocean Long actually has the audacity to ask if she's really the father. "I am not, she shrieks, but the monster just clings tighter to her leg. It's a total circus as the legendary beast refuses to stop its dad chant. Xiaoxi is ready to commit violence, but the creature reveals its name is Tao. The name hits her like a truck, making her realize this isn't a normal pet. Huqi explains that Tao is the ancient monster known as Gluttony, capable of swallowing heavens. He gives the beast a ferocious stare, demanding it stay quiet for once. Xiaoxi can't believe this legendary dragon's son is currently her personal stalker. Huqi begins a complex incantation to finalize the contract with the beast. He draws a single drop of blood from the monster's forehead to bind them together. "It won't hurt you now," he promises while transferring the mark to her wrist. Our girl looks down at the glowing green pattern that now links her to the creature. But as Huqi reaches out for her, his body begins to tremble uncontrollably. Bai Hong screams in terror as the powerful grandmaster suddenly loses his balance. "Are you okay, Huqi?" Xiaoxi asks, noticing the man is shaking like a leaf. He insists he's fine, but the blood dripping from his mouth tells a much darker story. "Call me brother," he whispers, clinging to his last bit of consciousness. Xiaoxi yells at him to stop joking around as he collapses right into her arms. Our poor heroine is in a total panic, having no idea how to save him. Bai Hong rushes over and orders her to help the Grandmaster sit down immediately. He begins pumping his own aura into Huqi's back to stabilize his condition. Despite the effort, Huqi's turns ghost white as his life force continues to drain. Bai Hong explains that the monster breaking the seal has completely destroyed Huqi's internal channels. Xiaoxi is left reeling, wondering why the seal was so fragile in the first place. The man in teal is frustrated by the damn demon disciples who attacked while the Grandmaster's soul was away. Our girl Xiaoxi feels the weight of the situation, wondering if this mess is all her fault. The healer promises to fix his energy channels, but admits the rest is up to pure luck. Suddenly, a massive crash echoes from the main mountain as a dark, demonic aura floods the sky. It's the demon disciples again, and they've already hurt the Grandmaster during their ruthless raid. Xiaoxi's blood begins to boil, and she's ready to throw hands with anyone in her way. "Stay here, Bai Hong, I'm going to handle this," she shouts before flying toward the chaos. The mountain is crawling with enemies, and dozens of them have reached the terrifying nascent soul stage. Our heroine spots a familiar face leading the charge. It's the woman who tried to steal the Samsara wheel. This pink-haired demon seems to be the strongest of the bunch, and she's looking for trouble. The master of Yu Hua Yuan Zhao is locked in a fierce battle against her dark power. She brandishes a cursed black fan that unleashes a wave of corrosive demon energy across the battlefield. The ground itself begins to rot and crumble under the weight of that nasty, purple smoke. Xie isn't playing around and summons her sword mind, which looks suspiciously like a missile strike. "Eat this," she yells as she rains down explosive justice on the unsuspecting demon army. The resulting blasts send the invaders scattering in every direction as the mountain shakes from the impact. She rushes to the Grandmaster's side, assuring him that the threat has been neutralized for now. The old master nods, though he looks a bit disappointed that the battle even came to this. While the explosion didn't kill the high-level demons, it was enough to repel their nasty aura. With the air finally fresh and the enemies retreating, the students of Yu Hua School finally celebrate. Our girl Xie might not be a powerhouse, but she's ready to provide the ultimate buffs. The villainous Meiji isn't impressed, calling our heroine a mere base-laying disciple who is easily handled. "You'd better surrender, Master Yuan," Meiji sneers while threatening to slaughter his entire school. The old master is baffled, but Meiji is out for blood because they killed demon disciples. Master Yuan claims they only killed those who deserved it, but his moral high ground is crumbling. He tries to bluff about reinforcements, but Meiji just laughs at his naive assumptions. "They won't help you," she mocks, as the realization that he's been abandoned finally sets in. The master's rage boils over, but he's clearly outmatched by this confident, purple-haired demoness. Meiji calls the so-called immortals hypocrites and announces the return of their mysterious young lord. Master Yuan is shook, having no idea the demons even had a leader to follow. Then comes the ultimate plot twist. Meiji claims that only Xie can lead them. Poor Xie is absolutely losing it because she has no idea why she's being framed. Every master on the field turns their gaze toward our girl with pure, unadulterated shock. "I just got back. This has nothing to do with me," she screams in a panic. Meiji tells her to shut up and stay in her place as a lowly disciple. Our heroine is being set up for a war she never wanted while the masters look on. The pink-haired villainess tells Xie to surrender before her young lord arrives. Our girl just shouts back that she has no idea what this lady is talking about. But the second she hears the word monster, her entire vibe shifts into battle mode. She draws her blade, glowing with a surge of powerful blue energy. This villainess thinks she's a genius for researching a seal to relieve the beast. "Take up the sword and rush past," Xie screams as she charges forward. The white-haired elder tries to stop her, but it's already far too late. The pink-haired woman waves her fan, unleashing a thick cloud of demonic aura. She expects our girl to crumble, but Xie just delivers a massive kick. "How is this possible?" The woman gasps as she's sent flying through the air. Xie is so furious she completely forgets she even has a sword. She starts throwing hands like a pro wrestler while her blade just sits there bored. The villainess tries to activate a defensive seal, but her magic doesn't work at all. "Who are you?" she screams, realizing her cultivation logic is useless against Xie's rage. Xie isn't playing around and lands a solid punch right on that pink-haired girl's nose. "This just the beginning," our girl declares as the high-stakes cultivation battle turns into a playground scrap. Forget fancy magic, because these two are busy pulling hair and scratching faces like total amateurs. Xie's pure yang body gives her the edge, leaving her opponent looking like a swollen mess. The other demon disciples realize their friend is losing and charge in with their weapons drawn. Luckily, the old master Yuan Zhao arrives just in time to throw up a massive protective seal. With the Yu Hua school backing her up, Xie finally feels her powerful aura returning. "I am your ancestor," she shouts, winding up for a finishing blow before her feet suddenly sink. It turns out her little monster buddy Tao Tao was just hitching a ride on her leg. The tiny creature lets out a roar so powerful it literally sends the enemy disciples flying. "Sorry, I totally forgot I was carrying a literal weapon of mass destruction," Xie jokes. Tao Tao isn't finished yet and screams at the bad people to get lost immediately. A massive whirlpool of energy erupts from the little guy, leaving the pink-haired villainess absolutely terrified. The pink-haired demon leader calls for a retreat as her disciples flee in a massive dust cloud. Our heroine's allies can only watch in confusion as the enemies suddenly vanish for no reason. Suddenly, a tiny monster starts vacuuming up everything in sight until Xie gives it a pat. "Hey, stop it," she commands, sending the little beast tumbling to the dirt in a dizzy daze. The creature rolls around crying for its dad, because it is apparently starving for some attention. "You old monster, stop being so cute." Xie grumbles while the old man stares in shock. Our girl is beyond confused as the clingy beast climbs her leg and keeps calling her dad. She just wants some peace and quiet, but this cultivation world has other chaotic plans. Things get weirder when she learns there might be another person running around using her name. "Are you really Xie?" The elders demand, questioning her entire identity and her family ties. "Do you want to see my ID card or what?" she snaps, nearly flipping a table. Even though Yuan Zhao doesn't buy the Demon King sister story, he decides she's a helpful benefactor. Bai Hong still has his doubts, making our girl feel like she is failing a very basic vibe check. The master warns that the peace is temporary and the powerful demon disciples will eventually return. Reports flood in about demons causing trouble across the entire immortal world to destabilize the various schools. Now everyone is hunting for news on the mysterious Meiji and the elusive young lord. The Yuhua school is in a panic because the young lord vanished without a single trace. This mysterious figure is powerful enough to make a blood seal, putting her cultivation above everyone. If a pre-immortal is really on the loose, the entire immortal world is in big trouble. The pink-haired beauty is terrified because their own Graster still hasn't recovered his strength yet. The demon disciples might have run away, but the elder knows they'll be invading other schools soon. He looks over to get an expert opinion, but our girl Xiaxi is literally drooling in her sleep. She snaps awake in total shock when they suddenly start calling her Uncle Master. "Who the hell is your Uncle Master?" She screams, wishing she had stayed in bed. The disciples start begging with literal stars in their eyes, hoping she'll solve all their problems. Apparently, Bai Hong spilled the beans that Xiaxi is actually the sister of the Grandmaster. She realizes she's been totally sold out and demands to know what this old man wants. The elder claims the school needs her to make the big decisions after suffering so much. Xiaxi isn't buying it and calls out his total bullshit right to his face. "Aren't you afraid I'll just betray you all?" she snaps, trying to scare them off. The old man's way too sneaky and knows she won't leave them hanging. He basically wants to use her and her monster as a shield to keep the demons away. Xiaxi watches over the unconscious Huchi. Noting that his immortal mind is only recovering slowly, she decides to stay and act as a shield until he finally opens his eyes. The old man wants the disciples to meet her, but our girl sees right through him. "You're just afraid I might run away," she shouts, calling out his transparent plan to keep her. She promises not to leave yet, gently petting her small, green monster companion named Tao. The old man is relieved, knowing they are much safer with a powerhouse like her around. He starts to ask about her real name when a panicked man suddenly crashes into them. "Your monster is crazy," he screams, telling her to get back to the mountain immediately. Our heroine is stunned to hear that her little pet has almost eaten the entire landscape. She rushes to the scene and finds the mountain looking dim and completely drained of aura. It gets worse when she realizes a massive chunk of the peak has been bitten off. "I need to hurry up," she cries, sensing an omen of total disaster. Tao has transformed into a giant, growing several times his original size by devouring the rock. With glowing red eyes, the gluttonous beast looks at her and begs for even more food. The old man screams that Tao is actually devouring the heavens and the earth. Everyone is in a total panic as the monster's vicious temper finally flares up. Our girl is confused because things were so quiet just a few months ago. "What the hell is going on?" she demands as the beast starts munching on rocks. Her companion explains that the location of the demon seal has suddenly shifted. Xiaxi tries to recall the seal, but her memory is a complete blank. Meanwhile, Tao is busy swallowing entire mountains and growing larger by the second. "Stop it right now," she yells, flying straight toward the gluttonous monster. She activates the contract suppression to hold the creature's massive head down. The beast actually starts crying, whimpering that it's just way too hungry. She loosens her grip and the monster immediately goes back to its mountain buffet. It starts swallowing again, but this time it's actually avoiding the crowds. This proves it's rational, she thinks, realizing the poor thing is just starving. But how on earth is she supposed to feed a monster with this appetite? Suddenly, she remembers a special task reward tucked away inside her smartphone. She pulls out her phone and clicks on a reward simply labeled Feed. A glowing white bead floats out of the screen and into her hand. Tao's eyes go wide with excitement as he starts begging for the elixir. The anxious beast looks like it's trying to explain its desperate hunger to Xiaxi. Our girl realizes she has exactly what it needs and pulls out a glowing white bead. "That is it," she says, tossing the mysterious pearl straight into the monster's waiting jaws. The creature catches it midair and swallows the bead in one big gulp. A blinding white light erupts from the creature, turning its dark green scales pure white. The glow becomes so intense that it fills the entire cage and the surrounding sky. Xiaxi has to shield her eyes as the magical transformation reaches its peak. When the light finally fades, the giant monster is gone, replaced by a small, white-haired child. The little guy has tiny horns and a blue tail, and he's currently hiccuping like crazy. Xiaxi is absolutely losing it, wondering how the breed even changed so drastically. Ocean Long stares in disbelief, having never seen a monster transform into a human before. The little kid looks up at Xiaxi and adorably begs for a hug. Our heroine is too stunned to move, leaving the poor kid to struggle on his own. He tries to stand up but immediately starts burping up the rocks he ate earlier. Xiaxi realizes she definitely overfed the little guy with that powerful bead. When she mentions she gave him the tranquil place, Ocean Long nearly has a heart attack. "Is that the legendary tranquil place I know?" He screams in pure shock. Xiaxi finds herself trapped in the most awkward stalemate imaginable while trying to handle her business. "Can I please just get out of the toilet?" She screams at the men waiting outside. Our girl just wanted some peace after a full meal, but these two simply won't budge. Suddenly, a little creature rushes forward calling for Dad, only to get its tail stepped on. The poor little thing faceplants into the dirt without a single moment of hesitation. Hoochie warns the monster not to even think about taking his precious sister away. She can't believe how arrogant this guy is being while she's just trying to leave. She grabs both their hands and demands to know why they are in such a hurry. Give me a real reason for this, or I'm going to lose it, she warns. Hoochie realizes he has no excuse and panics, immediately throwing his apprentice under the bus. He points at Baihong and claims the boy was the one desperately searching for her. Baihong is completely blindsided by the lie and tries to deny having any business there. One terrifying glare from Hoochie is all it takes to make the poor boy change his tune. Right, it was me. I'm just crazy, Baihong shouts while crying inside at his luck. Being an apprentice to a man like this is basically a high-stakes survival job. He quickly pivots to a story about a demon seal and a monster named Tao. Xie just sighs and tells him to turn around and look at the beast himself. Tao tries to stand up, but Hoochie keeps stepping on his tail. Are you proud of bullying a child? Our girl sighs in disbelief. Hoochie ignores her and tells her to stop calling him brother. He explains that he placed a special lock on Tao's character long ago. Even if the seal broke, the little monster is still under his control. Hoochie then drops a bombshell. Someone touched the seal after the beast escaped. This means there's a dirty traitor hiding right inside their own school. Baihong's face turns black with rage as he realizes the betrayal. I have to find that traitor, he shouts before flying off on his sword. Our girl realizes the demon disciples have been one step ahead this whole time. The masters lock down the school, but the tension is thick enough to cut. While everyone else is panicking, Hoochie is busy being a total petty child. He refuses to let Tao get anywhere near Xie, pulling him away constantly. Poor Tao can't even speak yet, so he just screams at his bully. Just as things get silly, the sky suddenly turns pitch black with clouds. What is this? Our girl asks, staring at the terrifying lightning above. Hoochie calmly explains that someone is breaking through to the powerful nascent soul stage. Xie senses a powerful aura and realizes someone is reaching the legendary nascent soul stage. Hoochie explains that the heavens are fair and this thunder is a mandatory test for cultivators. He notes that since the previous strikes hit the demon seal, the heavens want a redo. Our girl finally understands why Yi has been missing in action for 3 long months. The sky turns pitch black as the air grows heavy with the coming storm. Worried sick, she asks if Ye can actually survive this literal bolt from the blue. Hoochie pulls her close and casually kicks a weird parasite off her leg like nothing. It's just a little thunder, he says, as long as Yi's mind stays stable. Xie knows Yi is a goofball, but he's dead serious about his training. She feels like a failing student watching a genius ace the world's hardest exam. Suddenly, the first bolt of lightning tears through the clouds to start the show. A massive explosion rocks the back mountain, sending flames shooting into the dark sky. Hoochie realizes the fire is coming from the direction of the sacred demon seal. As everyone rushes toward the blaze, the first thunderbolt finally strikes the main peak. She stops midair, her mind racing as she looks back at the mountain top. Hoochie tries to reassure her that the other masters are already on the way. But our girl is still worried about Yi being left all alone up there. She realizes the defensive seal was left wide open right as the thunder hit. Her eyes go wide as the terrifying truth hits her. This is a total setup. Gosh, it's a trap, she screams, immediately diving back toward the mountaintop. The Yuhua school's defensive seal has been closed for months, but a traitor is definitely on the loose. Yi is dangerous, our girl realizes as she flies through the air with unmatched speed. They reach the summit where the sky is screaming with lightning and overwhelming thunder pressure. Our poor heroine feels a sharp pain in her chest, but Hoochie is right there to stabilize her heart. Hoochie warns that getting any closer will ruin everything, and the pressure would turn her into powder. That traitor must be nearby, she thinks, but Hoochie stops her before she can wander off. With a simple don't, Hoochie scans the entire mountain and spots a suspicious head peeking from behind a rock. The sneaky rat tries to bolt toward the thunder, hoping to make a quick escape. Hoochie isn't having it and sends the guy crashing into a stone wall with a casual wave. Just as she wonders if he's dead, the man bursts out of the rubble and charges straight for her. He's coming for me, she gasps, but Hoochie's way too fast and pulls her out of harm's way. With another flick of his wrist, he sends the intruder flying back into the rocks where he belongs. Yuanwu crawls out of the rubble, screaming at the Grandmaster for siding with a demon disciple. Our girl realizes this is the same jerk who threw her off the cliff earlier. Shut up, you're not qualified to speak my name. He spits at her with pure hatred. He regrets not killing her, but before he can finish his sentence, he's forced to his knees. Hoochie's gaze is like ice as he realizes the truth about what happened to his sister. The air turns freezing, and our poor heroine starts shivering from the sheer intensity of his aura. So what? I should have torn that witch to pieces. Yuanwu sneers, completely unrepentant. Suddenly, a massive force slams him into the dirt, pinning him down like a pathetic bug. The pressure of a pre-immortal master is no joke, and the air itself seems to vanish. Huchi turns his piercing gaze toward Xiaxi, asking if the man's claims are actually true. She tries to play it off with a nervous laugh, saying it's all in the past. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asks, his heart burning with a protective, silent fire. He doesn't want to be angry with her, so he directs his fury downward instead. The ground trembles as he loses control of his rage toward the man at his feet. Xiaxi is drowning in guilt, wondering how she's supposed to explain her silence. "I just didn't want you to worry. I'm totally fine now," she chirps while sweating bullets. Huchi doesn't say a word, just staring at her with those terrifyingly intense, beautiful eyes. "Sorry," he whispers, catching our girl completely off guard with his sudden change in tone. She expected a scolding, but instead, he gently places a large palm on her head. "I'm sorry I wasn't a good enough brother to protect you," he sighs softly. He pulls her behind his back, shielding her from the world like a human fortress. Yuanwu keeps screeching about demon disciples, but Huchi isn't having any of that nonsense today. "She is not a demon disciple," he declares, making his stance crystal clear to everyone. Yuanwu screams that the Grandmaster is being bewitched by a girl who is literally the Demon King's sister. Xiaxi isn't taking that lying down and demands to know exactly what wicked thing she's actually done. The trapped woman splutters that simply being related to a monster is enough proof of her evil nature. Our girl hits back, accusing Yuanwu of being the real traitor who murdered her own innocent schoolmates. As the accusations fly, the powerful Master Yuanzhao descends from the sky to witness this chaotic mess. Cornered by the truth, Yuanwu starts switting and claims she was just a victim who was totally cheated. The old master calls her a complete idiot while she laughs like a maniac about her righteous revenge. She keeps screeching for Xiaxi's head, completely blind to the fact that her own life is over. The old master can't believe his eyes as he questions Xiaxi's true identity. If she were the demon leader, how could she stand here? He wonders aloud. He drops a bombshell, revealing our girl is actually the Grandmaster's sister and their grand uncle. Xiaxi is sweating bullets, muttering that the Demon King is actually her big brother. The defeated man on the ground loses his mind, screaming that everyone is lying to him. "It's impossible!" he shrieks, refusing to accept the truth about our heroine's status. He calls them all cowards, accusing Xiaxi of being a life-destroying witch. Our girl looks on with pity as the man continues his delusional, hateful rant. "You'll pay for this even if I die today," he snarls with a terrifying grin. A dark aura erupts around him as the final bolt of lightning shatters his defense seal. Even as he coughs up blood, he admits his own son was just a sacrifice. Xiaxi realizes this guy is a total monster who doesn't deserve an ounce of mercy. Something inside her snaps, and she decides it's time for some old-fashioned discipline. She starts raining down a barrage of violent slaps that echo across the entire mountain. Only those with dirty hearts think others are dirty. She screams while teaching him a lesson. The man is left dazed and confused, his face looking like a swollen tomato. Xiaxi stares him down, proving that nobody messes with the delivery girl of the century. Xiaxi isn't holding back, calling this guy a coward and an ungrateful brat for his excuses. "If I were your mother, I'd rather not have raised you at all," she shouts before delivering a slap. When he calls her a witch, she just gets angrier, telling him to direct his pathetic revenge at her. Our girl grabs him by the hair, forcing his eyes open to witness the destruction he caused. "Look at your school now! Is this still the place you claim to love?" she demands. He tries to look away in denial, but she makes sure he sees every inch of the wreckage. He trembles and swears he didn't do it, but Xiaxi knows the blood is on his hands. She throws him to the ground like trash, reminding him that he's the one who turned into a monster. "Look at your hands. They're stained with the blood of your own brothers," she screams. As he continues to lie to himself, Xiaxi finally loses the last bit of her patience. "Fuck you," she yells, delivering a legendary shadowless kick directly to his most vulnerable area. The impact is so brutal that the nearby men can't help but cover themselves in sympathy pain. While the villain is left frothing at the mouth, one onlooker can't help but admire her form. "What a beautiful kick," he whispers, even as the rest of the group watches in absolute horror. Our heroine looks like a total demon right now, and honestly, we are absolutely here for it. Finally, she stops the assault, trying to suppress the dark strength surging through her body. It turns out Xiaxi was a legendary fighter in her youth because she grew up without parents. She hasn't used violence in years, but some habits clearly never die. Xiaxi is living her best life as a high-ranking elder in this crazy cultivation world. She's salty that her nephew, Yi, reached a new power level without even giving her a thank you. Our girl finds him moping on a cliffside and nearly gives the poor guy a heart attack. He immediately drops to his knees, finally acknowledging her as his granduncle after she saved his skin. "So, are you going to marry me?" she teases, making the boy scream in absolute terror. He starts questioning the meaning of life and why the people he once trusted have turned so cold. Even though he's a world-class genius, he confesses that meeting her makes him feel completely useless. Ye looks at our girl with pure disbelief, wondering how a low-level cultivator keeps saving his life. "You subdued an ancient monster while I was nearly dying from thunder," he cries out in frustration. He lists her endless achievements, from saving the school to catching traitors, feeling like a total failure. "Sometimes I think my genius is just a joke," he admits with a heavy, defeated heart. Jie can't tell if he's actually scolding her or just having a massive existential crisis. He wonders if being more powerful could have stopped the demon disciples from attacking their school. Our girl gently reaches out to pat his head, telling him to stop being so dramatic. Don't punish yourself for mistakes you didn't even make, she says, trying to soothe his spirit. But Yi just won't stop the comparisons, making Xie like she's on an impossible pedestal. Listen, no one is perfect, and that absolutely includes me, she shouts to break his trance. Yi has the audacity to ask if she has any shortcomings besides being ugly. I'm not ugly, you blind man, she screams, her temper finally hitting the boiling point. She starts listing her flaws like a grocery list, from being scared of ghosts to her procrastination. Xiaxi's body begins to glow with intense, blinding white light. What's happening? Am I turning into a literal light bulb? She screams in panic. Yi stares in disbelief, realizing our girl is about to achieve elixir cultivation. Thankfully, Huchi steps in to stabilize her aura before she completely loses it. Without wasting a second, Huchi scoops her up and flies toward a secret stone room. Poor Yi is left in the dust as the pair vanishes into the distance. Huchi quickly sets up powerful seals to help her absorb the overflowing energy. Be quiet, he commands when she tries to chatter away her nerves. He instructs her to compress the aura within her mind to form the legendary elixir. Inside her consciousness, a mysterious dragon ball begins to swirl and glow. Instead of the usual agony, Xiaxi feels like she's soaking in a warm bath. She successfully forms a second golden core, earning a rare and gentle head pat. Why was that so easy? She asks, feeling like a total cultivation prodigy. Hochi explains her calm state of mind made the process smooth, but danger isn't over. The sky suddenly turns pitch black as violent bolts of lightning begin to crackle. Just tell me the truth? Am I about to be turned into dust? She cries. Ocean Long grips her hand tightly, suggesting they run from the impending thunder. What? You're not a good teacher. Our girl snaps, refusing to back down. She sits in meditation, bracing for the strike while her heart hammers against her ribs. Lightning crashes around them, and she immediately regrets her bold words as the sky darkens. Suddenly, a massive, thick shadow looms over her like a very bad omen. What's this? She screams just before a giant object slams into her skull. A massive bump sprouts on her head as she stares at the hail in disbelief. Where is the thunder? Why is it just ice? She demands from the heavens. Shards of ice rain down from the sky like they have a personal vendetta. Every single piece targets her head, leaving her looking like a very lumpy monk. Goddamn, don't hit my head, okay? She yells, only for a shard to crush her foot. She tells Ocean Long to stay back, insisting she can handle this icy torture alone. Finally, a massive thump buries our poor heroine under a mountain of frozen rocks. Ocean Long rushes to her side, using his magic to refresh her battered body. He realizes this thunder is special, it has a strange aura but lacks true power. I feel so humiliated, she wails, her heart hurting more than her head. She sobs into his chest, complaining that he never warned her about the ice. Ocean Long just holds her close, offering a warm hug to melt her frustrations. She realizes the giant crystal in her hands isn't just a block of ice. Ocean Long explains it's an aura stone, the rarest currency in this cultivation world. Our girl immediately gets dollar signs in her eyes as she dreams of being rich. She quickly equips a magical ring to store her new mountain of treasure. Come on, I'll give you half, she offers, trying to be a generous friend. He turns her down, warning that these stones are too dangerous to pass around. After she explains her entire backstory, he only has one very confusing question. What is a cell phone? He asks, looking completely lost at her modern technology. She whips out her device, bragging that this little treasure is worth a literal kidney. She explains how it can send images and search an encyclopedia for any answer. Ocean Long wonders if she can use it to get in touch with the Demon King. But the dream of high-tech cultivation dies when they see the no-service icon. Can you give me my kidney back, Jobs? She cries out in total despair. Ocean Long realizes the system intentionally modified this device for a very specific purpose. They suspect the Demon King might have a matching phone of a different color. She realizes her brother might be the one deliberately setting up these tasks. He suspects the Demon King's location is tied to the disciple who attacked the school. Our girl realizes they need to track down that young lord to get some real answers. They decide that Yuan Wu is the only one who might know where the traitor is. What are we waiting for? Let's go to the punishment hall, Xie shouts. They fly through the air, heading straight for the most ominous building on the mountain. After a quick greeting to Master Yuan Si, they descend into the dark depths of the facility. The heat is absolutely brutal as they reach the bottom level filled with bubbling lava. There he is. Yuan Wu is locked in a cage suspended right over a lake of fire. How's it going? Xie asks with a smirk, trying to keep things casual. Yuan Wu isn't in a talking mood and demands to know why the witch is here. Xie ignores the insults and asks for a lead on the demon disciple who used him. He refuses to help, claiming she's just as evil as her Demon King brother. Our girl shuts down his logic by asking if his ancestors' sins make him a villain too. Yuan Wu snaps, screaming that the Demon King is the reason his entire life is ruined. You can't find him, so you're taking it out on innocent people. She scoffs. She wonders if his IQ is even high enough to remember what actually happened that day. Yuan Wu insists he was there and saw the tragedy with his own 2 eyes. She finds the whole story suspicious and points out a massive plot hole. If the Demon King is such a monster, why on earth would he leave Yuan Wu alive? Yuan Wu remembers the Demon Cliff, where his parents fell while the king just watched. He starts to question why he was the only survivor of that dark, tragic day. She points out that he never actually saw the Demon King kill his parents. Yuan Wu trembles as his entire worldview starts to shatter right in front of him. Suddenly, the ground vanishes and he finds himself dangling over a pit of literal lava. "Just kill me! I won't be grateful," he screams, ready to give up on life. But our girl is lying on the edge, refusing to let go of his hand. "How could this happen?" he gasps, staring into her determined eyes as he hangs there. She doesn't answer, focused entirely on hauling his heavy butt back up to the ledge. With one final pull, they both collapse onto the stone, safe from the fiery depths. The Demon King wasn't the murderer, she pants, finally explaining her big brain logic. She tells him he's been hunting the wrong person for years like a total idiot. 3 days later, the tension has finally cooled down as she hangs with her brother. It turns out Yuan Wu is finally ready to talk, thanks to her dramatic rescue. The white-haired master glares at the intruder, warning him to stay away from his sister. "Stay away or I'll kill you," he growls while our girl looks on in confusion. Meanwhile, in the punishment hall, a disciple reveals some juicy intel about a secret mission. Apparently, a fake young lord is hunting for a legendary magic weapon near the human world. "I only know the weapon is called Original Iron," the prisoner admits to a shocked Xie. He warns them about a terrifying woman who once impersonated her with insane cultivation power. This demon lady is so strong that even the Truth Stone couldn't reveal her identity. She might even be more powerful than her brother, which is a terrifying thought. Xie demands to know how he's so sure she's the Demon King's sister. "Because I've seen your portrait," he explains, but his description sounds a little too specific. He says it's palm-sized and vivid, looking exactly like a real person. Our girl realizes he's not talking about a painting, but a modern-day photograph. She whips her head around to stare at her stoic companion, but he plays it cool. He remains completely impervious to her suspicious gaze, acting like he's got nothing to hide. "Let's go find the young lord now," he says, trying to change the subject. Xie screams internally, telling him to stop pretending that everything is totally normal. He casually summons his glowing spirit sword before making it vanish into thin air. Xie leans in, asking if he happens to have one of those portraits too. He just gives her a flat no, while making a totally ridiculous face. He pulls a literal receipt from his storage ring to prove he knows her secrets. It's a high-def photo of a younger Xie drooling on a failed test paper. "Give that back right now," she screams, feeling her soul leave her body. The Grandmaster refuses to negotiate and protects the embarrassing photo like it's a holy relic. He starts pouting and acting like a total drama queen just to keep it. "If you don't give it back, I'm going to cry," he threatens her. Our heroine is stunned that this powerful master is actually a giant man-child. Realizing he can't win the argument, Huchi literally flies away with the evidence. Xie suddenly realizes she can sense his true emotions through his cold mask. A disciple tries to apologize, but she isn't interested in his excuses today. "Don't apologize to me, say it to the disciples who died," she snaps. She takes off, leaving the confused behind to regret his life choices. It turns out Huchi has a whole secret stash of photos of our girl. The piece is shattered when an old man bursts in screaming about a soul board. Xie freezes when she realizes the broken board belongs to Ocean Long. The soul board is shattered, proving that Ocean Long has been caught in a deadly trap. "We have to go now," Xie screams, ignoring the old master's warnings about demon disciples. Since Huchi is being stubborn, our girl decides to leave a pin-sized bodyguard behind. She pushes little Tao forward, who shows off his skills by biting the old man's hand. "Be a mature boy and protect our home while I'm gone," she tells the tiny warrior. With the school safe, Xie and Huchi blast off toward the distant Dragon City. She's spiraling with anxiety, wondering if the young lord is behind this sudden chaos. Huchi doesn't like her worrying about another man and scoops her up to fly even faster. Suddenly, the air turns freezing because Huchi is throwing a silent, jealous tantrum. "He's just a fair-weather friend. I don't even like him like that," she desperately explains. Our poor heroine is exhausted just trying to keep up with his dramatic mood swings. They finally arrive to find Dragon City smothered in a terrifying blanket of black air. But the moment they land, the darkness vanishes and the city looks perfectly peaceful. Xie moves to open the gate, but Huchi senses a trap and stops her. The entire city starts rippling like water, revealing that this piece is nothing but a lie. Xie's body begins breaking into glowing shards as she's sucked into a mysterious ripple. "Help me, brother!" she screams, watching her own waist literally vanish into thin air. Her brother tries to grab her, but his magic is completely useless against this phenomenon. Surprisingly, she doesn't feel any pain, even though half of her body is already gone. Jia, the whole city is an illusion, her brother yells as she continues to fade. He tells her to stay put inside the ripple while he finds the seal's eye. Jiaxi realizes this is a familiar illusion seal, just as the light swallows her. Our girl lands right in the middle of a dark city crawling with demon disciples. I have to find a place to hide, she thinks, ducking behind a wall. She begs for her brother to come back because she can't handle this alone. Her luck runs out instantly when a massive, bearded guard looms over hiding spot. You dare to trespass into Demon City? He roars, looking ready to squash her. She tries to play it cool, asking if he'd believe she's just here for travel. The guard isn't buying her nonsense and calls her the world's most stupid spy. Put her in the dungeon, he commands, waving his hand to dismiss her excuses. He explains they can't kill her because those pesky immortals use trackers on their people. Our poor heroine is dragged away in tears, wondering how her life became a disaster. Xiaxi leans in close, telling the white-haired guy not to move. He is shocked to find his sealed aura is suddenly working again. Our girl explains she is basically a human insulator for demon energy. She realizes the master's earlier blow was actually meant to unseal her power. The whole city is trapped in an illusion, and they need to escape. Xiaxi identifies the barrier as an ancient hoodwink seal made of gold. Without a legendary key wand, they are completely stuck behind these bars. Her companion is stunned she even recognizes such a rare, lost seal. He asks how they are supposed to find a key while locked away. Suddenly, a bright flash and a loud bang echo through the room. A magical artifact falls from the ceiling and lands at their feet. No way! Did we really just get the key wand? He gasps. He picks it up and successfully dissolves the bars with a single touch. They spot demon disciples patrolling the hallway and realize their path is blocked. Xiaxi desperately wishes for another exit to magically appear for them. Right on cue, a hidden door swings wide open to reveal a passage. Our heroine is so weirded out she wonders if Doraemon is helping. Xiaxi and her companion creep into the dark, wondering if they're walking into a trap. Suddenly, a heavy door slams shut behind them, locking them inside the pitch-black secret passage. Our girl realizes the terrain is way more complicated than they ever expected. A flickering flame appears to guide them through the many forks in the road. But after a while, she notices they've passed the same spot 3 times already. God damn it, I've tripped over this same stone 3 times. She shouts in total frustration. The guiding fire starts shaking and moving toward a path on the right. Then it suddenly pivots left, but our heroine knows that way leads straight to magma. Hey, that's a blind alley. She screams at the confused little flame. She confronts the fire, asking if it's actually lost and leading them in circles. The little flame shrinks down, looking totally guilty for its epic navigation failure. Xiaxi tries to keep her cool since the fire was at least trying to help. She decides to take matters into her own hands by activating her immortal mind. Suddenly, a massive holographic map of the entire zone flashes through her brain. She spends the next half hour meticulously searching every single blind alley. The mental strain is intense, making her feel dizzy and weak on her feet. After a quick rest, she uses wooden magic to dissolve a hidden stone wall. A brand new passage opens up, finally revealing the way forward. This new hallway is twice as wide and covered in strange, uniform patterns. It looks much more advanced than the dusty tunnels they were just stuck in. As they walk, Xiaxi gets a nagging feeling that this place looks very familiar. Xiaxi and her white-haired companion finally spot a door after walking for dozens of meters. Listen to me, men. I didn't mean it, she yells while sweating bullets. She desperately tries to claim she's just a tourist here for a quick trip. Her companion covers her eyes, but our girl is definitely peeking through those finger gaps. The leader demands to know why they came crawling out of the secret relic maze. One of the naked guys points at them and screams that they must be immortals. Suddenly, an entire army of angry men brandishes weapons and prepares to catch them. Just as a blade reaches her neck, a mysterious red-haired woman in a cloak appears. Stop, she commands, revealing herself as the high-ranking and intimidating Pontiff Vi. The big guy is terrified of her presence and immediately stops his deadly attack. Pontiff Vi decides to drag them to the dungeon instead of finishing them off. She can only stare in shock as their grand escape plan completely falls apart. Xiaxi is wandering around, completely lost and exhausted from walking for half a day. Am I really this bad with directions? She sighs as her internal compass spins in circles. Suddenly, a mysterious figure in a green cloak blocks her path and gets uncomfortably close. Why did you stop? The dungeon isn't this way, she notes, realizing this stranger is acting suspicious. The stranger suddenly pulls back his hood, revealing a shock of bright red hair. Before our girl can even react, the man lunges forward and pulls her into a tight, tearful hug. I've been waiting for you for so long, young lord, he wails, making a total scene. Xiaxi is completely weirded out, wondering what kind of crazy script this guy is following. She pushes him away, asking who he even is, but he insists he'll be her man from now on. He reveals his identity as Black Evil, but Xiaxi only remembers a character from a cheesy drama. He tries to jog her memory by mentioning the spirit beast she was carrying at Tiantian Mount. "Oh, you mean the big kitty," she exclaims, finally connecting the dots to that giant winged cat. She finally remembers him as the demon disciple who actually tried to kill her back then. He quickly backpedals, claiming it was all a huge mistake because he didn't know her identity. "It's fate that we met here," he cheers, but she thinks it's more like a total misfortune. He explains that since she's the Demon King's sister, she is officially his new young lord. He looks at her with literal stars in his eyes, begging her to become their new leader. Xiaoxi is skeptical and points out that they probably already have someone in charge. He snarls, explaining that a fake leader has currently occupied the legendary Dragon City. Even though the imposter looks just like her, he is absolutely convinced the woman is a fraud. Xiaoxi's jaw drops when the red-haired demon drops a total bombshell. "How do you know the Lord is a fake?" she asks, completely stunned. He deadpans that the fake is actually a man, which is biologically impossible for a sister. Apparently, this guy has a very specific talent for identifying genders by looking at backsides. He's so confident in his weird skill that he doesn't care who he offends. Our girl is beyond creeped out by this bizarre and totally inappropriate conversation. "Can you just put my leg down already? It's going numb," she snaps. The weirdo finally leads them through the dark corridors toward a supposedly safe spot. Ocean Long whispers to her, asking if they can actually trust this chatterbox. She decides to play along for now, since they don't have many options. Black Evil won't stop talking about his undying loyalty to the real Lord. He explains that the imposter is using extract seals to rapidly level up disciples. But the real horror is that the fake Lord takes 10 men to his room nightly. Black Evil claims he saw the scandalous results with his own eyes while on patrol. Xiaoxi turns bright red and covers her ears, screaming for him to stop. "I'm not pure anymore. Don't tell me such dirty things," she cries out. She reminds the chatterbox that they need to protect the mental health of the minor. Poor Ocean Long just looks confused while the adults argue about these secrets. Black Evil presses the hidden mechanism, revealing a swirling dark path beneath the cold stone floor. "The man you mentioned should be locked right down there," he tells our worried heroine. Xiaoxi realizes Ocean Long is finally within reach and rushes into the secret passage. They reach a glowing portal seal at the very end of the dark, damp corridor. After a moment of hesitation, she steps onto the seal and feels the world drop away. They land in a cold, ruined chamber that feels strangely and terrifyingly familiar to her. The only sound in the silence is the rhythmic ticking of water droplets hitting the floor. Suddenly, she spots him. Ocean Long is suspended by heavy chains and covered in fresh blood. "Hold on, I'm going to save you," she cries out, checking his faint, ragged breath. A cold sneer echoes through the room as a purple-haired woman named Chiji suddenly appears. She immediately recognizes our heroine's unique hair and realizes exactly who has finally returned. "It's you," Chiji screams, pulling out a lethal fan to end our poor girl's life. Xiaoxi screams for everyone to run as a massive, deadly blast of energy erupts. Thankfully, Black Evil is fast enough to block the blow before it can even connect. He claims Xiaoxi is actually their young lord, but Chiji calls total bullshit. The villainess commands her minions to capture the traitors while Xiaoxi focuses on collecting her aura. "Real men never look back," our girl shouts as she prepares to bolt from the chaos. The silver-haired warrior promises to handle the guards while Xiaoxi saves the prisoners. He shatters the magical shackles with a single strike, freeing their fallen comrade. He quickly feeds the injured man a recovery pill to get him back on his feet. "Good job. Now we have 3 people." Xiaoxi cheers, thrilled their team is growing. The villainess just laughs, mocking them for thinking they can actually escape her clutches. Suddenly, a crushing weight fills the air, forcing the allies to their knees in agony. The red-haired ally coughs up blood. Realizing their enemy has reached the terrifying pre-immortal stage, she smugly declares that she'll use anyone to improve her cultivation, regardless of their status. However, she's shocked to see that her overwhelming pressure has absolutely no effect on Xiaoxi. Our heroine rushes back, using her unique aura to shield her friends from the crushing weight. "Go to hell," the villain screams, lunging forward with a deadly energy blade. Suddenly, entire mountain begins to tremble and crack under the intense magical strain. The mountain completely collapses, shattering the illusion seal that hid Dragon City from the world. Standing in the distance is a majestic figure in white robes, glowing with a blinding light. Xiaoxi can't help but cheer for her bro, as he makes his grand entrance. With a cold gaze, the white-robed master unleashes a shockwave that sends the enemies flying. Xiaoxi ducks as a lethal blade slices right over her head. "Is that Excalibur?" she gasps, watching the enemy's weapon shatter into pieces. Her savior, Huchi, finally draws his sword to protect our girl from the chaos. Suddenly, a mysterious woman with horns and a jade flute descends into the fray. Our heroine can't help but feel a bit jealous of the newcomer's impressive figure. Unexpectedly, there are Mahayana friars in this barren place, the horned woman sneers. The odds are looking grim as 3,000 demon disciples surround our small group. But Huchi isn't backing down and slams his blade into the frozen earth. In an instant, the entire city is transformed into a wasteland of jagged ice. The masked leader is furious as she clashes directly with Huchi's powerful blade. Sparks fly as the flute meets the steel in a high-stakes cultivation showdown. While the battle rages like a doomsday movie, Xiaoxi rushes to her client's side. She checks Ocean Long's pulse, realizing his meridians are completely shattered. He's still alive, but barely, she whispers, desperate to save the fallen protagonist. Xiaoxi quickly feeds the celestial elixir to the fallen man, hoping for a total miracle. His color finally returns as the medicine takes hold of his broken meridians and wounds. Our girl grips her weapon tight, but the overwhelming power is clearly starting to take its toll. Jia! Her companion cries out as she struggles to hold back the tears from the pain. Lightning tears through the sky while that purple-haired brat dodges every strike with annoying grace. Take care of Long, she shouts, ready to end this flashy showdown once and for all. The enemy realizes her demon aura is useless here, but she still has some nasty tricks. Our heroine's arm goes completely numb, making it impossible to recover for the next strike. Yi is already covered in blood, but our girl refuses to let him fall today. She summons a massive water dragon that sends the shocked villainess flying backward in panic. She screams for Yi to unleash the Hydra of the Tranquil Place before they lose their opening. A massive explosion rocks the entire battlefield, filling the horizon with a blinding purple light. The villainess screams as the thunderous light shreds her defenses and leaves her spitting blood. Good cheers, even as her brother stands exhausted from the sheer effort. Young Lord, the poor pink-haired girl gasps while clutching her bleeding arm. The villainess laughs, calling her stupid for thinking a pre-immortal could ever challenge a nascent soul. With a flash of lightning, the girl vanishes, leaving our girl, Xiaoxi, absolutely speechless. The horned woman grumbles that keeping her alive was a total waste of a precious seal. Wait, it turns out this lady was just a fake young lord looking for a quick aura snack. Suddenly, she sheds her mask and transforms into a tall, slender man with flowing blue hair. He declares that as an immortal disciple, all these demons are just victims meant to die. It's your honor that I cross over to this world to use you, he sneers arrogantly. Xiaoxi is losing it, wondering if this guy is a singer, a comedian, or just insane. He mocks them for living in a marginal area, ignorant of the greater immortal world. Xiaoxi's jaw drops as she sees visions of strange lands with pyramids and windmills. The man refuses to let any exceptions live and begins a massive summoning ritual. Our heroine realizes with horror that he plans to absorb every single demon disciple present. The pressure is so intense that the ground cracks, revealing a massive ruined palace. Wait, is that the Twilight House hidden right beneath Dragon City? Xiaoxi realizes in shock. The original iron must be here, he screams while charging with insane power. Our girl's protector tells her to stay back, but she can only watch in terror. Xiaoxi realizes this creep was targeting the Twilight House all along to steal their secrets. She connects the dots and wonders if the manual she gave Ocean Long is the key. Is it the original iron? She gasps, realizing she might have accidentally started a war. Her phone screen flashes immortal, but the system offers no instructions on what to do. Ocean Long is barely hanging on and begs our girl to run for her life. He will catch you. Run, he wheezes while she desperately tries to help him. The villain sneers, demanding the original iron like the greedy trash he is. He ignores a direct hit just to launch a massive golden dragon at his enemies. The two powers collide with enough force to level the entire forest. Xiaoxi is blown back as the shockwave rips through the ground right before her. In the chaos, her precious lifeline, her modern smartphone, slips from her hands. A sickening crack echoes through the air as the screen shatters into a million pieces. Her heart stops when she sees the broken device glowing with a strange, digital light. The air hums with electricity as the phone hovers between the two warring masters. Xiaoxi's vision begins to blur as the world around her fades into absolute darkness. What happened? She whispers before her strength completely leaves her body. Our poor heroine collapses to the floor as the system issues a final, terrifying warning. The terminal is fatally damaged, forcing a permanent binding directly to her physical body.